back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. How's it going? It is Sunday morning, August 23rd, 2026. I trust you're well. We are back this Friday. We had two new heroes just come out, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. We played a whole bunch of them on Friday itself, and now we're returning with not a pre-con deck, but something a bit more specialized. Today, it's going to be a fun stream. We're not going to play through a campaign or anything like that. I think there's two matchups I want to try out today. The first one is just Juggernaut versus Luke Cage. Largely, Juggernaut hits hard. We're good at getting hit hard. And then, as you might have seen from the thumbnail, we're going to try facing off against Ronan, the Accuser, who is, for many, in a way that I know I make fun of, you know, the hallmark of a can a deck play beat Ronan expert. I'm not really into that, but I do think it's actually going to be a really reasonable matchup for us, considering the things that Ronan does is hit hard, hit with piercing, hit with overkill, and those are all things that Luke Cage like really doesn't care about, let alone that Ronan has that sort of like hazard icon that's like baked in, and we can just kind of turn it off in protection. So I haven't tested this, but I have tested this deck, and I think it's interesting. I played this protection deck, which we'll talk about in a second. I played through yesterday entirety of Rise of Red Skull campaign, which in terms of campaigns is by far not the most difficult. It's in fact probably the easiest. It's also one of my favorites for unrelated reasons. And the deck was like hyper functional. I think I'm trying to figure out what I think about Luke Cage as a hero, because I'm not 100% sure. His ability text is really powerful. And I think that helps a lot. He's definitely Colossus-like, but he can do some like things that Colossus can't. But also I feel like he doesn't exactly have the sort of like interesting power cards that Colossus does and can build around. So it's kind of all over the place. Obviously this is like day 2 of having Luke Cage. So I think we'll continue to experiment and see what's going on, but hopefully y'all are doing well on this Sunday morning. This fight did occur to me as well. Excited to see it. Me too, Clutch. I haven't tested it. Usually I do test these sort of things that are like wild. Like playing against Ronan's hard, right? Like Ronan hits hard. So I usually will test it before we do a stream, but we're just going to try it and see if it works out. Hey, Don, how's it going? Good morning. Hey, Galaxy. Andre would never play against Ronan. Who are you? What have you done with him? I mean, I'm not a huge Ronan enjoyer. Like Ronan is very difficult. Again, I do constantly make fun of the sort of like clickbaitization of like you know, Marvel CDB deck lists of Ronan expert. But Ronan is like maybe not even the hardest villain. He's just like a pretty straightforward villain that attacks really hard, really consistently, which there's a lot of characters, especially when like overkill or piercing happens on a boost card, is tricky. I actually haven't played against Ronan a lot. He's one of my least played heroes, so it's not like I have a really nuanced take, so maybe we'll discover something together at the same time. Andy, how's it going? Good morning. I'm super excited to see this. I was very wrong about Luke Cage. Tried his pre-con kit, absolutely destroyed Elektra on Heroic. I mean, Elektra's a really good matchup for you, because like any villain that just like hits hard, because like Elektra's thing is she hits hard. She hits with 2 boosts overkill, and you just don't care about that. I do want to say I don't think I cared about his pre-con, and I will talk about that in a bit, but I think a lot of my issues I have with Luke Cage is that he is surprisingly not a great, like surprisingly a lot of his kit is tuned, or at least interesting when it comes to multiplayer. And so there's a lot of cards on Luke Cage I'm like, I don't get this, right? Like what was that leadership card that came in the Luke Cage deck? One second. The bad one. It's called Take a Stand. I had to check. It's over there. Like Take a Stand is a card that I don't care about, and I think it's such nonsense in this Luke Cage deck, because it's a 1-cost event that says after your hero defends, each ally you control gets +1 thwart and +1 attack until the end of the player phase. Now, just numerically, generally not a great card. If you're set up fully with 3 allies and you spend 2 resources on this, the card and the card you paid for this, you're getting +3. Right? Like +3 for 2 resources is not good. That's genuinely not good. And then on top of that, that's only in the situation where you're fully set up. But then on top of that, you have to defend, which is a nonsense thing to do. You're inherently playing solo. You have 1 defense stat. So it's not like you're going to protect your toughnesses. Obviously you have bracers, but still at 3 defense, you're not going to be protecting your toughnesses consistently on expert. And then you've exhausted yourself for like just this upside. So you've exhausted yourself. So you lost 2 thwart or 2 attack just to maybe get 3 thwart, 3 attack for 2 resources. Like that's so bad. But then the idea is if you're playing multiplayer, well, you have 7 toughnesses. You should be blocking for the whole table. And that's the idea. Is like, I don't defend against me, but when the person sitting next to me gets attacked, then I'll defend for them. And then Take a Stand is a bit more reasonable, because then defending makes sense in that context. It's still not numerically a good card. Like I think this card could have cost 0 and it would have been totally reasonable. It's just a bit too expensive. But the play pattern of actually exhausting to defend in Luke Cage is nonsense in solo play. At least usually. There's some scenarios where you want to defend a bit more, but in multiplayer it makes a bit more sense. So I do think in context, and this happens all the time on the channel because I'm mostly play solo, is there's a lot of cards that I'll under evaluate, and their power or their flexibility is just suddenly way better when it comes to, of course, multiplayer, which is not something I do a lot. So always keep me honest in the chat about that sort of stuff. Did you be able to toughen up Luke Cage? I'm excited to get that card to him and the table next chance I can. Nolan, this is a double toughen up deck. It's a new card. We'll talk about that in a second once we get to the deck, dive. But toughen up is a new card that came in the back of his pack, as much as he wasn't a protection deck, that can give him up to 3 toughnesses if you have all 3 of them. I've played this one a fair bit. We have 2 of them in this deck, and we'll talk about it once we talk about it. But it's a weird card. It's a card that you probably is a bit better at multiplayer than in solo play, unfortunately. I'm learning he can use his bracers with clarity of purpose. It's neat. Wait, can you? I'm running into issues because any card that says take damage as a cost, you can't when you have toughness. This is commonly a toughness issue. Any card that's templated as take 1 damage, do effect, you literally can't do if you have toughness, because toughness says you can't take damage. This is deal 1 damage to attached character, generate a resource. So that's different. In fact, you are allowed to ping toughnesses with clarity. If it said take 1 damage, you couldn't do it. So the question is, what are they called? Metal bracers? Are they just called metal bracer? Yeah. This says, when any amount of damage would be dealt to Luke Cage, exhaust this, reduce the damage by 1. So I think that still works. I'm pretty sure you still paid the cost. If it says prevent the damage or don't do the damage, I honestly don't know if you don't pay the cost, do you not get the clarity? Because sometimes that's an issue. It's like, oh, if you ignore the cost because you didn't take the damage, then you don't get the benefit. I don't actually know how this game does it. I'm assuming it works. If clarity of purpose says take damage, it definitely wouldn't work. So it says deal damage. So there's a chance the bracers, it should work. I'm assuming, chat, if you say it can, but it feels like you cancel the cost, but I don't think you cancel the cost. I think you just reduce the incoming damage after you've dealt it to yourself, which is totally fine. So I'm assuming that works. That's actually pretty cool. That's really neat. I never checked clarity purpose because I didn't know if it said take or deal. If it said take, it would have been terrible. But that's actually really, really good in leadership. That's a weird thing is like so far in this wave outside of Jessica Jones, nobody has resource generators. And it's not like they're printing a Quinn carrier equivalent for defenders. So it's like really weird to see which of these decks need resource generators and which decks are playing which resource generators. As far as I know, the only like true neutral resource generator you can play is Helicarrier, which isn't perfect when it comes to like requirements and stuff like that. So like this is a deck that is playing Quinn carrier and then just cheating it out, which is like pretty reasonable in 2026. But it's a very fascinating that this wave has like some strong basic cards, but they're not like universally playable. And then we have no like economy plays. Like we haven't seen a neutral economy play yet in this wave, which like for, you know, smaller waves or what do they call card pools, legacies, formats. I forget what the name they call it. That's actually kind of interesting. Urkura, how's it going? Pumped for this. The precon showing left me a little low on Luke. I hope in constructed he feels better. He definitely does. Of course he does. That pre-constructed precon deck probably isn't the best for solo because like it takes a lot of moving parts to get you up and going, which in solo higher difficulties isn't always great. But yeah, there's some cool things in there for sure. How much is lead from the front cost? I think 2 or 1. 2. So choose a player. Each character that player controls gets +1 thwart and +1 attack until end of the phase. Not a card I play a lot unless you're playing a deck that can ready a character over and over again. So we played like a side by side echo deck, and this was a consideration. Ultimately, it wasn't as good as any of the other cards you could play. But like even when this is set up and you have the Triskelion, you're paying 3 resources for +4. But this also hits your hero, and notably, it doesn't exhaust your hero because you don't have to defend. So it's probably a bit more playable on a lot more board states, but it's also not amazing. I don't think it's that good. Take a Stand can be solid with other heroes, not Luke, but if you get readies like from Harlem's Hero, it's great actually. I don't know if it's great. Like, I just think numerically spending 2 resources for +2 is bad. Like that's the numbers just don't make sense. I think that's a weird thing when it comes to what's it called, to his gym. Fogwell's gym maybe makes it a bit better. I don't know. Harlem's Hero is like such an interesting card. Man, we need to talk about Harlem's Hero. So 1 cost, I wish his deck had 3 of these. I think that's a weird thing about Luke's deck is that there's no card that's a 3 of, so there's no card you can like really play around. Like this seems like a small quibble, but I've been thinking about it a bit more, and like I kind of think there's something to this. There's a lot of hero kits that will have a card that's a 3 of. Sometimes it's not the 3 of you want, like 3 swinging web kicks, but most hero kits have a 3 of, and that's the card that you can most likely draw, so you can most likely plan around it. His kit doesn't. Everything's like a 2 of or a 1 of, so like he feels a bit less inconsistent. He feels less consistent, excuse me. His consistency comes with his hero tax being like really quite solid, pun intended. But the thing with Harlem's Hero is, and like maybe you can name one, barring things like Storm, I guess, how many hero cards interact with allies like this? So this says give Luke Cage a tough status card for 1 cost. That's already reasonable. For each tough status card in Luke Cage, which probably will be more than 1, choose a character you control and ready it. So you can ready your hero, but you can also ready a lot of allies. How many hero kits have a card that interacts with allies? Like, I feel like, Ronan archetype just came out that says you want to play as few allies, if not no allies. I don't want to play Ronan and Luke Cage because Harlem's hero, and admittedly not a 3 of, but as a 2 of, this is so good. Like, a 1 cost ready toughness is already nonsense, but a 1 cost ready multiple ready toughness is like so strong that you really want to play as many allies as you can, which, like, in terms of the leadership deck he came with, makes a lot of sense. But I just can't think of another hero kit that comes with a card that basically says you should be playing a lot of allies in this deck. I don't think we get that. This is like a really weird card. The mayor beating people up with a parking meter is so funny to me. I forget what game that is, but there's that old beat 'em up game from like the NES or SNES era about, the mayor who also like, goes to arms and fights crime on the streets, which I don't think exactly is Luke Cage's thing, but I forget who that mayor something. I haven't watched the VOD yet. What do you think of Luke and Jessica? Tony, I thought I didn't like the Luke precon. His text is really strong. He has some powerful cards. Jessica's nonsense. She's so interesting and weird and fun. Every time we play Jessica, we learn something about her. And like every card she has is a card that if someone posted on Reddit, you'd be like, you can't print that. Which, like, I think it's kind of cool. I'm kind of into it because she's very powerful, but she's also weird. The one thing that I think I'm not 100% sure about is the fact that she can always jump down to alter ego. Like, one of the special things about this game is that you have 2 sides. And in terms of her, she doesn't have 2 sides functionally. She only has 1 side. It only really matters if you start on alter ego, because then sometimes you get a bit awkward because you can't go back. But the alter ego hero thing, not like being 1 side, is like really weird. But she was like such a ton of fun. We managed to knock out Kingpin on stage 1 without even fighting him, which is really cool. And Luke has been like any villain, like, I think there's a chance that Luke Cage is going to be very polarizing, where if there's a villain that the villain's thing is hitting really hard, it just doesn't work. Like, the villain doesn't do anything. Maybe that's cool. Maybe that's interesting. I don't know. But yeah, Luke Cage seems to be really, really, really well suited for a certain subsection of villains that want to hit you with a hammer really hard. I have enjoyed the Luke Cage minion heavy villains really take the wind out of his sails. Yeah, I think there's certain ways you can build into that. I honestly think one of the Luke Cage decks I'm more excited to play outside of protection, because protection seems like it makes a lot of sense, but honestly, kind of doesn't. There's a lot of perks of protection that don't work with Luke Cage, because like 80% of the protection cards care, citation totally needed. They care about whether you defend it or not. And when you have 7 toughnesses, you have no reason to defend. So like, do you play Unflappable? And my answer is no, you don't play Unflappable in solo Luke Cage. Why are you defending to draw a card? But as soon as you play 2-player or 3-player, where you get the toughness off yourself and then you defend for your teammate, then Unflappable and all these like defense cards, protection staples start to make a fair bit more sense. But when it comes to solo protection, it's like the Colossus issue, in which the protection card pool is, again, almost entirely predicated off of you defending, which you don't want to do with Colossus or Luke Cage. For that reason, though, I think actually I'd really want to play Luke Cage in aggression, because one of the big issues with aggression is that you cannot keep yourself alive really well unless you're playing a lot of allies, and you still want to play a lot of allies in aggression because, I mean, they're good. But I do think the fact that you can just spam toughnesses, not worry about functional defense, and then just go face, as much as it becomes a rush deck to some extent, I think is really compelling. Like, I do think protection Luke Cage is the obvious thing to do, but when he plays solo, like, honestly, a lot of the protection cards don't work well with Luke Cage. It's weird. Besides Taunt. Taunt is an absolute absurd card. Taunt is my favorite Colossus card. It's probably my favorite Luke Cage card too, for a bunch of reasons. Seems like it would work if toughness doesn't stop it. Why would bracers? The only reason why wouldn't bracers is sometimes in some games, if there's a cost and then an effect, and then you have a card that says when you would pay cost, don't pay cost, and then you cancel the cost, you didn't end up paying the costs. This is like a Netrunner thing. There's a card that says like, when you pass this, take a tag. And then there's a card that says the first time you take a tag, don't. Technically, the game ruled that you didn't take a tag, so you don't get to do the benefit. The way that I'm reading it off clarity, purpose, and bracers, it looks like it should work, because it looks like the damage was dealt, and then you just reduced it. But it doesn't say, like, don't take the damage. The way that you can't take damage, if it said take damage, not deal damage with toughnesses. So I think it should work. But some games FFG games have some arcane rulings around that. Hey, Heizer, how's it going? Hey there, love the content. I just found you about a week ago. It's awesome. I get to catch you live for a little bit. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, welcome to the channel. I think the channel's been growing a fair bit recently with the new sets, and we did a couple things with Villain Theory, which was like really awesome. Villain Theory is really nice, so glad you can make it. I misread the stream title. You were fighting Ronan. I'm used to everyone playing Ronan now. I'm so used to. I'm not sure what was going on to work with this one defense. I think we'll be okay. Bit behind the stream, Ghost Spider can use take a stand for triggers in the villain phase. Hard to find those in leadership. Howdy, how's it going? Yes. I think we shouted that on Friday. Is that the one character that I'm most excited to play? I actually really enjoy leadership Ghost Spider. I think she's cool. She plays with some interesting subsection of cards, and this is definitely a subsection of cards that she can play with. The fact that now this becomes a 1 cost +2 and a ready, then it's suddenly like reasonable, let alone it draws a card off of her bracelets. Like I like that a lot. I was really hoping they would reprint Unflappable with this wave. Yeah, me too. It's strange that they didn't, especially because Daredevil's on it. The last time they reprinted Unflappable was when in the X-Men wave. I can't tell you in which pack. It definitely wasn't Cyclops. But yeah, there's always like a bunch of staples that you wish were in the game kind of forever. Unflappable, Def Focus, those are definitely a couple of them. Just to go to Jones is a fun journey to do an anticlimactic destination. I don't know. I mean, like if you hit the button and you delete the villain, I guess you could say that's anticlimactic, but it's like saying when you hit the plunger and the explosion goes off and destroys the enemy base, is it anticlimactic? I mean, the explosion's more fun to look at probably, but I mean, you built a big explosion, watch it happen, enjoy it. It was Rogue, okay. Unfortunately, I got into the game in December, so all sources are out of print. I mean, bummer. Sipping, if you want, just proxy it, right? Like proxy it, put it in front of another Marvel Champions card if you play with clear sleeves, and you don't worry about it. If you can pick up a single card, still play with it. It doesn't really matter. Nobody's gonna be upset about that, besides FFG, but I'm not gonna tell them. Is an Iron Fist going to be protection, so it could come in that pack? Yep, it could. There's a chance it could come in that pack. I do think Iron Fist is going to have a lot of like defend perfectly by cards, which we've seen none of them so far. So I'm pretty sure a bunch of those protection cards in that pack are going to be like kind of spoken for already. But it seems like he'll be building into martial artist and defender and stuff like that. We don't know that Iron Fist doesn't have it unflappable, and considering he'll likely have a perfect defense, maybe we'll get it. The thing is, he'll have perfect defense, but he'll have perfect defense, right? So yeah, maybe unflappable works, because technically you're not defending. But I think it's more likely that Iron Fist will have an unflappable that says if you exactly don't take damage, then do something. Maybe he can have both. But it'd be weird to have a card that says fully don't take damage, which works on perfectly don't take damage, in the deck that's perfectly don't take damage. But I do think unflappable could make sense. I would be very happy to see it. I think it could be the first card ever printed with 3 different arts on it, which we've never seen that. And Unflappable is a good candidate for that. Anyway, let's talk about this deck. How's everyone doing today? Let me catch my breath a bit, but I did update all the cards so we can look at all the nice cards in this deck. They load a bit better today. If you know, you know. This is Luke Cage, 221 stat line. Not a great stat line, a bit less than some of the other characters we've been seeing this wave. Everybody's been having 6 points. He only has 5, but he has really good text. He has unlimited toughnesses and he's immune to piercing, which means he doesn't just lose 7 toughness in a single attack. Pretty hype. However, and easy to forget, after tough status is discarded from him, and it doesn't have to be from an attack, it could be from anything, he has to take unpreventable damage. That is what it is. Damage that you cannot prevent with toughness, it ignores toughness, and you cannot reduce it. Kind of does what you think it does. It's technically a new rules term, and excited to see how they use that, because it's actually a pretty interesting rules term. I want to say I actually like this text a fair bit. I mentioned this before. The Man Without Fear is one of my favorite cards they printed in a while. And it's a really strong upgrade that classically, if you ask me, if they printed this like 2 years ago, it would just be 3 cost and then have no damage. But now it's 2 costs, so it's really easy to play. It has such a strong effect, but every time you do it, you have to take damage, which in terms of being without fear, I think is actually pretty fascinating. But it just means that you're on a clock, it always builds tension, and there's a real cost, as opposed to a lot of the 3 cost upgrades you put down that are hero specific that just say, well, now the game's kind of messed up, right? Like the I don't know the name of the rifle from Venom, but it comes down and you just get, you know, infinite value every single turn, which doesn't make the game always more interesting. This makes the game more interesting. So I like these sort of things that have like built-in costs that you have to play around and like work towards. Now our alter ego doesn't really matter too much. 4 recovery is nice. 10 hit points is less than you think it would. He actually, obviously the toughnesses do a lot of the work there, but he says action, you can search your deck for the bursting process and put it into play, and the bursting process is how you get your toughnesses. Oh, these should be set aside. 1 second. Remember to shuffle that. So the bursting process is really good. One of the good things about playing protection is that jumping down to alter ego is just not that hard comparatively, because you have things like ready for a fight. This will give you 2 toughnesses or 1 toughness in alter ego, depending if you've started with some or if you have none. Every turn cycle that you jump down to alter ego and stay in alter ego, you go +2 to 3 toughnesses, which is really good. And you are Groot-like, where if you don't have toughnesses, a lot of your cards kind of suck. So you want to make sure you're with toughnesses for many different reasons. And every once in a while, you want to jump down and recover, of course. And these are the reasons. The payoffs for having toughnesses are good. Sweet Christmas is my favorite, I think the best payoff by a mile. This is an attack, so it does interact with retaliate and guard and all that sort of stuff. But it's 5 cost, but its cost is reduced by every toughness you have. So ideally it's a 0 cost card. Even if you play 1 or 2 for it, it's totally fine. And then you deal 5 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. Unfortunately, because it's an attack, there is some upsides to that with his cruising for bruising. But the downside is if you're dealing with a 3 health guard minion, this is really quite bad because it does not hit the villain because of guard the way that it works. But this is one of the big payoffs for toughnesses. The other ones are Stand With Me, which I don't really care about this card too much. It's the most expensive way to get a toughness, and then it removes X threat after giving a toughness, where X is the amount of threat, or sorry, the amount of toughness is on you. I mean, this can one-shot side schemes, which is good. So the idea is if you jump up and then you play this after a bursting, you're removing 3 threat. The thing is, like, a 2-cost card that removes 3 threat is not amazing, but the fact that it gives you a toughness obviously makes it a lot better. The problem is in solo, if you need to remove threat, that's usually the thing that you lose to. So getting the 3rd toughness, like, doesn't always matter on that board state, but like, it's a card with a very bad fail case. So you do have to manage your toughnesses. Like, ultimately playing Sweet Christmas for 4 is like fine-ish, but playing this for 2 and getting 1 toughness feels a bit worse, removing only 1 threat. Harlem's Hero, I mentioned this earlier today. This card is nonsense good. It's really, really good. You get yourself a tough status. Ideally, you already have a couple, and then you ready a character for each tough status you have, a friendly character, which means you're always going to ready yourself at a minimum because you always have 1 toughness. But then if you have a bunch of allies, you can ready a bunch of allies. I mentioned this, but I don't think we've seen a hero card that interacts with allies this aggressively ever, barring things like Storm that has, like, you know, the weather card that hits the whole table. This is wild. Like, again, I don't know why we haven't seen a hero card that interacts with multiple allies. I mean, maybe you can come up with some examples, but I'm struggling to come up with an example of a deck that says, like, hey, you should be playing allies because of the hero cards. Like, that's weird, and I don't know why that's weird. And for that reason, we're playing allies, and we're playing really good allies. But the interesting thing is, like, Harlem's Hero is good in a couple ways. Firstly, you definitely want allies on the table, but also it makes it a lot better to play these allies that come for 1 turn. Because if you play Nick Fury or Professor X, you get them down and then you can activate twice with them if you play Harlem's Hero, which is like pretty sick, especially because Nick Fury obviously draws a bunch of cards. And then if you draw a bunch of cards, well, you probably have a Harlem's Hero that's playable in your hand. So Nick now becomes draw 3, attack for 4, or thwart for 4, and then get a block if you want to preserve your toughnesses, which is way stronger. Professor X also really good because jumping down to Alter Ego is fantastic, but now Professor X can thwart for 6 and block an attack, which again, I do kind of wish this deck had 3 Harlem's Heroes because it's a very powerful card, but it's not consistent enough to build your whole deck around it. And then one card that I think is way better than maybe a lot of people think is Hellcat. Hellcat is so good. I've never played her for 4. I'm definitely hoping not to. But if you just play her for her because you're a defender, she thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. She won't block because she runs away. But ultimately, also on a Harlem's Hero turn, she's now 1 card for 4, which is so dang good. She's just really easy to play, and with Harlem's Hero, she gets even better. But on the basis, if your deck is just full of 0-cost 2s, you're probably in a good spot, or 1-card 2s. You're in a great spot. I want to shout out some of the other allies we have. Of course, we have Jessica. She is one of the big reasons why even in protection, that's not like really high on thwarting, you can get by, because she thwarts for a heck of a lot. We actually have healing in our deck to make sure Harlem's Hero is consistent, and you need to keep your allies healthy, because if you have a Harlem's Hero and your person's on 1 health, it's like not good. So you want to keep them healthy. We have a Gambi because, well, Gambi is just good enough, better on higher difficulties where there's more big boosts. But Gambit is another character that's good to heal and good to activate. And then lastly, I want to say She-Hulk, who honestly, I've been struggling a bit with her. She's just a bit expensive, and we also do have Hulk in this deck. But when she comes in, she gives us a toughness, she has a toughness. And I just want to say, outside of playing Fogwell's Gym, I don't like toughness on allies that much. It does preserve our toughness, but then they become so slow on tempo. Because when you play She-Hulk and you don't activate with her because you want to preserve her toughness, then she blocks an attack, and then she's basically doing nothing until the 3rd turn after you've played her, which for playing a 4-cost card is way too much for me. So like, I'm not convinced about She-Hulk, which is strange, because she's like very, very, very good. Now, the card that we're playing is Toughen Up, and there's 2 of these in this deck. You can play 3, and it's really weird because this card isn't unique. It reads like a unique card, but it's not. It has Luke Cage's art on it, and it says, after you recover, if your remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your base hit points, so at 10 or higher, you give your identity a tough stats card and exhaust this. So this card says if you jump down and recover, and we have 4 recovery, which is not bad. So if we get up to 10, we can suddenly get a whole bunch of toughnesses. Sounds good. If you jump down, you basically get bursting toughnesses, maybe 1 or 2, and then you can get 1 or 2 tough enough toughnesses, and then you can flip up next turn, and you can get like 5 toughnesses. That seems really good. I'll be honest though, I played through an entire campaign with this Toughen Up. I don't think they're worth the slot. And I think it's like a confluence of a couple issues. Firstly, there's another card that fits into the slot that I think is just a bit smoother. I think you do need to recover with Luke Cage, but the way that we've built this deck actually just has enough healing in it because you want to heal your allies every once in a while. That it's true that you do recover, and we actually go out on the way to make sure that recovery is easier than normal to hit the toughen up. But like having this card that's only playable on the turns that you only recover generally like once, maybe twice in a game. In a solo game, you usually only recover once, which means putting 2 copies of this card, which you're kind of encouraged to play multiple copies because it's like a unique stacking effect, just isn't it for me. So I don't know what to do. I think you can recover a bit more in multiplayer where like you spend most of your time defending for people and then you can like take a turn off every once in a while. But in solo play, maybe unsurprisingly, this is probably a bit worse than the other defense card, the protection card, excuse me, you can play that gives you a toughness when you go to alter ego. So we're still going to play this to show you what it looks like. But from my testing, I can't say in solo expert play, this has been usually worth the slot and it hasn't fired consistently. You just don't recover that much, and planning your whole turnaround to get 2 extra toughness. I think that's actually my second point is like the amount of toughnesses you get on Luke Cage, at some point it stops mattering, right? Like as soon as you have 5+ toughnesses, Sweet Christmas gets free, but there's no benefit of going bigger than that. So the idea is that if I jump down, get 2 copies of Burstein and 1 copy of another defense card, I'm usually have 4 toughnesses, and that's nearly all you need in solo. In multiplayer, once more, I think having like 7 toughnesses, 8 toughnesses may make more sense because you can spend more time defending for the rest of the table. But usually you lose 1 toughness per turn cycle. So like having 9 toughnesses doesn't make sense. So tough maxing is, you do need enough toughnesses, but I do think in solo play you can have too many toughnesses. And this card is veering in this weird awkward section between too many toughnesses and like not consistent enough. So yeah, kind of cool. I'm so happy the AE text is an action, not a setup ability. If you mulligan into it, you can spend it and return it. I mean, I just wish it was a permanent, I'll be honest. But yeah, it's really nice that it's not the setup, so you can just grab it. Like I've often mulliganed into it, you discard it, which is really quite good. I hope they make a Shang-Chi protection ally in the Iron Fist pack. I think we've only seen him on Flow Like Water. Shang-Chi, yeah. Is there a Shang-Chi ally in Elektra? We're going to look at the Elektra article today. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Iron Fist. But Shang-Chi has barely shown up. I think only, yeah, in Taskmaster. Okay, ready for fight. This card's really good. It's a really easy way in protection to jump down into alter ego mode. And that's really good because we can do the bursting process, but also it's easy for us to fire toughen up. That is a hard thing sometimes about playing solo, is like getting down to recover is just hard. And that's a good thing with protection, is a ready for a fight makes it easy to recover. So toughen up is a bit better. Also generating a physical, our deck has a lot of physicals and we have a wild generator that we're splashing to the deck. So the thing on the requirement on this is not too bad. Similarly, downtime, and these are all the cards that we have to feel like we have to play to make toughen up a bit more consistent. Downtime gives us +2 recovery, so we recover for 6. I think doing a big recover or giving yourself more health are both comparable things. And there's actually a chance that like, I can't tell you if downtime is better than endurance in this list, right? Because one of them gives you more health, and endurance only cares if you're at your max health. And this gives you +3. Well, technically a single downtime later gives you a +2. So between the two, I think endurance is just usually a better card. Technically, our deck cares about recovering, so we're going to try downtime, but they're both very, very comparable. And overall, I like endurance better because you can play it in hero mode and it actually does something. And if you're caught at 1 or 2 health, like you're in a bad spot, because if you get attacked twice, you usually just die. Well, our downtime requires you to jump through a couple hoops. It does work with our stuff, and we were testing it, but not my favorite thing. Power Man. It's good. Power Man is one of the Luke Cage titles. It says after Luke Cage loses a tough status, no matter how it's lost, even if you discard it, you draw a card, but you have to exhaust this. I do think this is one of the things I'm thinking about Luke Cage, is the way that Colossus isn't like this. He doesn't have cards that wow me. Like, he has a lot of really good, solid cards, and it feels like a lot of his power budget went into his hero text, which is really, really strong. But he doesn't have like these transformative upgrades that a lot of other characters do. Like, I would say that most of his kit is kind of sauceless, where like the cards are not bad. He has no bad cards in his deck, but a lot of the cards that come down, they're like, oh yeah, drawing a card a turn is good. But there's no like these transformative upgrades that hit the table and now the game is like, you know, on the next level. The way that like Man Without Fear happens, or like half of the upgrades in Echo's deck. He has Power Man, which just draws a card every turn. This is one of my things that I think Luke Cage, like the kit is super solid and super functional, but it's not flashy. Like the flashy thing is his hero kit. I don't know, like we have this card functionally in, and mind you, we have 4 hand size in Colossus. It gives him +1 thwart, and every time he loses one, he draws a card and it doesn't exhaust. And that is such a more fun card because you can trigger it multiple times and you're paid off for that. So yeah, I do think that is one thing I've noticed with Luke Cage so far is his cards are functional, but they're not like super exciting. This card is very exciting, functional, but it's not very exciting. And Fogwell's Gym is another card that's very functional, but also not very exciting. And I do think a big part about Fogwell's Gym is that it'll be a lot better when you play multiplayer, because you can defend for other people. Because ultimately, I don't care to defend, which means there's not that many times in which you are exhausted and you're losing a tough status. So this says after a tough status card is discarded from a defender character, which outside of the leadership stuff that he came with, there's a bunch of defenders that have toughnesses. We only have She-Hulk, which she's not bad if you want to just use her on tempo. But after the defender character loses a tough status, you can ready that character. Now, there's one good interaction point here. The problem is that, like, if we defend and then we lose a toughness, we can ready ourselves, but we have no reason to defend for one against, like, a Juggernaut or Ronan. But this card's a lot better if we defend against a friend on the table, and then we ready, and then we protect two people. So this is definitely a multiplayer card, or at least gets a bit better. The one card we are playing in our deck that makes us a lot better is Taunt, because Taunt says we can make the villain attack us. So the idea is that you can thwart or attack, then play Taunt, then the Taunt hits us, we lose a toughness, draw a card, and then we ready ourselves with Fogwell's Gym. So Fogwell's Gym is still okay, but you have to work for the value in solo because the solo defense thing doesn't make a lot of sense. Knuckle Sandwich. This, I think, is one of his most interesting cards. It's a bit clumsy, though, because you want to keep it in your hand between turns. This is a 2 for 3, which is not incredible. But if you discard a tough status card from you, which notably does a damage to you, but also can draw a card and ready you, which is nice for the gym and nice for the Power Man title, you can return this to your hand, which makes it a 1 for 3, which is very good. That's above rate. So yeah, I mean, this is a card that you don't want to discard. You want to keep in your hand every turn. But in solo play also, I do think it's a bit tricky to generate enough toughnesses to play this every turn without like really changing your play loop. And maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe like tough maxing is the thing you want to do, tough maxing, because you want to play Knuckle Sandwich every turn cycle. The problem is like trading out 3 damage for a toughness is usually not a good trade in solo play. Usually isn't, because against Ronan, you're going to need all those toughnesses, and trading again a free villain hit for 3 damage is kind of silly. Like, imagine this card said, and there's a card like this in Protection that says the villain attacks you, and then instead of removing 4 threat or whatever that card does, you do 3 damage. It's like not great. It's technically different than that, but it's not super different than that. In fact, if the villain attacked you, we'd be better off because we'd be firing retaliate at 3, right? So like, it's weird how this card, it both feels good, but then it also doesn't feel that good. It's weird. Cruising, I spelled it right now. This card, I actually like it a bit more than I think I do. Zero cost upgrades that attach to minions are a bit inconsistent in solo play, so a bit better in multiplayer. Whenever you attack the thing, it takes 2 additional damage, and also they get to overkill. My favorite combination with this is you play Sweet Christmas after you attach this to a minion, and so then the minion takes 7 damage with overkill, and then the villain still takes 5 damage. Which, if you're tough max, that only costs you 2 cards to do like 12 plus damage. It's really, really cool. This card has been a bit more flexible than I thought it would, especially because we're bad at dealing with big minions. We have nothing to really attack minions besides Sweet Christmas and 1 copy of Knuckle Sandwich. So this goes hard, and notably this card also cares or doesn't care about who's attacking it. It can be our allies, it can be your teammates, and that's really quite nice. It just says the attached minion takes more damage and overkill. So also a bit better in higher player counts. All right, cards we go into the deck. Taunt. Taunt is amazing. Taunt doesn't feel that good because it's functionally you pay 2 cards to draw 3 cards, but that's still up a card, which is great. But ultimately, this deck is built that when we lose a toughness and we have retaliate, there's all these small things that work together. When Fogwell's Gym is on the table, when we lose a toughness, we ready ourselves. So this becomes draw 3 ready. We have retaliate 2, so it's like retaliate 2, draw 3 ready. If we haven't lost a toughness because the villain is stunned, we can make them attack us. So we lose a toughness and draw with our Power Man title. It's just great, and that just makes any hand that doesn't make sense, you put your worst card and make it into better different cards, hopefully better cards. Taunt is one of the few protection cards that doesn't care about defending, and that's one of the hard things sometimes with Colossus, or it's now with Luke Cage, is that a lot of the protection cards need you to defend to trigger their text, their upgrades, the events, and we don't want to defend because we have no reason to defend in solo play, and multiplayer is a lot different. And Taunt is one of the few protection cards that says don't care, just get hit, and we love just getting hit because it doesn't matter for us. And Metal Bracers, really neat card. Just cheap 1-cost retaliate is fine. And then it gives you this ability to basically reduce damage that you're going to be dealt, which is awesome because you can stop retaliate from taking off your toughnesses. It's really nice because you can keep small minions on the table and they just get ground down. You just Metal Bracers them. But I'm not going to really defend for 1 and Metal Bracers and hope that 2 to 3 defense keep the toughness, because that's probably not going to happen, especially on higher difficulties. But this card's really interesting, and it's a thing that you can build around because we'll have retaliate 3, and well, it's easy to build around retaliate 3 in defense. Dauntless. We're going to have a lot of health. In fact, maybe endurance is just better than downtime, but this says if your health is at your base or higher, so the same text on toughen up, we get a third retaliate. The other retaliate cards, there's 2 other retaliate cards you can play in protection. One of them requires you to play no allies, which Harlem's Hero wants you to play allies. And the other one only gives you retaliate if you're defending, which notably, as I've said many times and will continue to say, doesn't make a lot of sense for this deck. Oh, that's not it. It's electromagnetic armor or something. What is it called? What's the name of the electro? I forget. There's a defense card, a 1-cost tech card that says when you defend, you have retaliate, which again, we're not trying to defend, so this makes sense. Last ally, Basic Hulk. Basic Hulk is fun because you can Harlem's Hero Basic Hulk. But the best thing why Hulk is a bit better in this deck is we're playing Taunt. So we accelerate the amount of rage counters Hulk gets. So Hulk gets faster, angrier, quicker. And that's really good because Hulk can just finish out the game. And notably, we're pretty bad at dealing with, again, mid-range minions. Electrostatic Armor, that's 100% Andy, yeah. This card is the other defense card that gives you retaliate, but you need to be defending. And again, there's a lot of cards that need you to be defending. Thank you, Jason. Med Team, we have 2 of these. Kind of weird. Med Team's actually a really good card. I don't play a lot of it because it's just a bit slow, but we have a lot of reasons to keep ourselves healthy, but more so keep our allies healthy. Because we have, again, I wish we had 3 of them, but we only have 2 Harlem's Hero, which is maybe not enough Harlem's Heroes to build around this. But like we have a lot of good allies with really good numbers we want to keep in play. So Med Team says we can heal 6 across characters over the next 3 turns. And when your characters are like, you know, thwarting for 4 or 5, it's really good to keep them alive. So Med Team might just need to be a 1 of in this deck. We could also replace a copy with Night Nurse, which could be cheaper and better against certain scenarios. But I really appreciate Med Team. Notably, Night Nurse is only for us, right? Yeah, from a hero. All right, Symbiote Suit. Maybe this should have been on the cover of the thumbnail because it is a very impactful card. I have never played Symbiote Suit besides yesterday preparing for the stream. It's a 4-cost card, so it's really expensive. When it comes down, we get 10 hit points immediately, which already is really good. Funny enough, though, having 20 hit points and then having unlimited toughnesses is a bit strange to me, because generally 10 hit points means you can ignore the villain, but then having 10 toughnesses means you can ignore the villain. So it feels like we're paying a premium for something we don't actually use. That being said, we get +1 hand size, which obviously that's great, and we get +1 to each of our basic powers, including recovery. The good thing about having +10 health is like toughen up is easier to play, because anytime we recover, we'll probably be over the 10 starting health, which is nice. But of course, the downside to Symbiote Suit is it has a hazard. But luckily, Mitigated Threat just came out. And this card is really good into Ronan. We're hoping to find out today. But we can attach it to any card, including one of our cards, and it just blanks the icons on it. So we can just undo the hazard on the Symbiote Suit. That being said, at the end of the turn, we have to spend a resource. Otherwise, we discard this. But because we have +1 hand size from Symbiote Suit, if we just discard our worst hand, we functionally paid a 4-cost card that gives us the ability to see an extra card, like scry 1 card a turn, have +1 to all our stats, and +10 hit points, which is a fair trade, I think. 4 is expensive. Like, let me be honest, 4 is actually pretty pricey on the Symbiote Suit. So the turn you play, you're not doing that much else. But when it comes down, it's good. I don't know if you need it though. Like 3 thwart, 3 attack. 3 thwart specifically is a really good breakpoint when you're playing solo, especially in Red Skull. I haven't played this. I think I've only played this in about 30% of the games that I've played preparing for today. All the other 70% of the games, you just don't need it. But when it lines up, it is kind of cool and it's worth trying. But I don't think it's necessary, and I'm not convinced it's like a thing that you need to be doing. It's cool though. Would Night Nurse remove tough status if you don't have another status? Yes, I think she has to remove a status counter, which maybe that's a nombo. I don't think I've considered that. But I think you'd only hit the Night Nurse button if you're stunned or confused. But yeah, she has to discard a status card, which is pretty bad. I love using Sneak Attack and Rapid Response with She-Hulk. These are the leadership cards that come in and out, right? Put that ally into play. That ally still in play. The end of phase, discard it. I mean, that makes it cheaper. She gives you her toughness. She can't use her toughness though, which is kind of annoying. Symbiote Suit is on. Yeah, I barely play with this card. It's, you know, it's something that people have strong opinions about. In solo play, it's like you're doing everything that's bad to yourself. In multiplayer, I could see this being annoying when the person next to you is getting your hazard card. But yeah, seems good enough. I think we'll eventually play 2 Mitigated Threat when we're playing against Ronan and probably not play the Symbiote Suit. All right, just the bottom of our deck is just econ. So we're playing build support, technically the other art. This allows us to grab a support and put it into play. We're not that good at thwarting, but we can usually hit 3 thwart off of a single take a stand. No, I forget what it's called. The 2-cost thwarting card, and that's good. And the one thing, oh, this shouldn't be this. This should be a Quinn carrier. Wait, this should be a Quinn carrier. We can't play the X yet. We're meant to grab the Quinn carrier. And notably, the Quinn carrier is not a card we can play in this deck naturally because we're not an Avenger. But once it comes down, it generates a wild, which his deck has no econ, has no econ plays whatsoever. But this generates a wild, which is good for a requirement card. That shouldn't be the X yet. I mean, we could just pretend it's the X yet, but it has a different icon on it. I'm really interested to see what people are doing for like the defenders heroes, what they're doing to solve some of their econ problems. Because very notably, they're a wave that has no research generator so far, besides like American Sign Language. We play Strength, Energy, and Genius, and a single copy in the Power of All in us because we have a lot of expensive neutral cards, and Power in All of Us generates 2 resources for a basic card, which is really quite good. Now, I'm going to talk about the cards at the bottom of the deck are things that we've considered, not that we've tested, but things that we've considered. And I do think a bunch of them probably are worth a slot on the deck. Firstly is Hidden Base. And I do think Hidden Base, particularly in solo play, is just probably better than Toughen Up. Now, Toughen Up is the new card, so we'll play it for the first round or two to show you what it looks like. But Hidden Base is just so much easier. It's unique, costs 2, and when it comes down, that's all you have to do. Just bring it down. You don't have to worry about recovering and your health totals and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't stack. You only have 1. But it says Alter Ego response. If you choose when you jump up from Alter Ego to hero mode, you can give yourself a tough status card, which is the best time to get a tough status card, not when you're jumping down, but when you're jumping up because of the bursting process. Ultimately, I think Toughen Up could work, and I just don't know the world that you play like Hidden Base and 2 Toughen Ups because that's a lot. And I don't think you need that many toughnesses. It's not like we're in situations where we don't have enough toughnesses, but Hidden Base is just easier to play than Toughen Up, which is weird because they're in the same like format. These haven't come that far apart. A Change of Fortune, also probably worth playing. We have Retaliate 3 somewhat consistently. I also think if we are playing Dauntless, which we are, we probably should play Endurance over the Healing 1, but we'll change that if we change that. But a lot of times with with minions, you can leave them in play with your Metal Bracers and just let them ping themselves down. And so Change of Fortune should be consistent enough. I feel like Change of Fortune is a bit better in multiplayer where you can get more likely have minions in play. So that's a thing. Unbreakable Bond. Card's not bad. It's just in solo play, like you don't always have Jessica on the table. I do think if you play with a Jessica player across the table, 100% play Unbreakable Bond. It's so good. But I don't know if we have the consistency enough to play a team up, as much as Jessica's a really good card. And then as I mentioned, this Unflappable is just really, really strong, but we have no incentive to defend. Anytime we'll defend, we'll like by definition never take damage, but I don't want to exhaust just to draw a card. Generally, the card we draw is not always worth 2 thwart or 2 attack. Usually a card should be. So you could say like defending is maybe worth the card draw, and maybe it is, but it's the sort of card that's way better as soon as you have a second player because you can just defend for the person next to you and then actually get twice value from it. So I think these cards are definitely worth playing. This is a maybe. This is only, I would say, in multiplayer higher, but they're very good cards. How are we feeling about Luke? I tried him out against Hammerhead, Expert, and Raft. Did not go well. I think he should be good against Hammerhead, right? Because Hammerhead is when you take damage. I think he's interesting. I think his text is so absurdly strong. And any villain that the thing they do is hit you really hard, like Juggernaut, this is worth so much. I think ultimately a lot of his cards aren't very flashy. He doesn't have a lot of those like again, Sweet Christmas might be his flashiest card. And the only thing about Sweet Christmas that makes it flashy is that it's free. And so I do wish that there was a bit more like kind of sauce in his deck. And maybe it's just the downside as he came out next to Jessica, and Jessica's cards are all like mega absurd. And I don't exactly mean in power level, just in terms of like what they do. And maybe it's good to have a straightforward hero, but he's a bit straightforward, even compared to Colossus, who has a lot more like weird things going on. Retaliate starting on turn 1. I wasn't playing ally spam, so I couldn't ever build up the toughs. Oh, it has Retaliate. Yeah, you're right. Hammerhead doesn't Retaliate, so you need to get your Metal Bracers down so you don't knock your toughnesses off. I don't know if you didn't see it or you didn't see that interaction, but Metal Bracers cancels Retaliate, which means you can keep your toughnesses. He doesn't have a lot of health though, so you only have to do like a couple Sweet Christmases. Like you want to Sweet Christmas him every time you can, because he has like 15 health. But yeah, you're not great at mid-sized minions, so I could see the Raft being a bit of a problem. You can't rapid response the hero from sneak attack. Unfortunately, they're discarded, not defeated. Oh, as a response to the She-Hulk thing, right? Yeah, they're not defeated. They are discarded. Hey, Joel, how's it going? 2 tiebreakers in Nottingham top 4. Let's go. The top 16 was really good. Who's left in the top 4 right now? Obviously, I'm not watching, but like the top 20 players or whatever in Nottingham was a really, really good, that was a competitive field for sure. It was going to be. Is our boy Ronan in there still? Sweet Christmas can be awesome with cruising. I think it's worth exploring in aggression. Yes, Sweet Christmas with cruising is so fun. And I do think that I'm very excited to play Luke Cage in aggression, because one of the downsides with aggression is, well, how do you not die? right? Because you don't block. You don't have cards that block. Usually you just play a couple more allies and you chump block with allies. But with Luke Cage, you can just not die and also put out damage, which seems cool. Like it actually seems very interesting. I've seen Cruising and Sweet Christmas played so many times in such a short time. I mean, when we found it on Friday, I was like, wait, I can do this first and then do this? And you're like, that's sick. And it's, I mean, 0 cost card or maybe cards. Top 4 is the Lethe Davs on Mercury. So I saw Augie versus Ronan right now. Okay. Wishing my best to Patty. Davs, yeah, was top of Swiss on Mercury. I think there's 2 Mercuries in the top 16, which, I mean, Mercury's good. Mercury just says, I don't want to play the game. And that's fine. You don't have to play the game all the time. But actually, maybe Davs has a more interesting Mercury. I think it's probably not. Probably. Maybe. I think we've also had the most criminal in a top 16 in like 2026. But I do think the UK is built a bit different. If the UK can play criminal, they do play criminal. All right, let's give this a shot. So we're going to play off against Juggernaut today. Juggernaut might be a good matchup. I'm assuming it is, but I haven't tested it because ultimately Juggernaut wins by hitting you really hard. And ultimately we're good at not getting hit really hard. After that, we're going to look at the Elektra article, which I haven't read. And then we're going to look at play Ronan, which will be good fun. Just opened the Children of Blood to start sleeving it. And I'm already so excited. I kind of want to play on hard for my first time, but then I don't get rads. My partner and I just did the second scenario for the first time last night. Was pretty cool. I don't think it was as like, I think the first scenario was so good. The second scenario is still really good, but it's not as good. But the first scenario was like such a high bar from my experience. But the amount of cards that were set aside, because you have so many decisions about how you deal, oh my God, with the second scenario, I immediately want to replay the whole campaign. So yeah, it's looking good. It's such a double-edged sword because so far the box looks like one of the best campaigns they've put out in years, and then it's also only 3 scenarios. It's like it's the first time in a long time they've given me a campaign that I'm super jazzed about, and then it's over. Like, why is it so short? Maybe it's only that good because it is that short, so all the ideas were less, were condensed. All right, anyways, villain, it's Juggernaut. I like Juggernaut a fair bit. I think he's a fun villain to play against. He gives you a lot of ways to control what he's up to, and I think that's neat. He has 21 health, pretty big. He'll get bigger. Attacks for 3, but he actually attacks for 4 with overkill on turn 1 because he has 1 momentum counter. When revealed, place a momentum counter. If Juggernaut exposes in play, flip it. It's not. Otherwise, give Juggernaut a tough status card. So he will be tough. Let's look at the main scheme, the Unstoppable Juggernaut. So we're playing totally stock standard. So we have Black Tom Cassidy. Notably, Black Tom Cassidy has, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 2 attack quick strike minions that if they damage you, you have to take a stun. The thing is with toughnesses, they won't damage us, but ideally with the bracers, we can like not lose a toughness to a quick strike attack, which would be pretty good. So we'll see how that lines up, but it's not a bad interaction. Us being stunned is also not the end of the world. So we have to attach the helmet and we have to play with Hope Summers. Notably, if Hope Summers defeated, we lose the game. So we have to defend for her every once in a while. So we will have to exhaust to defend. This is the campaign Hope Summers, which I'll show you in a second. But for now, we'll advance to the one main scheme, the Unstoppable Juggernaut. So 7's not the largest threshold. It comes in with 1 and only gets 1 a turn. But the big thing with this one is that when it advances, we don't lose the game. Juggernaut just gets big and angry and then attacks us. Which, again, for a deck that can play a lot of toughnesses, there's a chance that this might be not very interesting. Hoping that's not exactly the case, but you'll see exactly why Luke Cage is as strong as Luke Cage can be. This is a good environment for that. Hey, Proof Rock. How was your Fear No Evil box? I don't know if I asked, but I take it was on your doorstep, right? 3 health, so she has a thwart and attack equal to our hero. So for an alter ego, she's not very useful. She doesn't count towards our ally limit, which is also kind of nice for Harlem's hero. We might just have more targets. But if she leaves play, the player loses the game. The one thing we have to watch out for Juggernaut is there's 1 encounter card that says Juggernaut attacks the minion with the least amount of health. I think it's trample there. Maybe it's not. But that means that we never want to enter the villain phase or be in the middle of the villain phase exhausted without another ally. Because again, if he just targets Hope Summers, you can technically lose on turn 1. If you defend on turn 1 and then the 1 encounter card is that one, you will just lose usually. So watch out. We have Juggernaut's helmet. So he's stalwart and overkill. We need to remove this, and we remove this, it costs us 3 resources of the same type. To remove the counters from this and flip it. On the other side, he takes more damage from certain cards, but he's also loses stalwart and overkill, and he loses all the counters, which is pretty important. My order burger tokens, oversight dice on the way. Thanks for recommendation. Yo, Yak, did they restock them? Because I need to buy some too. I need to reach out for hopefully a code from them. It's definitely one I'm going to have to replay multiple times, which is great because it's short and replayable. But yeah, I do wish it was longer. Yeah, maybe even just like 5 or 4 would be long enough. But like compared to 8, it's such a difference, especially because upgrading the decks feels strange. It's like we're going to the final scenario. I got to upgrade my deck twice. It doesn't feel right. That I don't think I like. But it's true that once we finish it, we can dive back in and play it again. They did. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll reach out. They did get restocked. Okay. Everybody, hold up. Maybe there's an affiliate code. Nothing as compared to Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Echo's now C tier at best, and Daredevil feels kind of so-so. I don't know. Well, I couldn't tell you about power because like I don't think I can measure power in any reasonable way. But I do think so far Echo and Daredevil have been immensely pleasurable to play. I'm guessing Jessica will also be the case, but there's a chance that Jessica Jones will develop like a first order optimal strategy that gets a bit boring, like play 8 side schemes, just do those. But Luke Cage seems to be so far like not the most exciting to play, but definitely one of the most, pun intended, steadfast, like the most reliable, sturdy. You have red and blue dice sitting in my cart. I mean, not too bad. My first game with Jones did not go well. Lost turn 1 against Hammerhead. Did he attack twice? How did you lose turn 1? She has like 11 health. That's hard. We lost turn 1 against what's his name? Bullseye. So yeah, it can happen. It can happen to anyone, right? All right, Luke Cage, 4 health. Our action gets to search our deck and discover health for bursting. If we mulligan into it, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes it gets a bit clumsy because sometimes you want to you need to play it before you draw cards. And so I've seen this happen in the decks I played yesterday and in the games I played yesterday. It's like often you want to play a taunt, but the thing is like you need to play the bursting, then use it, then play taunt. So you have to play the bursting with cards you want to keep after taunt. So it's not the end of the world, but sometimes there's some weird sequencing. Cruising for a bruising. This is not good on turn 1. It doesn't do anything. Hulk. I mean, part of us wants to play Hulk on turn 1 always because Hulk as soon as possible is the best Hulk. There is some things that target minions. There's some things that do indirect damage to, sorry, not minions, allies. I say those words interchangeably, which I gotta apologize for that. But it's like a maybe keep because like turn 1 Hulk is the best time to get Hulk for sure. We're definitely looking for doubles. The cool thing is like the funny thing is often my priority is to flip the helmet. But ultimately, we don't care if Juggernaut has overkill or attacks for 4 versus attacks for 3. So like flipping the helmet is good because then he takes more damage from Hope. But like it's so weird that our incentive structure is entirely different playing Juggernaut. Where like I always flip the helmet on turn 1 because overkill is like a problem. But here, I don't care. I don't care. Ready for fight? Don't really need that on turn 1, but it's not a bad card. Stand with me. So this can remove 3 threat once we play our bursting, but there's only 1 threat on the table, so we're almost definitely not keeping this. We're definitely not keeping this. The power in all of us. Okay, the Hulk angle is looking a bit more compelling. And then cruising. Okay. So I think we're just going to do these. Again, we have the bursting, which we want to double. The power in all of us plays Hulk really cheap, so I think we'll go for that. Attack, stun, attack, again with +2 triple boosts on each game set match. Attack, stun, attack, 2 triple boosts. You were playing on the raft, did you say? Because the raft has a lot of triple boosts. Punch guy versus charge guy. Ren, how's it going? I'm hoping it's I think we're punch guy, right? Symbiote suit. I don't think we're gonna do this on turn 1 unless the chat feels really strongly about it. Because you don't need it on turn 1, but like you could play it on turn 1. Downtime, pretty sure it should be an endurance, but it's here. Look at how beautiful our basic hand is. We have Gombi, who might be better than Hulk. And then we have Taunt. So now we're just gonna do our alter ego attacks to search for the bursting. And this is one of those turns where unless we want to play Taunt after we play the bursting, because we have to, but we'd rather do it in the other order. Because if we draw a double, the bursting's so much easier to play. Okay, Gresham Hulk is definitely a minion. He can be great or just table flip and attack the OG Grant Ward. I feel like what's her name? Hellcat is like basically Grant Ward with no contraindications on her. She's pretty good. Hey, HFT, happy Sunday. Looking forward to seeing your take on Protection Luke. I built one myself yesterday, and after a few games, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm standing on Luke Cage. A lot of the protection stuff in solo doesn't work with him because you don't want to defend, but like Taunt is so dang good. So I think it's the sort of deck I'd be really excited to play in multiplayer for sure. But I do think a lot of our cards in this deck are basic. There's a couple protection cards that are important, but as you can see with this hand, it is weird how it'd be like that sometimes. Okay, so we have to play the bursting first. The bursting costs 2, so we could consider not playing these. Then we could do Gumby for Taunt, but this is the ordering. Is like in theory, before you play Taunt, you should play Hulk, but we can't really afford to play Hulk before we play Taunt. So I think we're just going to do this in this order and go from there. Symbiote Suit stresses me out. I played it in solo. I like it for the pivot. The pivot is not bad, but one of the big things clutch is that we've mitigated threat, so we can turn off the hazard, which means we basically turn off the hand size, but not exactly, because you still get to see deeper and then choose to discard your least favorite card. But it's a lot more playable, but I don't want to play 4 cost for this on turn 1. Maybe we should, and just assume we'll draw into mitigated threat. The thing is, it's hard to play the symbiote suit and bursting in the same hand. But we could. Like, our turn could just be symbiote bursting. I'm going to let chat decide. Chat, we have 2 paths to walk down. One path is symbiote suit immediately, 20 health, 3 attack, 3 thwart, all that good stuff. And we still have the bursting to give us 2 toughnesses. The other path, and mind you, jumping onto alter ego is so free when we jump down and get 2 toughnesses and don't care about the unstoppable Juggernaut. The other path is we just do the basic stuff and we set up with Hulk, hopefully after the taunt. Bursting, we do taunt. What do you think, chat? We'll go either way here. Every time you say bursting, I think of Bernstein Bears. Mandela effect, something. Yeah, there's 2 ways we can go here. Scott says Hulk. So Scott says the reasonable way. We have 1 for symbiote bursting. I do hope stats go up with symbiote. I can't remember. Yeah, everything goes up with symbiote. So with symbiote, we get +1 to everything. So every basic, even our recover goes up. We get +10 hit points, which again, with 2 toughness is a bit silly, but we'll take it. And we get +1 hand size. Chat is so divided. Chat is 50-50. The next vote is going to swing it. The next vote swings it. Symbiote bursting. Okay, we're doing Bernstein. Never play it safe. Hey, Jay Woo, always symbiote. I want to say symbiote, but it's going to give 2 bad cards that give a Jug run over to hope faster. I mean, we're fine. I mean, if he gives 2 in a row, we're in a bad spot. We're doing symbiote. So thank you, chat. We're allowed to do this now. We'll play bursting on turn 1. We'll exhaust it. We have no toughnesses, so we get 2. Part of me wants to put 1 toughness in dice, but part of me also knows that stacking the toughness on the table is visually way more satisfying. And then we'll spend 1, 2, 3, 4 for the symbiote suit. So numbers go up. We have 2 defense, 3 attack, 3 thwart, but we also have 10 more health. I didn't realize symbiote was a basic card, not a campaign card. Yeah, it shows up in the campaign, but it is a basic card. And on top of that, this is the only card that's a deck building card that you have 4 of. Because it shows up in the campaign, they had to give you 4 copies of symbiote suit, which is a little weird trivia. There's no other card, I think, as a building card that they give you that many. It's either 1 or 3. Sometimes 2, actually. We'll flip to hero mode. I hate democracy. Sorry, Scott. The problem is the other people that they allow to vote. We'll just attack for 3, attack for 3. Symbiote also makes Hope better, because I don't think Hope says printed text. I think Hope just says your attack. Hope's thwart and base thwart are equal to your thwart. Yeah, so she doesn't care about printed, so she actually does get these numbers. So we're just going to attack for 3 into Juggy and then pass. So again, now we draw. We're playing on heroic functionally on turn 1, but we do have extra stats. So stand with me. Not going to be great. We're not going to have a lot of toughnesses. Nick is going to be good. Genius with Nick is great. Professor got some angles here, but he is stalwart, so probably not. Hellcat would love to get Harlem's Hero. So now we get our 6th bonus card, which is a Quinn Carrier, unplayable. But that doesn't matter. We got Nick. I think Nick and Mockingbird have 4 copies. Oh, shut up. Yeah, Corset. Yeah, you're right. Corset probably has a couple 4 copies. Okay, my cool trivia is now totally useless. Todd and Get Behind Me are nice. Get Behind Me is the get attacked one, right? Yeah, I was considering this one. I honestly don't know if it's worth it. Like, paying 2 resources to get attacked is bad. I think the issue with this card is, like, sure, getting attacked doesn't matter. Treacheries can matter. But the bigger problem with me is, like, this is expensive. And the deck doesn't have good econ. Classic USA swing Canadian elections again. So Juggernaut's attacking for 4 with overkill. We do not care. 4, 5, 6. Master Plan's not a great card for us. We'll lose a toughness. We bleed just a bit. 2 encounter cards because we have a hazard. We'll find our mitigated threat sooner than later. Under fire? Oh, Chad. We made a mistake. It's bad. It's not good, chat. 3 encounter cards. Let's go. Heroic 2. Oh no, chat. It's so bad. We're going to die on turn 1 because we're exhausted. If Hope Summers gets attacked, we lose. Chat is bad. Advance? That's fine. Oh, it's really bad, actually. So Juggernaut schemes for 1 in a card. 1, 2. You are stunned. That's a Creeping Willow. This is the card that we have to play around. So there's a chance that she gets attacked and we lose. Nah, we're just bleeding. Just bleeding a bit. Not even close. That is turn 1. We survived exhaustion under fire. I mean, all the expert cards were together. We did shuffle this, right? Yeah, we did shuffle it. That's weird. The joke is that the trivias looked as generally useless. Okay, so at the end of the turn, we'll just take 3 damage. Doesn't matter. We have a lot of health. We can't really recover. We're stunned as well. So this is going to be a Nick Fury hand and just set up. Notably, Juggernaut has overkill, so there's no like benefit of blocking with Nick. So we might just flip the helmet sooner than later. Yeah, everything is kind of fine. Turns out it's fine. Ooh, symbiote suit. Ooh. That being said, we can also just jump down and let Juggernaut scheme. Because very importantly, if Juggernaut schemes, what does he do? He attacks us. And what do we not care about? Being attacked. Remove all threat. Place a momentum counter. He attacks each player. Like, honestly, there's no difference between being a hero and alter ego. There's literally no difference between being a hero and alter ego. The downside of being an alter ego is you can't defend. But the upside of being in hero is, I don't know. Like, we can spend the whole game in alter ego every once in a while. Like, Luke Cage's text is really good. His text box is very, very strong. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we kind of want to spend 3 of the same to get rid of overkill, but if we jump down, it doesn't matter, so we won't do it this turn. So we're definitely not going to spend these cards. We actually could play Stand With Me here, especially if we get Harlem, so we won't play Prof, I don't think. So we'll spend 4 for Nicholas Fury. And now Nick Fury and Luke Cage, different characters, can draw cards. It's because of the names. Draw 3. 1. You thinking what I'm thinking? Now jumping down the bursting is value. It's value. 2. Maybe. 3. Man, I see taunt. I play taunt. We're going to play taunt. No questions asked. I wish we drew into the thing that draws us the card when we lose the toughness, but we didn't. So taunt says the villain attacks you. So Juggernaut's attacking for 4. 5, you are stunned. Got him. We lose the taunt toughness. We take a bit of damage. We draw 3. Bracers, Dauntless, Power Man. Like, so good. Blue gets attacked in alter ego. He doesn't lose damage after losing the tough. Yeah, he's stronger in alter ego. Oh my god, you're totally right. Pretty upset about work-life balance, mostly because it's super gross gender role stuff, but also because it's not chronophobia. I'm sorry, Ren. I don't know about a lot of that sentence. Hopefully things are okay. I don't know if this is a bit or not. Hopefully you're doing okay. That is goofy. As it turns out, work-life balance is an obligation for every American. It's very different reasons. Internal injury is an Arkham card. So there's a couple of these that have the same, like, these are weaknesses from Arkham. So I think there's a bit in here. Chronophobia is as well. Okay, so I think we just want to set up with the stuff that we want to set up with. We could try playing Toughen Up because we need to recover anyways. So that makes a bit of sense. So we could spend 2 for Toughen Up. That leaves us with this awkward hand. Dauntless is not as good as Metal Bracers. And then I think we can just hold Power Man for next turn. This could be the play. If we want to throw out Power Man, we could like play Hellcat just to be a bit more efficient. But honestly, we're just going to let this threat through. So all we have to do is damage. So I think we'll just hold on to this and pass. So we're going to play 2 costs for Toughen Up. So I'll show you what this can do. And we are priced into recovering because of internal injury. So this will actually do something next turn. Actually, it's not. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then we'll pay 1 cost for single Metal Bracer, which gives us Retaliate and allows us to mitigate some damage. So technically Dauntless is the same, but Metal Bracer is a bit better because this has a fail state and this has more text on it. We will now we'll let this go through. We don't care. We'll attack for 3, 4, 5. So the villain takes 5 down to 13. We'll hold on to this because it's that good. We'll jump down to Alter Ego, and then we're just going to use the bursting process here, which will now give us 2 toughnesses. And then we're going to pass our turn, which internal injury says, after the player phase ends, take 3 damage, unpreventable. We'll drop. This is because, excuse me, I'm mostly making a gaffe about that. Yeah, sorry, because of the Arkham Horror joke. Knuckle Sandwich, don't think too much about that card. Energy's nice. Jessica Jones, she's really good for thwarting. Sweet Christmas. She-Hulk. Okay, so Sweet Christmas probably will have, I think, 3 counters. But the big thing here is Symbiote Suit doesn't say you're hero. You're always good. So it says your identity gets +1 hand size. So we do draw a 7th card, which we drew a med team. Nice. All right, this goes to 5. Juggernaut scheming for 1 in a card. We don't really care. We want this to pop. 1, 2, 3. Breakthrough. So this clears. So it goes to 8, but I think it clears all of it. Maybe it only clears 7. So it says, when the scheme would be completed, instead do the following: remove all threat. If Juggernaut exposes and play, flip it. Place a momentum counter. So now he attacks for 5. Juggernaut attacks each player in player order. So he's attacking us for 5 and a card. We won't block. 7. We lose a toughness, but we don't bleed internally, which is so funny. Very cool. 1 encounter card. 2 encounter cards, excuse me. Making green. So side scheme. Excuse me. We had the side scheme up already. Oh, wrong pedal. Hinder 2. Each copy of Creeping Willow. Creeping Willow has Surge. Being an alter ego is pretty good, but we need to clear that because that's way too much hazard for us. And then we have a Sound Thrashing, which I think actually grabs the Creeping Willow. So Sound Thrashing says, when revealed, each copy of Creeping Willow attacks the player it's engaged with. If you were not attacked this way, search and counter deck for Creeping Willow and reveal it. And because you reveal it, it does have Surge. I think I'm going to grab a Creeping Willow from the deck as opposed to the discard pile. So at least we don't take damage from it. It also does attack for 1. So even if we don't block it, like Metal Bracers is perfect against Creeping Willow. I thought it attacked for 2. But it has Surge because we revealed it. So this thing is also pretty good. Can you block with Nick and Alter Ego? You can, but Juggernaut has Overkill, so it doesn't change anything. But yeah, you can block with allies in Alter Ego. But yeah, he has Overkill because he has his helmet on. Assault Surges. We're in Alter Ego. Oh my god, I can't believe what we're getting away with. Trample. Ooh. Is this how we lose? Take 2 indirect damage. I mean, there's no reason to not lose this toughness because we get it back for free. This is so funny. He like can't hurt us. He literally cannot hurt us if we stay in Alter Ego. Like every round we can just get 2. Literally we can't lose. Okay, I shouldn't say that because that's like absolute hubris. But every turn we just get 2 bursting processes and we just let him scheme. Like he does nothing to us. Nick is discarded. So funny. Okay, so we're gonna do the bursting first because the ordering matters. So we'll go get 2 toughnesses. And then we'll recover. Looks at hand. Nothing we can do. So we'll recover. So we'll recover for 4. Which exhausts us. 2 things happen. Firstly, Toughen Up gives us a 3rd toughness. Unfortunately, we're exhausted, so the Sweet Christmas line's not amazing, but we do get to remove this from the game. So after you recover, remove this from the game. Get punched, take a bath, rinse, repeat. I mean, we can just hang out down here all we want. Okay, we're done with Alter Ego. We'll flip up. We don't have to worry about the Creeping Willow because we can just grind it down with the Metal Bracer. Again, so far, if Toughen Up was a copy of the whatever the defense hanger bay thing is, what's the name of the one? You know the one. If it was a copy of Hidden Base, we'd be in the same position. We had to recover anyways because we had our weakness. But if we didn't have our weakness, we wouldn't have recovered. So this would be better than this. And that's the thing that you have to just keep watch of because I don't honestly think this is worth a slot in this deck. Lucas broken OP hero confirmed defense hero said will not hear prosecution, will not pass, will not collect $200. Okay, so I want to get the toughness off, and then I think we just want to hit Juggernaut with the 2-cost Sweet Christmas. So the easiest way to clear a toughness is Knuckle Sandwich, or sorry, or Stun. The problem is I also want to play Jesse because Jesse thwarts 4 off of making green. Oh, recover for 5. Yeah, good catch. We're at full health. Thank you. Yeah, Symbiote hits all our stuff. Fallion, thank you. Yeah, recover for 5. I don't have a die. I track for recovery, so that's a good thing to catch. Now, Sweet Christmas here, the numbers are good, right? Like it's a 3-cost 5 to the villain. It technically does 5 to the Willow, but we don't care about the Willow. It'll die to Metal Bracers. So like we don't have to do it this turn. Because I think actually setting up the rest of our hands a bit better. Right? Like if we do 1, 2, 3 for Jessie. Jessie thwarts for 4 because she has 4 threat. Like that's really good. That leaves us with this hand. This hand can play a Knuckle Sandwich to just get rid of the toughness and then a Power Man to get set up. Like that honestly might be a better turn. We also can just use Hope to knock out Creeping Willow, but I don't actually think we have to knock out Creeping Willow. I think it'll just die to the Bracers slowly. It has guard. Oh, it has guard actually. So no, I didn't realize the Creeping Willow has guard. So the Sweet Christmas play is actually pretty bad. Do you keep Retaliate and Alter Ego from upgrades? Yeah, I think you do. Yeah, I think you have Retaliate. I think Juggernaut takes 1. Yeah, we technically have Retaliate and Alter Ego. What is the rules on Retaliate? Is it hero only? Hold on. That's actually a really good question. Marvel Champions 1.8. Let's find the 1.8. Because Retaliate is a step, but I don't know if Retaliate's only for heroes or not. The attack finishes resolving. Forced abilities like the Retaliate trigger. But is Retaliate only your hero gets it? Is there a Retaliate term somewhere? It's probably alphabetical, huh? Retaliate. After a character with Retaliate. Yeah, we have Retaliate in hero mode. That's so funny. Eventually it'll die. It'll die in hero mode. So yeah, the villain takes 1 down to 12. I think I did it. That's really funny. Okay, we'll pay 3. 1, 2, 3 for Jessie. So she comes in. She's definitely worth healing. So our second med team, I don't think we've seen yet. Maybe we have. We definitely use it. So she has +1 thwart equal to her toughnesses. So she clears making green in 1. Then we'll just play Power Man. Power Man just says that when we lose a toughness, we can exhaust this to draw a card. And then we'll just play Knuckle Sandwich without using any of the text. In theory, we could fire the text, but the text is not really that worth it. We're just going to clear this done. Again, you play the costs, you don't get the effect. So even we can't return it because it's part of the effect. We'll just use Hope Summers. She could attack for 3, but I think we're just going to attack Juggernaut for 3. She has her attacks and we'll pass. Just take a nap and alter ego. Yeah, if we have Retaliate 3, we can just take a nap. And I think Dauntless actually works. We could just straight up take a nap. Oh, this is when your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater. So a Dauntless won't work because it refers to your hero's hit points. And we don't have hero hit points in alter ego. But I mean, Metal Bracers works. Draw 6. 1. We're looking for a mitigated threat. We have a Ready for Fight, which seems useless in this scenario. Another Sweet Christmas, which maybe the guard minion will knock out. Fogwells, not a great card. With Taunt is good. Second Metal Bracers we want. Strength, and then our extra card is Harlem's Heroes, which is really good with these allies, especially because she doesn't take consequential. Guard can Hope attack Juggy? No, Hope can't attack Juggy. You're right. We'll just trade them. Okay, 1 threat. Juggernaut's attacking for 5 with Overkill. We'll just take it. 3 for 5. 6. Take 1 indirect damage. That's annoying because it takes a toughness. So we're just going to use Metal Bracers to reduce the indirect damage. So we won't take it. Oh, it says take, not deal, right? Yeah, you have to watch out which ones say take, which says deal. This says take. So we'll just put it on Hope. That's our lose con, but we have healing. And then we'll just lose 1 toughness to the attack. The villain takes Retaliate 1. We'll draw a card with Powerman. We drew another toughen up. We also need to take damage, which we do when we lose a toughness, but you don't ever want to be at full health because then you can't fire toughen up. It's usually not an issue. 2 encounter cards. Head of Steam. This one's a bit annoying because Head of Steam actually does give Retaliate, and Retaliate is good against us. So it says, when revealed, attach Head of Steam to Juggernaut and place another momentum counter. Normally this would be terrifying. After Juggernaut attacks you, spend a resource for each damage dealt by that attack. Discard this card. Notably, dealt happens before toughness. So if he attacks for 6 plus 7, 8 with a boost, we have to spend 8. We can reduce the damage dealt by our defense, which is 2. So you could exhaust, but that's a bit scary. So we actually are going to have to flip the helmet just to make sure that the damage dealt is reduced, and we might defend once, as scary as that can be. So this card is an issue because he does have Retaliate 3, which it's not good for us. So he has Retaliate equal to the amount of toughness or to counters. Gang up. So he's attacking us 1 more. Okay. So he's attacking for 6 and a card with Overkill. We could defend and then spend 4 resources to get rid of the Head of Steam immediately, but I don't think our hand is as well used that way as any other way. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll just take it. 3 boosts. Attacks for 9. We don't care. We take 1. He takes 1. We lose the toughness. So funny. Okay, also this will reduce the damage dealt, so you can use the Metal Bracers to reduce the cost of Head of Steam, which is pretty cool. Okay, issue is Harlem's Heroes not that good because we don't have anything to do with our allies, so we might not play it. A 1-cost toughness is like not bad, but ultimately like we can just jump down to alter ego and get a 1-cost toughness, even with or without Ready for a Fight. That's so funny. So I don't think there's much going on here. We're going to draw 3 encounter cards next turn. Unfortunately, our mitigated threat is in the bottom, which is the card that we can spend to turn off Symbiote Suit if we want. Cost of resource. We had a Taunt in our hand. It would be a pretty good thing to have. Yeah, we need to get rid of the Retaliate because we can't attack with any of our allies. So I think we'll just flip this immediately. So we'll spend, I think, 2 physicals, and then probably we don't need the 3rd toughen up, I'll be honest. And that's usually the problem with the card. So we'll spend 3, and then we'll do the text on Juggernaut's helmet. When you defeat him, I think it does flip, so this maybe is not the best time to spend it. We'll spend 3 resources to flip this and remove all counters. So now he has Retaliate 0. This card's flipped. Juggernaut exposed. So he has Retaliate 0. He doesn't have Stalwart. He doesn't have Overkill. And now cards that have a mental do more damage to him. So I think Metal Bracers actually does Retaliate 2. Right? So this says, takes additional damage from each card with the printed mental resource. And after Juggernaut schemes, he does flip back. So we don't want to jump down to alter ego now. We're kind of priced in. But this says when any amount of damage is dealt, reduce the damage by 1, but it has Retaliate 1, but it's on a mental card. Like, I don't know if the source of the damage is Retaliate or the source of the damage is this card, but does he take Retaliate 2 from a single Metal Bracers? If we play 2 Metal Bracers, does he take Retaliate 4? I don't know how this works because the damage is from this card, but it's actually from Retaliate, which is given by this card, as opposed to like attacking with Hope Summers, where it's obvious Hope Summers is doing the damage. You know what I mean? I don't actually know how it works. Now playing ready for a fight makes some sense because we can stop the helmet from flipping. So this is going to be a bit of a setup turn. We'd have to play Harlem's Hero. I think Harlem's Hero is worth the toughness because we don't want to jump down for a moment. So I think we'll just like send face. When I saw size advantage, I immediately thought of what super big Adam Warlock deck. I'm tempted by try symbiote with size advantage. Oh yeah, that's the 3 for 6 in aggression, right? It says Luke gains retaliate, so I'd read it as Luke doing the damage, not the bracers. Yeah, the retaliates each. I mean, people in chat are saying different. So you do 4 with both bracers. The thing is, it gives us retaliate, so the damage is coming from us. I do kind of believe that. I think we have retaliate, not the card. The card gives us retaliate. We don't have a mental. Yeah, I agree. I think that retaliate's attached to us. Juggernaut's being destroyed by Juggernaut. Okay, so we'll just do our damage. We'll attack for 3, but because the thing is flipped, she does 4. We won't use Jessie because she's better the way she is. We'll attack for 3. Then, unfortunately, yeah, I don't think we'll play ready for a fight. So we'll do Sweet Christmas for Harlem's Hero. So we can give ourselves a toughness, and we can ready 2 characters. We'll ready us and Hope. And we're going to advance him right now. So we're going to flip the helmet. I mean, I guess we can just jump down now. Maybe we don't actually flip him because, well, when he flips, he gets Head of Steam back. So it's a good time to attack him. The thing is that I think if we attack him, he gets retaliate immediately because when he flips, he does Head of Steam stuff. So whoever attacks will suffer the consequences of retaliate. Huh. Beta about mentals is one of the things I hate about this text. I play that you don't get the extra. Yeah, I don't think we get the extra. Okay, so at least we can do... I mean, I think the next bracers is worth it. Fogwell's Gym could fire this turn. Because I'm pretty sure when we attack Juggernaut, we'll defeat Juggernaut, right? And when you defeat Juggernaut, he becomes Juggernaut 3. Which says search and counter deck and discard pile for Head of Steam and reveal it. You can reveal a card that's on the table. So you will reveal the card on the table, which will add a counter, which means it will retaliate 1, which will means we'll lose a toughness. So I don't know what we do here because the breakpoints are awkward. Maybe we just use Jessica. Yeah, so let's not ready Hope. Instead, we would attack with Jessica for 2. And then she's going to ready with Harlem's instead. And we'll attack with Jessica for 2 into the villain. And then she will defeat Juggernaut, which means it'll flip off of this. So Juggernaut's defeated. She'll die to retaliate, but we'll just cut that corner. And the villain advances. Okay, Juggernaut 3, 25 health. Juggernaut gets -1 attack for each momentum counter. Sorry, +1 attack, of course. Search and counter deck and discard pile for Head of Steam and reveal it. From my understanding, you can reveal a card that's already on the table. You just do its when revealed text. So Head of Steam says when revealed, attach Head of Steam and place a momentum counter. So he technically has retaliate 1, which means she dies to retaliate sooner than consequential. Okay. Then we go back to the Juggernaut. Bracers can prevent the retaliate? Oh my god, yeah, bracers can prevent the retaliate. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, what am I doing? Yeah, we'll just attack for 3 instead. Yeah, we have bracers. We talked about this. We'll attack for 3 to defeat. We'll use the metal bracers to prevent the damage because retaliate deals damage, and then we can just prevent it. Yeah, of course. We could even deal with retaliate too. Very smart. Search and counter deck and discard pile. If Juggernaut exposes in play, flip it so he gets overkill. Otherwise, give him a tough stats card. So he has retaliate 1. He's attacking for 5 damage. In theory, we want to get rid of Head of Steam, and we can do that in 2 different ways, either flipping him or doing enough damage. You can find the Head of Steam if you're in searching the counter deck and discard pile. We can't find it, but from my understanding, in the recent changes, if a card says find and reveal, if it's on the table, you still reveal it. We could actually just look at the find rules, but I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere that find and reveal works off of the table. Find should have its own section. Sorry if this is hard to watch the fast scrolling. Find. Mind you, the find rules have been changed since this. Find came out and was solidified around Silk. This is about 2 years younger than that. When instructed to find a card, a player searches each game area where the card could be found. Play area, set aside area, player deck, discard pile. Yep. So you can find it if it's on the table. If a player is instructed to find and reveal a minion that's already in play, the player engages the minion, resolves any keywords or triggered abilities that resolve as a result of the when revealed. So I'm assuming it's the same for an upgrade, but when you find something that's on the table, you do still reveal it. Yeah, so you do find it. All right, we're going to throw out or pitch this to the second metal bracers. So we now have retaliate 2. And we won't do anything with Jessica, we'll pass. Fogwell's Gym is not that good of a card. It's a bit better with taunt because it readies us and our stats are good. So I guess we'll hold on to it, but it's not amazing. Yeah, it's good to know. Yeah, I was surprised by that, but I was reading a Reddit post where someone says, yeah, you have to reveal something that's already on the table. I'm like, that's weird. That's relatively new. You're told to find and reveal a side scheme that's already in play. Does it re-add threat to it? I don't know. I don't know if adding threat to a side scheme is attached to its being revealed or being put on the table. You'd have to look into the rules. That's a bit granular. But I know like threat being added to side scheme is a bit different than like threat being added in normal means because it can't be canceled. You can't reduce that threat, I think. But I'd have to look into it. Med team. Mitigated threat. This is one of the new cards that we can slap on to our symbiote suit to spend a resource to not get another encounter card. The encounter cards haven't been that bad. Harlem's Hero. Build support, which is not super useful because we're at the ending stretch, but we are owed a 6th card, so we do get 3 encounter cards this turn. It would reset? Oh, I could believe that it resets, but I don't think it will add. But if it was a 1, I'm assuming, yeah, maybe it does go back to like 5 or whatever it started. But I actually don't know. I'd have to research it. This should be ready. So we have 2 things we can do. Either we can defend against Juggernaut. That's a bit scary because Juggernaut can kill Hope. I don't think we've seen the card that kills Hope, but I haven't been reading every single boost card. A lot of the Juggernaut cards kind of look similar to me. But if we want to defend, we have to take no damage to clear the head of steam. I think it's easier for us to spend 3 resources just to flip the helmet anyways, which is something we want to do as opposed to defending. We do defend for like 4, so maybe, but again, he attacks for 5, so there's no shot. Ready for a fight? Okay. Weird hand. Nothing that really does anything on tempo besides Harlem's Hero. Reset would make sense because revealing feels like lifting off the table and replaying it. Yeah, that's, I think, functionally what it comes down to. So resetting would make sense. But does that mean that it has an attachments on it? You would discard the attachments? I don't think you do that. Goes to 2. So Juggy is attacking for 5 and a card. We don't care. 6, 7, shadows. We lose a toughness. We take a damage. We draw from Power Man. Should have been ready. He takes retaliate too. Taunt is really good. Because unless we get attacked again, we can fire fog whales off of taunt. So 1 card, 2nd card, heroic card, 1st card. Assault. Okay, so we're going to have no toughnesses. We're actually scared as much as we have 17 health. This can be bad for us. Because if he attacks us too many times, like we could lose. But again, with 17 health, the only issue is we get attacked twice and we have to block with Hope. I guess Jessica maybe. So 4, 5, no boost. We take 1 toughness. We lose 1 internal injury. Juggernaut takes retaliate 2. Trample, this is the bad one. So it says Juggernaut attacks the ally with the fewest remaining hit points. So we can make it attack Jessica Jones. Ultimately, we should. Yeah, we're just going to make him attack Jessica Jones. He does have overkill, so we're going to start to take some damage. We could defend, but if there's a 2nd trample, I mean, maybe we just defend here. Because we can reduce the damage by 4, and then we do retaliate. I think we do defend. I think we've seen 2 tramples. I'm not sure if there's 3. But I think there might just be 2. So we'll defend for 2. So Juggernaut's attacking us because you can defend for allies. So 4, 5, 6. We block for 2. We'll metal bracers for 2. So we'll take 2. The villain will take 2. So fair trade. Last card. Black Tom Cassidy. Oh, he's bad. So Black Tom says villainous. Black cannot take play while Creeping Willow is in play. And when revealed, search and counter deck and discard over Creeping Willow and put into play engage with you. Put into play means Quick Strike will still fire, which means we used our metal bracers like a chump, so we will be stunned. I think I want to take it from the discard pile because I don't think we mind drawing into them from the deck. So he kind of feels like drawing 2 encounter cards. So the Creeping Willow now has Quick Strike. Unfortunately, we used our metal bracers. Maybe we should have kept 1 for a Creeping Willow play. That would have been pretty smart. So it says after Creeping Willow attacks and damages a character, stun that character. So we get exhaust Jessica Jones. We do have readies here, so we should be able to deal with the board, but I don't want to be exhausted. So I think we'll exhaust Jessica Jones. She'll take 1. And stunned. We don't care if she's stunned. Whew. Could place it 2 resources to get rid of the head of steam is a good opportunity. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were only dealt 2 damage. I mean, yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we were meant to pay 2. We saw the next card, but that was a reasonable time to spend 2 resources because you're right. We defended and we mitigated the damage from 6 down to 2, so we'd spend 2. Otherwise, slipping the helmet is 3. The thing is, if we're jumping down, we should have paid 2 there. I think you're right. We should have played 2 there. It enters play. Each side scheme enters play with an amount of threat equal to the card's starting threat value. I would say it resets by the rules. Notably says it doesn't count as re-entering play, so I think picking it up and putting it down and more re-trigger any reveal effects. Yeah, which matters for like encounter cards. But I think of it as Surge, it won't fire Surge again. Interesting though. Okay. Okay, so we can deal with this. We can definitely deal with this. This looks bad, and that was a bad tempo turn because we decked out. Our hand is not amazing, and now the taunt is a bit like sketchy for obvious reasons. Not a lot of our cards in our hand are good. Well, we could do actually Harlem's Hero into Fogwells into Taunt and actually get a bunch of readies, which probably is the play. And I think we're too close to the finish line to actually want to spend 2 resources to cancel 1 encounter card. Because like we're 2 turns away from winning if you ask me. So I'm going to throw out the build support to play. Well, hold on. Hope Summers is going to attack for 3 into Creeping Willow, I guess. And then we're going to play Harlem's Hero. So it's only giving us 1 toughness and we can ready 1 character. I think we might as well ready Hope. So this is a jump down angle if we've ever seen one. Hope will attack for 3 into Black Tom Cassidy. Can take damage now because there's no Creeping Willows in play. Okay. So we could recover for more toughnesses. We're kind of incentivized to spend this toughness with the taunt because if we jump down, we'll get it back. So I'm going to throw out the med team and we're going to play Fogwell's Gym. Card's probably a bit better in multiplayer because there's not too many ways you can do this unless your allies really work with this well. But after a defender loses a tough status ready, which means we can force a ready here by playing taunt. So we're going to do mitigated for taunt, then just get attacked. Again, every time we get attacked, we draw a bunch of cards. We do take 1 damage, but Juggernaut takes more damage. Like with Retaliate, this thing is so absurdly good. So Juggy's attacking us for 5. 6, 7, 8. Don't care. We lose a toughness. We take 1 damage. We ready ourselves. Juggernaut takes 2, and then we draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I mean, this could be a 2 toughen up angle. This could be a toughen up angle, and we just sit in alter ego. Notably, Black Tom Cassidy's schemes, we also don't care. We could either knock him out for 3, or we could just go down and recover. I mean, we could go down and recover and just say, I don't care. I think we might just jump down and don't care. Luke would be vulnerable to piercing and alter ego. Can Juggernaut get piercing? Oh, you're right. We are vulnerable to piercing and alter ego. I don't think Juggernaut gets piercing. He is, like, by design, the bluntest character in the Marvel canon. I don't think he can do piercing. But yeah, we are weak to piercing and alter ego. You can play Mitigate Threat and not pay the cost, skip the encounter for 1 phase. Oh yeah, you're right. But then we functionally pay a card for an encounter card, which is a good trade. It's actually a good trade. Yeah, I don't think I realized that. Mitigated Threat does work because it fires at the end of the round. So even if we strap it onto this, we can cancel 1 encounter card for a single resource, which looking at this hand, yeah, it seems good actually. Seems pretty good. So we made a mistake, but I don't think it's going to cost us. I think we can let Black Tom Cassidy scheme. I think I'd rather recover because it's fun. Yeah, we have 1 exactly extra card, so we could have done it better. So let me just retcon that because there's no way we're going to play ready for a fight. So we should have seen that coming because this card is totally useless. So we're just going to jump down. We're just going to take a bit of a break. We're going to spend 2 resources on the second copy of Toughen Up, which is very importantly not unique. Yeah, this is a weird scenario in which like jumping down to alter ego, and I don't think I considered this morning when I decided the matchup. It was actually that good for us. So we're going to recover for 5 because of symbiote, and then we'll actually first we'll do the Bernstein process, which we have to remember that the Bernstein process. So we have to do this first to get 2 toughnesses, and then when we recover, both toughen ups fire, and then we end up starting with 4 toughnesses next turn. Juggernaut must have piercing and Colossus's nemesis then. Oh, I think you're right. That's weird, isn't it? Juggernaut Nemesis has, if the attack is overkill and piercing, maybe it's on the side scheme, but I don't know what it is. But I'm assuming, yeah, parts of his kit care about piercing. So we have to watch out for like Lady Deathstrike and stuff like that. And then we'll just trap a mitigated threat onto a symbiote suit. So until the end of the round, this loses its icon. If we look at our hand and we don't have a way to spend 7 resources, which would be surprising, we can just get rid of this and we'll pass. Again, we could have knocked out Black Tom Cassidy, but this seems way cooler. Draw 6 + 1. 1. Med team, a bit too late on this one. 2. Ready for fight, not useful in this matchup. Stand with me. I mean, that does remove a lot of threat if this doesn't clear. Hellcat. Love this with a Harlem's Hero, but I think we've seen 1 so far. 5. Dauntless is Retaliate. Sweet Christmas is really good here. Probably will win the game. 7th card is Quinn Carrier. I think we'll just take another encounter card. Or just, sorry, clear this. Villain schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this actually cracks. So the villain's going to attack us. Notably, this is a hero's response, so we can't fire Power Man. So that's the only bad thing. But this hits 8, so it clears. Juggernaut is going to get 1 more counter. So he's attacking for 6 overkill. Surprisingly, we don't care. He attacks each player in player order. We have to watch out. We do have to clear the helmet, though. So, because he has Retaliate, too. So he's going to attack us. So he's attacking for 6, 7. Take 1 indirect damage. we have to take damage. Take. Not deal, take. I mean, I don't think we need Jessica anymore. I'm sorry, Jessica. You were worth not even a toughness. Technically, keeping her around is better because she does 2 damage, but I just want to preserve her toughnesses. We take a toughness. We don't have to lose health because that's on our hero side, and we can do retaliate 2 to the villain. Now, Black Tom Cassidy is going to scheme for 1 and a villainous. He schemes for 2. Give Juggernaut a tough status card. Fair. And we only draw 1 encounter card because the symbiote suit is blank. We draw Breakthrough. I think this adds threat, right? Oh, there's 2 cards called Breakthrough now. Ooh, sometimes that sneaks up on you. This is the Breakthrough. When revealed, take damage either to Juggernaut's attack or discard the highest cost upgrade or support you control. So this would eat our symbiote suit, which feels bad. So we're just going to take 6 damage, which eats a toughness. So a lot of that work was for nothing. I thought there was an attachment that gives villain Juggy piercing. I don't know if we've seen one. It's definitely not on the bottom of the deck, so maybe we missed it. But I'm surprised that the guy who is like shaped like a bowling ball would have piercing. Okay, we always bursting. Gives us a toughness. So we're at 3. We could choose to recover, and we recover, we get 2 toughnesses because we're allowed to recover. If we get 2 toughnesses, Sweet Christmas gets better. Stand With Me doesn't really move anything. This would actually be a really good hand to have a cruising for a bruising because it adds like an extra 7 damage or something like that. We don't even have 3 resources of the same color. I mean, we do if we want to get rid of the thing, but it's yellow, yellow, yellow. Sucks. Oh, and we'll discard this, I think. I guess we should look at our hand and figure out if we're discarding it or not. I mean, it's not a great hand. We can use Hellcat to ping the toughness. That's fine. Then we can play Sweet Christmas. Then we can attack for 3. But the problem is then we can't clear the helmet. So we're going to have huge retaliate. Punch you so hard you can't reset. Resist type piercing. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Punch so hard that toughness doesn't work. Not sharp, but hard. I mean, I think we have to get rid of the helmet just because retaliate's bad. So I think we don't do a Sweet Christmas this turn, which does emotionally hurt. Yeah, it does hurt. Which means we probably, I mean, we probably still recover for 2 toughnesses. It's 2 toughnesses. It's like, no, it's not good though. We can't get attacked. We have no way to lose a toughness. So we lose the triggers on these 2, which sucks. Like we really needed a taunt in this hand because taunt like draws us a card, draws us 3 cards, does retaliate 2, hits the toughness, Fogwell's Gym readies us. Like it's very, very good. So I think we pay for this. I think we'll just throw this out and we'll pay for mitigated threat. So when the round ends, so after everything that's happened right before your turn starts, which is the best window for this to happen, you can choose to discard a card, which will still 6 hand size will be fine. Okay, so I don't think we need recover. I think we'll win sooner than that. We'll flip up. We're going to spend 1, 2, 3 energy resources to flip the helmet. So when you flip the helmet, you spend 3. He now takes more damage from mentals. He loses all his counters, which means he has retaliate 0. He no longer has overkill nor stalwart. But if he schemes, this comes back. Cool. We'll play cheap Hellcat. Oh, it's either Hellcat or Stand With Me. I think it's Hellcat. I think we messed this up. Yeah, we won't pay for this. Yeah, we won't pay for it. So we'll play Hellcat for 1. I don't really like this card. The zero cost ally is good. Hellcat will just attack for 2 into the toughness. Then we'll spend 2 for Stand With Me, which just gives us toughnesses, which we want. So we'll give our 4th toughness, and then we'll remove 4th right from the main. That's all that does. We will attack for 3 into Black Tom Cassidy for 3 damage. And then Hope Summers will attack for 3, but because of the text of Juggernaut's helmet, Juggernaut takes 4. We'll pass. End of the phase. Hellcat leaves us. That's it. 11 damage means we have 3, 7, 8, 9. We should have lethal here. We just need to draw 1 damage card. I mean, glad that we didn't start with Hulk. He attacked us a lot, so Hulk would have been huge by now, but like the symbiote suit has paid out. Taunt is really good. That's 2 more damage and card draw. 5, okay, a lot of resources. And we get a 6th card. It's Cruisin', which only works on minions. Goes to 1. Juggernaut's attacking us for 4 and a card. No overkill. We'll just take it. 5, give Juggernaut a tough stats card. That's fine. So he gets it on the boost. We take 1 damage because of the bleeding. We draw a card because of Power Man. Retaliate would happen first. Takes the toughness. That's all our triggers. 2 encounter cards because of symbiote. Oh, we decked out. Have to shuffle this first. If you attack Jug before removing Retaliate, you could trigger Power Man and Fogwells. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forget that we can use the Retaliate. Let alone we can make it Retaliate. I guess Retaliate 2 versus 1 doesn't matter. I mean, I think it was worth it because we could attack once, dodged, taken the Retaliate, then attacked again and dodged Retaliate 2 with Metal Bracer. So I think we lost like 6 damage that turn cycle. I keep forgetting that we can use these to deal with Retaliate. And actually, we can use them to use Retaliate to ready and to draw cards. It was definitely worth it. And then we could have played for the symbiote suit and not drawn a second encounter card. That's a very good line. I like that a lot. Your health is insanely high. I mean, yeah. And this is a deck with the healing card in it, which I don't think should be in the deck. But yeah, 17 health means we're going to be over health for Toughen Up. Symbiote suit gives us plus 10. It's a lot. Cyterax, Exemplar. And that's like the weird thing. It's like, why do you have all these toughnesses, but then also have 20 health? Make it make sense. So it gains Insight 1 because we're playing on Expert. If Juggernaut exposes in play, flip it and place a momentum counter. Otherwise, place threat on equal to Juggernaut's attack. So he has Retaliate once more. We should have cleared that while we could have, I think. So he flips. He puts a counter. It's okay. We can deal with Retaliate. So he's attacking for 5. Cool card. Creeping Willow. Okay, this is also fine. So it has Quick Strike. It attacks for 1. We'll cancel that damage. So we don't take the damage, which is the trigger of being stunned. And it takes Retaliate 2. In theory, this deck can have Retaliate 3 if we played our Unflappable. Or sorry, Dauntless, I think it's called. And it's back to us. We should have lethal here. We should have lethal. So we're going to attack for 3 into the villain. We would take Retaliate 1. We'll cancel the Retaliate 1 because we have a way to fire Fogwell's Gym. Then we'll just go ahead and do... Oh, Cruising actually works. Yeah, interesting. So what's the best on-tempo play? I don't think it's Hulk. She-Hulk is also good because She-Hulk with Fogwell's Gym is really good because she comes down and on this turn that she comes down, she attacks for 4. It's a bit better than Hulk. But I think we do play Taunt here. This adds a bit of damage. This is a 2 damage card. We only need 8 damage. This can't be that hard. So I think we'll just do, I mean, we have too many doubles to want to play whatever. We'll just do Taunt. I mean, we have so many doubles. It's actually likely we just say we're not playing Hulk at this point. Guard on Creeping Willow? Oh, piss. Yeah, Guard on Creeping Willow, you're right. Okay, hold on. Not the first time we've done that. I need a card like this. I need to keep it. So the villain's on 11. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do the better play. We're going to put Cruising for a Breezing on the Creeping Willow. This is better because it keeps our Metal Bracers. So then we're going to attack the Creeping Willow. We do 5 to it. It takes 1. We do 4 to the villain, and we don't have to worry about Retaliate because of the text. It's overkill damage. Good catch. The whole chat. I mean, I'm glad that chat's paying more attention than I am sometimes. We'll play Taunt now, so we're going to get attacked. We've drawn off Power Man, but we'll ready off Fogwell. So Juggernaut's attacking us for 5. 6, you are stunned. Bad boost there, actually. So we take no damage. Well, more accurately, we take 1 damage. Villain takes 2 off of Retaliate. We ready ourselves with Fogwells because we lost a toughness, and then we draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we have a Harlem's Hero. That's sick. We have so much damage this turn. Let's just damage max. We'll do 1, 2, 3 for Nick Fury. Nick Fury with a Harlem's Hero is so good. We have so much damage this turn. So Nick enters play. We draw 3. 1. Knuckle Sandwich is sick. 2, 3. We probably should taunt again. Every time we play a taunt, we do 2 damage, draw 3 cards. Like, it's just good. It's genuinely very good. So I think we're going to just keep doing it. The thing is, like, you have to do the math here. It's not super intuitive to me from a distance. Because if we play taunt, we lose a toughness. We do 2 damage and we draw 3 cards. But we have 1 less toughness for Harlem's Hero. And Harlem's Hero can ready the whole board. We're going to be drawing the bottom of our deck. The bottom of our deck has, like, no functional damage. So I don't think we're going to play the taunt. But you could see the taunt being good. It just gives you an extra resource. And does 2 retaliate damage. It does cost you a toughness, which does matter. You can deal with Nick 4, that's your damage here. I mean, we have way more than enough damage. We don't have to do Nick's text. Like, we could have done Nick for 4 and end the game. I just want to see how much damage we could do. So, yeah, I don't think we're just going to keep it simple. We'll play the Knuckle Sandwich just to clear the stun. Which, I mean, we could have decked for 3. We will attack the 3 into the villain. Villain takes 3. We'll prevent the retaliate. Nick will attack the villain for 2. The villain is dead. We take retaliate. Yeah, this is fine. We'll spend 4 for She-Hulk. When She-Hulk enters play, she gives her a toughness and us a toughness. She-Hulk attacks for 2. She loses the toughness and then takes retaliate. She loses the toughness to retaliate and then takes consequential 2, because retaliate happens first, consequential happens last. So the villain takes 3 because she has a mental. Oh, Nick also has a mental, so the villain takes 1 more off of that. Oh no, we're flipped. Never mind. So the villain is going to heal 2 off of that. Then we'll attack for Hope. Hope will do only 3 to the villain. Then we'll play a Harlem's Hero. So maybe we could have played 1 taunt there. We get a toughness, we ready 4 characters. She-Hulk will attack for 2. Nick Fury will attack for 2. We'll attack for 3. Juggernaut's like very dead. Very, very dead. And because he's dead, retaliate doesn't work on Hope, huh? My favorite victory was spamming Knuckle Sandwich 4x. I'm not convinced it's that good. And the thing is, like, trading a toughness for 3 damage is like not an amazing trade. It's really good if you haven't fired Power Man or Fogwell's Gem, but it's hard to imagine you haven't fired Power Man. It's a card that I thought was so cool, and then I played it. I'm like, wait, this is kind of clumsy. But yeah, on the turns where like this might have been one of those turns where it was like more damage than anything else. We could just done Knuckle Sandwich, Knuckle Sandwich, Knuckle Sandwich, Knuckle Sandwich, and just not care because the toughnesses don't matter on the last turn. That is cool, and I think we could have considered that turn. Yeah, that is again Luke Cage. He doesn't die, and that's huge in certain scenarios. Like I don't know how we lose to Juggernaut. Alter Ego can't die. In fact, sometimes stronger. The question is whether there's piercing on a boost card or an upgrade. And I don't think there's any more upgrades for Juggernaut besides Head of Steam. So I'm guessing the Juggernaut doesn't have piercing. I don't think he has piercing in the set. So you could go out of the way to make it scary, like add Death Strike and maybe some boost cards that get piercing. At least in Alter Ego, that's scary. But also we had 16 health left. It's not like if we got attacked once with Juggernaut with piercing, it'd be bad. Well, technically, if we get attacked with piercing in Alter Ego, we do lose all our toughnesses. That is a problem. That text is only alive on the hero side. But like, yeah, he's kind of wild. I don't think any of his cards are super flashy, which is like maybe the one downside compared to some of the other heroes this wave that are full of very flashy cards. He just has like some very strong fundamentals cards, like draw a card every turn is obviously good, but it's not like a card you'd write home about. Same with the Metal Bracers. It's maybe his most interesting card actually in a lot of ways. And it's cool to see a card this nuanced that works so well to like interact with the downside inherently of toughnesses. Like that's a really clever design. I like that a lot. We should talk about Toughen Up. Like Toughen Up, again, I don't think in solo play on expert difficulty is unfortunately worth the slot. Again, if this was Hidden Base, we fired this card, one of them twice, one of them once. If we had Hidden Base would have fired twice. That being said, we wouldn't have to recover, which, I mean, we do recover for 5, but we had 20 health and 4 toughnesses. So like recovering is, particularly with Symbiote Suit giving you 10 extra health, is a waste of an activation. So it is very expensive to actually get these toughnesses. We did get lucky that one of the recovers coincided with an internal injury. So it was actually like a very good recovery because internal injury will kill you. But yeah, I think ultimately like this card is cute, but at least on the sort of environment I played, probably shouldn't be in the deck, which sucks. I agree, Toughen Up isn't worth a slot. Yeah, I don't think it's worth a slot. Metaphor, how's it going? I think there's a chance that if somebody plays like some of the cards that allow you to recover, I think the Doctor in Protection can allow you to recover, but maybe she just says recover equal to recovery. I don't think she makes you do a basic, and Toughen Up requires you to do the basic action. So yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky. Knuckle Sandwich is such an awkward card. I'm certain there's a line of interaction in multiplayer I haven't considered. I mean, it's the thing that if you have, you know, a resource generator in aggression that plays for an attack event, in aggression, if you can make your attack events do more, but the big thing is if you have 14 toughnesses, Knuckle Sandwich can do a lot of damage. The only thing is you're kind of limited by your resource output. So like there is a cap to it. But I could see getting in multiplayer with 7 toughnesses the last turn and you have like 6 cards in hand and a research generator. You just do like, you know, a 24 damage hand or whatever it is. Toughen Up plus Joys of Life? Maybe, yeah. Maybe I could see that. I could see that. Maybe you want to recover a bit more, but yeah, it's expensive. It's just like kind of hard. I like including the Protection Iron Fist ally to use the team up card. Yeah, I do think the Protection Iron Fist ally I like a lot more than the leadership one, at least the way that I play. But the issue with Iron Fist is, and maybe this is not an issue, sorry, the other Iron Fist, is the other Iron Fist is really good. Like he's just a good ally, but he stuns the villain. We don't want the villain to be stunned all the time because we have Retaliate 2 and we have, you know, like Power Man. That being said, if the villain is stunned, it's usually not the end of the world. It's not like we lose all our value because we have what's it called, taunts. But I didn't feel good adding a lot of stun to this deck because inherently this deck has Retaliate 3 and it has toughnesses, of course, and then on top of it has Hulk. So that is the thing that I sometimes run into with Luke Cage, is like a lot of the stuff that he does doesn't line up well with protection. Because protection about stunning, okay, I mean stun's still good, especially in multiplayer. It's way better in multiplayer. But then on top of it, a lot of his cards are about, you know, blocking and defending and protection. We don't do that. So like it's one of the cards that's like kind of there, but not exactly there. Build support into Quinn Carrier, we have it. We just didn't pull it. But build support into Quinn Carrier for sure. This was our Quinn Carrier this game. He's from the Doctor Strange pack, which is not so easy to find. Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, Nanico the cat. I don't usually make decisions on the decks we play based off of how hard things are to get, which probably is a bummer. Let me know if that's the case, and if you want to see something in a smaller format. But if you ask me in terms of the Marvel Champions format stuff, they're currently not designing around it. This is the last wave that was designed without formats in mind. The next wave will. So maybe we'll see some staples being reprinted. All right, we're going to go off and do Ronan. But first, Nanico the cat has joined us to read an article, which I haven't read this, so I don't exactly know what's going on. There's a chance you have. If that's the case, apologies. This won't take too long. But an article was dropped on, I think, last Thursday about the upcoming Defender Elektra, a character I don't know much about. I fell asleep through I think, I want to say Jennifer Garner, is that right? But there was a film when I was a teenager. I fell asleep during it. I woke up in the credits and I was like, this is not a good film. Don't remember any of it. But her kit looks really cool. I looked at some of the cards, but I haven't been able to see everything. So far, people in chat have been like super hyped from Elektra, even to the way that, like, to go out of the way to say that they're less excited for Luke and Jesse, which is absurd. These characters are really interesting. I like that you keep it legacy for most stuff. Yeah, I think this game is so much more interesting with a bigger card pool. Most games are. And the cool thing about this game is that the levers you have to increase the difficulty if the game is too easy because your card pool is too big, which usually does increase your power level. We can't just do it. Like start playing on heroic. I don't know. It's cool. Interesting interaction I recently learned. If a green Iron Fist attacks a vulnerable minion, he discards it before the attack hits, so his activation is canceled and he doesn't take consequential. No way. Is that the same with Psylocke? Wait, that's sick. You can cancel an activation? So when Psylocke attacks, remove a psionic counter. So if the enemy's confused, the attack doesn't. Do you have a receipt for that? Andy, that is so damn cool. Elektra and Falcon are basically married now. I'd rather you just play with what you want to play. Okay. I need to play Hidden Base more. Hello. Mela, how's it going? Yeah, we're not playing it today. We probably should be. It's a cool card. And it's weird to have two similar cards coming out that close together. I was going to say you can't see an Nanico the cat, but careful. There's a furry caterpillar over there. All right. This is a bit small. I am Elektra Nachos. I am Elektra Nachos. Not even the stars are safe in the sky. How heavy is her Greek accent when she talks? With innate talents that made her a martial arts prodigy, Elektra Nachos was recruited by the Hand at a young age and trained in the ways of stealth and assassination. Years later, after finally escaping a long and tumultuous period as an agent of the Hand, Elektra was reborn as a hero. I don't know a lot about the Hand. I think the Hand showed up in the last Spider-Man film. Haven't seen it yet. The Hand is a big part of the Shadow Realm pack, whatever it's called. They are ninjas that wear red. That's the most I got. I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're mystical. I don't know where they come from. But the Hand, she dresses like she's a Hand assassin. Now she uses her deadly skills to protect the people and places that she loves. FFG is happy to announce the Elektra Hero Pack. I do want to say that what she did, and also for Iron Fist, was a bit spoiled because there was a retailer that posted a blurb on their online store that had the like sort of synopsis of how their packs work. So we knew that she would have like a ninja deck, something like that. And you do know a bit more about Iron Fist if you care about that. If you want to hear spoilers, let me know. Otherwise, I will keep that spoiled. I'm assuming we're going to get the next article this week. A deadly martial artist and member of the Defenders, Elektra stealths into the scene with this expansion pack, which introduces her as a new playable hero alongside the 15 signature cards. Paired with a pre-built aggression deck to help her through the villain's force, you'll be able to wield Elektra's lethal skills from the moment you open the box. As the game's first hero with the villainous keyword, and we know that was coming because they changed how the rules work at the top of the wave, on her own side deck of ninja encounter cards, Elektra can give the villains a taste of their own medicine in ways no hero has done before. This says open the box and all that sort of stuff. What did they used to say when things used to come in plastic packaging? They couldn't use that terminology. Now, like the copy person's like, yeah, let's go boxes. I find that very funny. The Hand, sometimes demonic undead ninjas. Ah, the demons. I want to know Iron Fist spoilers? Okay. For those who don't, maybe earmuffs for 15 seconds. It's going to be very short. I'll put my hand down when we're out of spoilers. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Apparently when you play cards, you generate some sort of chi counters. So you're kind of charging up, and then you're going to have cards that either get powerful or only playable by spending chi counters. We know it's a protection deck, which I think we knew that before, but basically you're generating this extra resource that you can spend to do like combo-esque stuff. I think they're called chi counters. That's it. The Amplify symbol and Dance with the Devil makes more sense now. Yes, JC, how's it going? We could definitely tell that she is going to have Villainous for sure. And that's why the Amplify is actually good for her. It's funny, I like the Legacy format better in Marvel, but the current format better in Arkham. Arkham Legacy just feels like a broken mess, and playing higher difficulties just don't pull. Tony, I would say I nearly 100% agree with you. The only reason why I don't 100% agree with you is because I find the modern Legacy card pool too small in Arkham. If it was slightly bigger, I would be way with you. I do think I want to play Legacy when I play higher difficulty, and I'm excited to play Children of Blood on higher difficulty because it doesn't just seem like bad gets worse. I think he has Assault. Yeah, maybe. Where did you see the Iron Fist thing? I want all spoilers. I'm sure I'm one in the small group. I'm not going to be able to pull it up now because it's going to take a while, but someone on Reddit posted, it was, I forget where the store was from. If you can ping me after, maybe I can find it. But it was on Reddit. There was like a post that'd be like, oh, Elektra spoilers. And in there was spoilers on the same storefront. All right, we have cards though. Ninja Training. Through her dark past with the hand has caused many problems for both herself and others. Elektra is not about to let the lessons she learned during that time go to waste. This is Elektra. From the rip, she seems pretty standard. 3 recovery, 6 hand size to 5 hand size, 9 hit points, so she's not super tanky. Right off the bat, Elektra Nachos begins the game with a special ninja side deck. Unlike past heroes with side decks, this ninja deck is full of encounter deck cards rather than player cards, and Elektra shuffles one of them into the counter deck each time she flips to hero form. This plays into the villainous keyword on Elektra's hero side, which has her take a boost card from the counter deck every time she uses a basic power, whether it's thwarting, attacking, or defending, not from recovering. This might seem risky at first, since many villains have some nasty boost effects on the card, but thanks to Elektra's Killer Instinct ability, you can choose to cancel a printed boost ability on her boost card. Oh, that's cool. If you do, you'll grant them an additional boost icon for some extra value. Okay, so lost my mouse. It's here. So this is Elektra. So Elektra begins the game with a ninja deck. I said this, and I need to make a post on Discord somewhere, but they did rule that for anybody who starts with the deck is shuffled during setup, step X or whatever. So you actually do shuffle the deck before you mulligan. That actually matters for things like Daredevil that can see the sense deck before you do your mulligan. It also does technically matter for like, it was Doctor Strange. I don't think it matters for her because her deck is face down, but do keep that in mind. That's a ruling that they ruled through the internet. Ninja Training, interrupt. When you change to hero form, shuffle the top card of the ninja deck into the counter deck. I don't know how big the ninja deck is, but that's going to make the encounter deck, I'm assuming, just straight better for you, which is kind of cool. This is her hero form, Villainous, so does give you reminder text. When this character uses a basic power, give it a boost card, and I think you're really going to need that considering her stats suck. That is the lowest stat line we've ever seen on a character from Marvel Champions. Killer Instinct, interrupt. When a boost card is given to Elektra is turned face up, you can cancel his boost ability and then give it an additional icon. That's sick. You can even use this on your cards, but I'm assuming her ninja cards have really good boost icons, which is great. RG page 13 under consequential damage, second bullet point. Oh, sick, Andy. Nice receipt. That's really cool. Really, really cool. So I don't know. I'm assuming she's going to have a lot of ways to like mitigate variance, but like playing a defense deck and not knowing if you're defending for 1 versus like 5 or 4 is pretty frightening. So let's see what she has in her deck to make her like do something. Imagine thwarting for 0 and it turns out to be actually 0. That's so funny. And then inherently amplify icons are genuinely good for you as much as you have to worry about the villain as well. In a similar vein of turning the villains and counter decks against them, Elektra's ninja deck is full of treacheries that only benefit her and provide no use to the enemy. They tried to do this a long time ago where there's cards you can shuffle into the counter deck, like the Gardener, I think. These were just not good. They did this not super successfully in Lord of the Rings LCG as well. They just had a lot of downsides, whereas like these cards had no boost effects. They were expensive. You were not guaranteed to draw them, especially as solo play. And so all of these things would really need to have these cards be way cheaper and have a boost effect that says like shuffle it back into the deck or reveal it. There's one of each of these for each cosmic entity from different aspects, and these are not good cards. I don't even know the text or the names of them because that's how little they get played. It's such a fun idea. The one time it's kind of landed is when they shuffled in, what's his name, Crossfire or something? Not Crossfire. The guy with the star tattoo from X-Men. And that was like, okay. But it's like such a compelling thing to make the encounter deck good for you. There's an Arkham Horror card that looks at the top 10 cards of the deck, if there's at least 10 cards, and shuffles it in there. And I think that's way better text because you're guaranteed to draw that card in the next 2 to 3 turns, which feels way better than shuffling in here and then randomly losing it to a boost. As much as 0 boost is kind of good, I wouldn't pay 3 resources for a 0 boost. Long shot, thank you, not quick shot, yeah. Her stats are basically 1/2/2 with potential upside. They're not necessarily 1/2/2 because you can only give it, because, okay, if I'm not mistaken, Elektra's text says then. So you can't force the extra icon. Oh my god, white. Where is my mouse? I've totally lost my mouse. I'm just going to start clicking. Wait, did my mouse battery die? No, my mouse battery died. No, I'm not. I just can't figure it out. So if I'm not mistaken, her text says it says when a boost card given to Elektra's turn face up cancels boost icon, then give it a boost card, which means if it doesn't have a proper boost ability, you cannot cancel it. So you can't choose to give her a flat 1 on everything. At least that's my read. Then is a conditional clause. If it just had 2 different sentences, you could do it, but you can't choose to do this unless it has a boost card, and certain sets have like 0 boost cards. It depends on the encounter set. So like in Purple Man, I think has boost cards on everything, so that's like a good start. But then there's a bunch of sets that have nothing. Okay, her Killer Instinct ability is optional. Yeah, okay. Her Ninja Stars lets her draw 2 cards when boosting her powers, while Ninja Strike boosts the strength of those powers themselves. Finally, Ninja Vanish gives Elektra a free tough status card for her efforts, giving her an extra mileage of her low hit point value. So they're not going to show us all 6 of the Ninja cards. I'm assuming they're unique. So they all seem to have Surge, is my guess. So when you draw them from the counter deck, something good happens, but then also you just draw another encounter card. So like that's fine. When revealed, give the card to Elektra as a face down boost card. So that's just benefit. And then you'll know you have this boost icon. You can choose to cancel your own card. I don't think you would for 1 icon, but the boost says if Elektra is using a basic power, draw 2 cards and shovel this card into the ninja deck. Otherwise, give this card to Elektra as a face down boost card. Cool. So this means that the villain draws it, it just goes to you and they don't actually get any icons, which is already pretty good. But no matter what, you're just guaranteed card advantage. Draw 2 cards and shuffle this card into the deck. I mean, that's pretty sick. Have they said anything about Amplify icons in play? What would they have to say about them? They should work, right? Like I have Amplify, I think hits every boost card, so it does hit yours as much as it hits your opponents, which is like the reason why Dance with the Devil is printed, because Amplify will work for Elektra's favor. Second one, Ninja Strike Surge. When revealed, give this Elektra as a face down boost card. So I'm assuming they all have the same tact, which is great. If Elektra is using a basic power, she gets +3 to that power. So imagine it has 3 boosts. And then you shuffle this card into the ninja deck. So out of play. Otherwise, give this Elektra as a face down boost card. So this is just the 3 boost icons, which is not bad. It's a 0 for 3, I guess. But the fact that these boost icons are inconsistent is going to be a pretty big downside. I do think her kit is going to care about like defeating exactly by, which is going to not be easy when her whole kit is about who knows what's going to happen. That's a cool thing though, is like if you're attacking a thing and you only need to do like 2 damage and you draw this boost, you can just cancel the boost ability to give it +1, and then you're attacking for like 2 as opposed to like attacking for 4, which would be an issue for you. So that's like kind of cool as much as you're canceling a lot of the text. Then finally, Ninja Vanish. If Elektra is using a basic power, give her a tough status card and shovel this into the ninja deck. I mean, that's not bad. Imagine defending and getting the toughness and losing it immediately feels bad. Otherwise, give this Elektra as a boost card. So they're good abilities. I'm imagining you want some more than others. The thing is you can't pick them. And I'm assuming the ninja deck is face down, so you don't know what you shuffled into the deck. I think this is kind of giving me cryo kinetic perception like vibes, whatever this card is called, where who knows what's going to happen. Sometimes you get the jackpot and the thing is sick. Sometimes it won't work. But the fact that she's playing with unknown information is going to make her, I'm guessing, fun. Like just genuinely fun, where every once in a while you roll the dice and hope for the best outcome you can get. You know, like, oh, all 6 ninja cards are in there, so this should be good. With Ninja Vanish, she can just get a tough in the middle of a villain attack. If she's attacking, yes. If she's defending, she can just get the tough status. The problem is the tough status, if she gets a tough status, doesn't have a lot of boost icons. So you're likely to lose the tough status right away. And if you exhaust it to defend, you kind of wasted your exhaust. I mean, it is what it is. Oh, Nana's walking through. Bye, little friend. All right, so they're not going to show us all of them, but no surprise. In the similar vein, wait, did we miss something? No, in the similar vein of telling the villain to no, yeah, we read that. The rest of Elektra's kit continues to build on her encounter deck. Wait, do the ninja cards have icons? No, they don't have icons, do they? Wait, where are the ninja cards? I guess they're just not here. Oh, because they're encounter cards. Of course, they don't have icons. Yeah. The rest of Elektra's kit continues to build on her encounter deck focused playstyle. Her size strike can help her get an additional ninja cards into the counter deck based on the number of Elektra size you control. As you'd expect, she has 2 in her deck. Combine that with her events like Killer Blow and Move Unseen, you can get the majority of the ninja deck mixed in with the counter deck in relatively little time. Elektra's partner, Daredevil, can set up the next basic power by putting the exact encounter card you want on top of the deck. Whoa. And Acrobatic Prowess can ready Elektra after using that power and give her an extra boost for the next one. Elektra can also happily take advantage of Amplify icons, there you go, that the villain puts into play. And she can even supply her own with Dance with the Devil, which we already seen so far, or her History with the Hand, just to take care to not make things too dangerous for your own allies. Okay, so Side Strike. 1 cost, 3 damage, so you're 2 for 3, not amazing. For each side you control, shuffle the top card of the ninja deck into the counter deck. So the question is, how good is a ninja card to shuffle in? This card is probably not amazing with no size. With 1 side, probably good. With 2 sides, probably very good. But also you have to watch out if there's nothing in the ninja deck, this doesn't do anything. I also think because she's going to be doing exact defeat, the way that martial artists will be doing, it is nice to have a card that just does what it says on it, right? Because like doing a basic attack and not knowing if you're attacking for like 2 or 4 when you want to perfectly kill a 3 health minion, I do think just having a card like this that does like functional damage is probably going to be worth something in her kit. We have Elektra side. She has 2 of these, 2 cost restricted. Exhaust the side to deal 1 damage to an enemy and reduce the cost of the next acrobatic or attack event you play this phase by 1. That is cool. So it's not an attack, so it won't trigger stun or retaliate, which is cool. It'll ping toughnesses, which is great. And it's a resource generator. So when you have 2 of these down, you're doing 2 damage a turn, generating 2 resources. That looks really fun. It has to be from an acrobatic subtype, which is, I think the first time we've seen it would be in her pack, or just like attacks, which is like obviously everyone can and will play attack events. That's a really cool research generator, and she has 2 of them. That's kind of sick. Elektra seems like a nightmare to play versus Wrecking Crew. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend like a Wrecking Crew for a couple for reasons, but that's really funny. Yeah, that's really funny. She has Silk vibes. Yeah, she kind of has Silk vibes. The thing is, like, I don't think she's going to be as thinky as Silk. She's going to be a bit more like hope for the best. But I'm assuming she's going to have a bunch of cards that do mitigation for, unknown. Wait, these are not the same color, are they? I guess they are. Yeah, I guess they are. 2 cost Killer Blow. It's an attack. Deal up to 5 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, shuffle the top card of the ninja deck into the encounter deck. Cool. 2 for 5 is a 3 for 5, which is a bit under curve, but ideally you play this cheaper with your size, and maybe she has other upgrades. But the big text on this is up to, and that's like really silly text, but she's going to have cards that say, again, if you exactly defeat, the same way we've seen exactly thwart cards, and we'll eventually see exactly defend cards, which is why that text makes sense. So in relation to those cards, this is probably a lot better, but otherwise it's relatively straightforward, and shuffling ninja cards in is good. I wonder if she's going to run into a situation where she shuffles all 6 ninja cards on their bottom of like the huge Kang encounter deck, and then your cards don't do that much. But yeah, the smaller encounter decks like Juggernaut, not a big encounter deck. That's going to feel a bit more consistent, especially when the deck is also thin, where you're shuffling in ninja cards and now like 1 in every 4 cards is a ninja card as opposed to 1 in every 6. Move Unseen, 2 cost acrobatic, new trait, thwart. Remove up to, same thing, so you can play Justice, martial arts stuff from a scheme. Shuffle the top card of the ninja deck into counter deck, so it seems like she has a template. So 2 for 5 or 2 for 4. Usually the thwart does a bit less, but the shuffling seems to be relatively valuable in terms of the way they're costing these cards. And we have Matt Murdock, Daredevil, martial artist, 3/2/2/3, so reasonable stat line. After Daredevil uses a basic power, place a card from the encounter discard pile on top of the encounter deck. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, Falcon, huh? People want to play Falcon with Elektra. Okay, I was going to say that this is like a paralyzingly difficult trigger. Using a basic power and having to look through the whole discard pile is a lot. Now, notably, unless something messed up happens, your ninja cards shouldn't end up in the discard pile. I assume that if they get discarded, they go always to their ninja discard pile, but I don't know if you have a ninja discard pile. It doesn't seem like you do. You just have a ninja deck and that's it. So maybe if the card gets discarded by discarding cards at the top of the counter deck by like playing Master Plan, they will actually end up in the discard pile. I don't know how the rules work on that, but it seems like you don't have a ninja discard pile. They just go back into the ninja deck. They get shuffled in the way that they say. So that being said, you can still search the discard pile for a ninja card and put it on top, which is good because that beats your fail case of losing them to the discard pile. But otherwise, if you're searching this, you're probably just looking for like the most icons, or more accurately, the right icons, right? Because you're playing exact defeat. You're definitely going to want to get the icons that are like, if you're attacking something that needs to take 4 damage, you put a 3 boost on top. So that makes a lot of sense. Especially her size also give her a lot of control over that. Yeah, this looks really fun. There's like a sequencing issue to this, which I don't mean issue, like a sequencing puzzle, which is interesting. Like there's a chance you want to attack with, then set up with Daredevil to get a nice boost during, I don't know, the villain phase. You could play like leading blow stuff. I don't think you should, but you could. I mean, leading blow is really funny in this deck. Yeah, weird. Very, very cool. That's a very interesting way to have mitigation. Acrobatic Prowess. A 1-cost acrobatic skill event. Ready Elektra and give her a face down boost card. Ooh, I do like readies with extra text on it. I'm guessing reading with her might not be like, I can't tell how good it is because it's entirely dependent on how good your boost gets. The fact that she can activate somewhere between thwart 0 and thwart 3, like, kind of is weird. It's hard to tell how inconsistent that will feel. But this is a 1-cost and could be free with your size. Ready and get another face down boost card, which on average is giving you like +2 to something. Won't let you hit exact C's if you're going for exact damage super consistently because now there's 2 like variables you have to hope. But that's not bad. That's kind of cool. I like that. And then of course Dance with the Devil. We don't know what this is yet. No, maybe we do. Prerequisite, History with the Hand, 0 cost. Your prerequisite is you have to be in hero form. So we've seen text like that, hero form only, but that's a nicer way to write it, I guess. You get +1 hand size, but after you change form, you have to discard this card and it has an amplify. Art is cool. I like this. Amplify goes really hard for her. Obviously, it goes hard for the villain too. And there's certain villains like, you know, Electro or Bullseye in which, you know, trying to figure out how good your Amplify is going to be a bit frightening. But +1 hand size and Amplify is like almost all upside. Almost all upside. I can't tell how she doesn't die because she has 1 defense, 1 question mark defense, and she doesn't have a lot of health. And we haven't seen any defense traded cards. I'm assuming she has like a couple acrobatic defense events that they're not going to show in this article. So there's definitely upside to this, but the downside is you will die quickly. So I don't know. I mean, also the villain deck will just have more 0 boosts into them in the deck. So that also does build into your survivability a bit. So that's kind of cool too. Like if Bullseye attacks for like 2 because of the 0 boost, you're like, oh, that's kind of sick. Neat card. I like that. All right, we're looking at the aggression cards. So, speaking of dangerous, Elektra's pre-built aggression deck is full of cards that can spell doom for the villain and their minions. Similar to Elektra herself, Black Cat has her own villainous keyword and lets her punch and thwart above her weight. Though keep in mind that she can't cancel boost abilities like Elektra's can. Oh, that is scary. Fellow martial artist Shang-Chi can occasionally dish out 1 to 4 damage per round, either picking off weakened enemies or softening up for Elektra to finish the job off with chain reaction. Through cards like Combo Move and Killer Blow from her own kit, Elektra can exact defeat an enemy, meaning defeat it with the exact amount of health. We know how that works. And to take advantage of cards like Flow of Battle for a big boost in momentum. On the topic of momentum, Elektra can slow down the villain with a well-placed Nerve Strike, allowing you to go hunting shadows for the counter card that will best boost your next basic power. With such tools at her disposal, Elektra is bound to show the villain why her name is one to be feared. Black Cat seems pretty awful. I mean, okay, let's look at Black Cat. She's got a stellar review so far. She also has +3 HP upgrade with her aerial. Does she have a +3 upgrade? Did I miss it? Or have we not seen it yet? People are suspecting 2 copies of History with the Hand. I don't know if that'll be the case. I'd be surprised. It's unique now. It's not unique. Weird. What do you think of Elektra from the article? I mean, we're still reading through it, Phantom Flip, but so far she looks like a ton of fun. She looks fun. In terms of how strong, no idea. I don't know how she doesn't die, but like fun is like usually more important to me in Marvel Champions. I don't care if a hero's strong. I care if they're fun. This looks fun. 3 cost, hero for hire martial artist. I think this is the first non-defender ally we've seen in this wave. Citation needed. This might be the first non-defender ally. Okay. Villainous, that's it. So for this card to be good, quote unquote good, she needs to attack for 2, 4, 5, 6. Wow, she needs to attack for a lot, right? So Villainous is bad because if you trigger bad boost cards, they'll be bad boost cards. You can't cancel them. She does have a chance of triggering your ninja cards, so she might look a bit better in this deck than anything else. It's weird because she's like a blank slate, so it doesn't look like she has a home in most other like aggression decks that are not Elektra because you can't interact with a lot of that like kind of thing you're doing. But maybe if you're playing against a certain villain that has a lot of big boosts but not a lot of boost star icons, Black Cat gets a bit better. So like for instance, Raft Breakout has like so many 3 boosts on it, as opposed to like playing this in Purple Man. I would say is the Death Sentence because every single star boost is spawn that minion. You don't want to do that. But I think for Black Cat to be good, like she costs 4. On average, let's say we get 2 boosts. Let's say we have 1.5 boost, right? So she attacks for about 5 and then she gets knocked out. So that's about about 4 resources worth of value, but it's like not consistent. One of the bad things about Villainous is if you're attacking a minion hoping to defeat it because it has guard and then you fail, it's like really quite bad. But Elektra looks like she has a bunch of little ways to do a bit of ping damage, which can solve those issues. So weird. It's weird how just like flat Villainous on an ally is like not always good. Shang-Chi though, 4 cost, 3 health, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 1 consequential. Enters play with all of the 10 rings. As an action, remove a ring counter from here to deal damage to an enemy, limit twice per round. Holy. So he comes in with 10 damage. He needs to be around for 5 turns though, which is not lining up with his health. But that is like, even if he doesn't attack, he can ping for 2 damage every turn, which is kind of like he's a 2 health ally, except he dodges retaliate, he dodges guard, he dodges all stun. Wow. So like say that you get all the value from this, you get 10 damage, you attack twice, so you get 14 damage and a block. That is worth, that's worth a lot. That's worth like 7 resources. Shit. That's good. It's slow. But like, man, this is this thing the game doesn't always do that well, if you ask me. It's like, there's this sort of, you know, math that total nerds do where they look at the cost of a card and be like, oh, it costs this much, which means it should have this much output. But those are always linear scaling, right? So a 0 cost card should do 2 damage, but then a 3 cost card should do 6 damage. That's the way that people look at it. Or not 3 cost, 3 effective costs. You know what I mean, right? The thing is, like, if you ask me, that math should get steeper the more expensive a card goes, especially also if it's a low tempo card, because Shang-Chi cost 5, which for most characters is their whole hand. But he does give you more than 5 resources slowly, and it should be much more. So I like that this card is like very, very top heavy, but actually very much worth the cost, as long as you're not getting run down. Is this what you need in an aggression deck? I'm not 100% sure. It feels like your deck should already be good at it, but this is a card that's worth building around. Also not a defender, so she doesn't have a lot of defenders in her deck. Blackout is like a 3 cost gain of tough because I'm never activating her. Yeah, Villainous notably is not optional, which is funny. Med team with Spider-Woman or just play first aid? For who? Elektra, Scarlet Witch, and Star-Lord. Pull up to your pod. Espionage would have been great for Elektra if she was a spy. Oh, Espionage, just look at the top, right? When a surge keyword on a counter card. Oh, yeah. But you can only control spy characters, so it doesn't have to be you. I can't tell you how many spy aggression allies there are. There might be at least one. But yeah, if you play a spy, I guess like she does have a lot of surge in her kit. That's kind of cool. Ladies, how's it going? I think you can make it work if you put your mind to it. You just have to play a spy ally. Shang-Chi's really cool. That's a cool ally. I don't like expensive allies, but that's a good ally at that cost. Chain reaction. Sick art. 2 cost attack. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is defeated, deal 2 damage to a second enemy. If that enemy is defeated, deal 3 damage to a third. Oh man, I'm a huge fan of 1x1. Notably, 1x1 is 2 for 4 damage if it lines up. You do need 2 different enemies and you need to defeat one of them. But that usually does line up. Even in solo play, that lines up more often than not. You have to keep in mind too that the upcoming Shadowlands pack has a bunch of like hand minions that all have 2 to 3 health, and you're going to be spawning a lot of them. So like this looks a bit more reasonable than it is in that like set. There's certain sets that have no minions, but then there's certain sets that have a lot of minions, and you can play heroic and you can play a multiplayer with this is a bit more consistent. Notably, if you ever find an aggression card that can do more damage, make an attack event do more damage, this goes from doing, again, this is a 3 cost 7, as opposed, and then if you do another damage, it's a 3 cost 10, which is nonsense. A 3 cost 7 is already above rate. And I'm so happy to see this because it's not like Marvel Champions design is not super consistent about this. When we talk about the baseline efficiency of cards, Marvel Champions often does it where if you do hit like, you know, if you hit all the moving parts and you hit the combo card in the right ways, the card is on the baseline. And if you don't hit the combos, it's below the baseline, right? 1x1 is kind of like that. If you just play it to do 2 damage for 2 resources, it's bad. But when you play it to do 2 damage for 4 damage for 2 resources, it's actually on curve. Like that's where you want to be. And chain reaction is over curve, which like I like that so much more. I like it when the cards are under curve when you don't hit condition and then above curve when you hit condition. Because the problem is in this game, there's so many cards you can play in the full card pool that are just on curve that you don't really have to go out of the way to play the combo cards that are only on curve in certain situations, right? It's the idea is like, why compete with, you know, the staples when the staples are just as good all the time, as opposed to 1x1, which you can build into being on curve sometimes, or better if you can build into it a bit harder. I like that this card is not consistent, but when it's consistent, it's actually above curve. I'm so much bigger onto that design ethos. Gambit with chain reaction. Let's go. That'd be so easy to defeat 2 villains. Imagine you knock out 2 villains with 1 chain reaction. It would be pretty ambitious. I'm happy with the Shang-Chi. I was expecting a protection one, but I'm more than happy with the aggression one. It's so thematic. Tony, there's a big chance we'll see a protection Shang-Chi in Iron Fist. I'm assuming those characters know each other and it's a protection deck coming. I'd be surprised if we don't. Combo move, 1 cost attack, deal 2 damage among enemies in play, 3 damage instead of your identity as a martial artist trait. Cool. Does anybody know the name of the 0/1 cost card that came out in Daredevil that just says remove 1 threat, remove 1 threat? I think that card's really good. I thought we'd get the same thing in aggression. It looks like we're getting this instead. So it doesn't have like, you know, cheaper if you're a martial artist. It's just better if you have a martial artist. And it says among enemies, which means that this will be a really easy way to fire any of your things that say defeat exactly by. That is really key to this card. Otherwise, this is a 2 for 3, which is not amazing, but it's a 2 for split 3, which is really quite good. Know your enemy, is that the one? Yeah, know your enemy is really good, particularly if you play it for free, the discount. I actually think Know Your Enemy is a stellar card and is really good with cards that want you to defeat exactly by. I thought we'd get the exact same card in aggression. Technically, damage is usually underrate, or sorry, it's usually more bountiful for the same cost compared to thwart. But yeah, combo move seems to be our Know Your Enemy equivalent, which is cool that it's different. And it's a bit harder to play because it does cost the resource every time. It's so nice to play Know Your Enemy for 0. Flow of battle, prerequisite martial artist, so you have to be a martial artist, max 1 per player. After you attack and exactly defeat, so this is our first exactly defeat trigger, discard this card, draw 3 cards. Whoa, this doesn't attach to an enemy. I thought this attaches to an enemy. It doesn't. This is just like taunt. This is taunt for aggression. Sick, I'm in. You can play 3 of these. You probably want to. Unfortunately, it's max 1 per player. It has a mental icon, which sometimes matters for aggression, weirdly enough. But this is the sort of card that you have 1 big turn, 1 small turn. So far, this is the only payoff we've seen for doing exact damage, but it's a pretty good payoff. I'm assuming we're seeing more. But drawing cards is one of the best effects this game can have, for better or for worse, and that's a really good effect. Damn, that's good. I'm into it. I thought this attaches to an enemy, but no, you just put it on the table and say, I don't care, it'll fire eventually. Cool. It has to be you, mind you. It has to be your hero, which is the same as a lot of the Justice versions of these. And with Stick, you can make this a bit more consistent too. Yeah, Flow of Battle is awesome. This is like an important aggression card. Every once in a while, we get a card that is an important card, which means it can show up in every single list that can play it. Unfortunately, the martial arts prerequisite on Flow of Battle does obviously limit it. We did get Black Belt, which means it's not that hard to give martial artist to you if you want to. Is giving martial artist trait to anybody so they can play Flow of Battle, is it worth it? I would say maybe, honestly, particularly if your hero is good at triggering it, because the Flow of Battle is a strong card. But this is definitely one of the like sort of strong cards seemingly from this wave. Max 1 per player being attached to the new contingency card. I don't think you can. I think contingency can only take cards that attaches to minions. So it says you may play the upgrade tuck tiers of your hand. Choose one upgrade in your hand that can attach to a minion or side scheme. Yeah, you can't put it on contingency. Contingency is only for the subsection of cards that attach to things. This attaches to you, so you can't. I don't think there's any way to store this between turns. All this martial artist synergy is great as well because anyone can become a martial artist with a black belt. Yeah, I'm so happy the black belt is as generous as it is. It's just like, oh, you can get a black belt if you just play 1 martial artist or just play Stick. Like, you don't even have to play allies. Yeah, very cool. That's a good payoff. Nerve Strike. I'm assuming this stuns. 3 costs with star. Discount 1 for martial artist, so 2 cost. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, stun, or confuse that enemy. Woo! We don't have a lot of confuse in aggression, and it's a really good thing to have in aggression, because jumping down is hard. I think the only confused aggression cards that confuse the villain are maybe just Psylocke, and then there's a bunch of ways to confuse minions like Spider-Woman and stuff like that, or Spider-Girl, excuse me. 2 damage and a stun usually is worth about 3 resources, so this is on rate if you're a martial artist. And of course, it's an attack, which matters. Sucks to do this to a minion. In theory, 2 damage is what you want to do to most minions. Art's really fun too. That, if she's hitting the person in the back of the neck, I would not recommend that. That's going to kill a man. And then finally, Hunting Shadows. What is this? 0 cost event tactic. Search the top 8 cards of the encounter deck for a card and set it aside. Shuffle the encounter deck and put the set aside card on top of it. Whoa. Basic. That's a cool choice to make this a basic card. Is this good though? No. I don't want to play this. In Elektra, maybe you have to play this because finding a ninja card is like actually worth a lot, especially when the ninja boost is given to the villain. It searches the top 8, which for certain decks and certain points in the game, that's a bit better. I do not see wanting to play this outside of Elektra. Again, basically you get to choose your boost cards. So you could, I guess, play this and jump down. I guess right? Like you could make a 0 boost on top of the deck and then jump down to alter ego and not be scared. But the problem is you don't know the card behind it, and then the card behind it can be an advance. So jumping down is pretty hard. Shuffle and counter deck and set the side card on top of it. Yeah. Huh. If this drew a card, it'd obviously be really, really quite good. But spending 1 resource just to choose the boost is not great unless you're Elektra. Huge for counter deck people like Wanda or Falcon. I don't even think it's worth it in Wanda. Like Wanda gives you so many ways that you can just like change the boosts, that spending a card to like choose the encounter card is probably not worth the card if you ask me. Like obviously Wanda and Falcon care, but their kits have so many nice ways inherently to control the top of the deck anyways, that like I wouldn't want to play this in Falcon. Falcon has so many ways to control the top of the deck that spending an event that has no synergy with the rest of his kit, like inherent tech synergy, like it's not an aerial card is what I mean. I'd be surprised. Falcon likes to trying to find minions without milling too much. Do you want minions? The thing is, if it goes on top, like you're not spawning, it's a boost card, right? Like if you could do the top 2, this card would be really good, but it's only top 1. So unless you're decking out and you're drawing an extra encounter card, it's only the boost. And I would not spend one of my 5 cards in hand to control the boost. In Elektra, I think it's worth it because the ninja cards are so good because it's a 0 boost plus upside for you. And then also with it being set aside, you have an idea of when you're attacking what you're getting, which is probably pretty important for Elektra. But I'm a bit dubious about this. I think this could have been stronger, but then it's hard to balance around Elektra. But I don't think this is an effect I'd like to play. I do think cards that manipulate the encounter deck are usually a bit better than I think they are, particularly in solo play, but I'm not sure. Not even for your bestie Gombi? No. Spending a card to make Gombi better is not worth it. Just don't play Gombi at that point. If the villain is confused or stunned, it becomes an encounter card instead of the boost. Void, yeah, that's true. I mean, it does. But I don't even think I would spend a card that says, look at the top 8 to pick your least bad encounter card. I don't think I would spend one of my 5 cards on it. Because this card, also like if you draw 2 in a hand, the second one's useless, straight useless. So it's just an expensive deck slot. That's an interesting card though. If this replaced itself, like if it was a cantrip, you might be like, that's really strong. But that's the sort of effect that I want in the game, but I don't want to spend a card on the game. Like it's a fun effect and an interesting and skill testing effect. But ultimately, it needs to replace itself or something. When's she coming out? September? We don't know. It doesn't say. Oh, November. What? November? I thought it'd be a September, October. November? Shit. Okay. The new Shadowlands pack is coming out October, I'm guessing. So we have a whole month of nothing, unfortunately. That's supposed to be 2 different messages. Yeah, for Gambit, it's hard. It's like spending a card to get the difference between a 2 and a 3 boost is not worth a card. So Shadowlands is October. So September is empty. October is Shadowlands. November is, I'm assuming, her and Iron Fist. It's weird that the gap is that big. Is FFG putting anything out in September that's like big? Do they have like a Marvel, a Star Wars set or something? I mean, on the other hand, maybe it means the rest of the year will pass faster. But yeah, that's a pretty big gap between 2 hero packs. I don't think we've had a 2-month gap between hero packs. Maybe it'll be early November. So maybe it's functionally October. Very cool. This looks awesome. This looks really fun. Interesting. Some pretty straightforward yet like creative cards. The hand deck looks fun. I'm assuming the hand cards, the back have to be orange and counter card backs. I don't think they can do anything weird with it. But she looks fun. I'm like, I do think there's gonna be some feel bad moments where you thwart for 0, like legitimately thwart for 0, which is so funny. And I do think her stat line is like obviously not good, but flexible enough. I have no doubt she has like 2 or 3 really powerful upgrades, specifically upgrades that give her consistency when it comes to the top of the deck, or like for every boost icon heal 1 or something like that. She really needs a card like that because currently they've shown literally nothing to help her with defense. And largely the heroes, for better for worse, for the last little while have been very, very robust in terms of they can do a bit of everything. So like the idea that like Echo has that card that says she can heal if she's played a what is it, a defense event or an attack event? Attack event, I think. I think Elektra will have something like that. Like based off the boost, either I think she'll have a card that says when you draw a boost, cancel it, draw the next one, kind of like the Wanda's Crown, or a card that will be like, oh, for every boost icon, heal 1 or something like that. Because currently she has no way to stay alive, and you cannot do that. Could you do deck for Daredevil using the new leadership cards and Luke Cage pack? Yeah, I guess I could. I don't know if there's a lot of synergy between that. Daredevil's not really good with allies because Daredevil needs to do everything himself. But we could look at it. We could definitely try it. I'll keep that on the back burner. The thing is, like next week, we're much more likely to want to play Jessica. And then today, obviously, we're playing Luke. So maybe in 2 weeks from now. The next Star Wars Unlimited set is October. It does look like they're having anything going on in September. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. We'll find out. Cool article. Good article too. Well written. It does go through a bit of everything, and the cards that they chose to show off are interesting cards. I don't think there's any duds in there. Which yeah, that's good. All right, it's 1 o'clock. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Hopefully everyone's well on a Sunday. We're gonna set up and play against Ronan, which I haven't played against Ronan in a while. It might not go well, but also it might go really well. We'll find out. I think for Ronan, there's some changes we're gonna have to make. I think the first change we want to make for Ronan is we probably need to play 2 copies of Mitigated Threat, because turning off Ronan's thing as soon as possible is super, super important, because Ronan he's the only villain with Hazard on the table. There's some cards we could take out of this deck. You can let me know what you think about it, but like maybe we don't play Symbiote Suit because like that's a lot of Hazard. And there's a chance that we cut the Toughen Ups for just Hanger Bay, because I think overall it's probably a smoother card. That being said, I think we can play Toughen Up and still see what it does, because I think like dismissing a card that quickly is not very healthy and we don't learn that much. But do let me know what you think while I do some cleaning up. If you want to leave a like on the stream, also that helps a heck of a lot. When is the yearly report when they announce the next year? It's at PAX Unplugged, which actually might be in October, November, or early next year. I think it might be at the end of the year though. PAX Unplugged usually is around the end of the year. I'm pretty sure it's the one in Philly. I think it's PAX Unplugged. Daredevil is super selfish with all his triggers. Jessica's a much better leadership user via calling in favors. Yeah, I agree. I think Daredevil, almost all his cards say when you do something, which means your allies can help you get there. But yeah, he's a very selfish character in mechanics. Daredevil can use heightened hearing and take a stand, technically. Oh yeah, technically you're right. I mean, I don't like that card. I don't think the numbers are good. But yeah, you technically defend actionlessly with heightened hearing. What a card. PAX Unplugged is the first weekend of December this year. Oh, very cool. It is man, I've only been to one PAX, but PAX Unplugged looks killer. I have a lot of friends in that area who go, and having a PAX, which is usually like very consumer forward. It's not like waiting in lines to do things. It's like there's a lot of things to do. I used to work in the video game industry, so like we'd go to PAX, we'd go to E3 and all that sort of stuff. And like E3 was way worse for consumers, way better for journalists. And PAX was the opposite. It was like, oh, there's things to do for everyone. PAX classically has always been great. So if you can go to PAX, I recommend PAX. Metapher, I can't believe you like Anticipated Attack this much. I don't think it's that good of a card. Like, I don't get it. So Anticipated Attack is like Metapher's favorite card. And Metapher plays on high difficulties with high player count. So like, I don't know what the meta is going like, but I Metapher has always some interesting ideas. So this is a 3-cost toughness. I'm not into that. I don't want to pay 3 costs to get 1 toughness. We're in invulnerability camp at that point, kind of. The upside to this is you've technically defended because it's a defense traded card, so you can fire Unflappable, which we're not playing. But paying 3 costs for a toughness doesn't make sense. It's October as well? Sorry, Tony. What is? Oh, Arkham Scenario Pack? Oh yeah, the Arkham Scenario Pack is October is what you're saying. The one-off, which I thought it was going to come out for Gen Con, but it didn't. Metapher, how do you sell me on this card? Because like, it's a hard sell. Swap Toughen Up for Iron Fist and Team Up? Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the team ups. The other team up for Iron Fist is like, okay. It's a cheap toughness and 2 damage, which is not bad. The thing is like, I don't think we drop Leadership Iron Man on the table consistently. What's his name? I'm pretty sure Ronan has Stalwart, so I don't think I want to add stun cards to the deck. But I think Ronan has Stalwart with his hammer. So like, I don't know if stun or confuse maxing makes sense. The thing is also like, stunning is not that good when we have toughnesses, but maybe we're going to say that and just get absolutely hammered by Ronan. Spider-Woman deck with Anticipated Attack and take a stand. Too strong. I'm not getting into this. You put all of them together, they get only better. They straight get better. All right. I haven't seen our Nemesis set enough. We should play a bit more standard 3. What am I doing? What am I? Oh no, this is right. This is right. Bless you. My partner sneezed in the other room. She didn't hear me because I didn't want to yell it into the microphone. You want Gombi? You can steal the hammer. We do have Gombi in the deck, so we can try and steal the hammer. Should be 8 cards at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, because we put Hope in there. That's fine. Okay. I still need to play Children of Blood. I got it all sleeved the other night, but have yet to hit the table with it. I'm 2 scenarios in. 1 scenario in on Velma's Diner, and what I can say, Sipping, so far, really good. Genuinely very good. Very excited. Shame it's as long as it is, because it seems it's like my favorite 2 scenarios I played so far. At least first scenario is my favorite scenario they've printed in a long time. So like I only have good stuff to say. which it's great. It's good for Arkham to be good. See, Hunting Shadows could find the hammer. Is this an Elektra card I'm failing to search? Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so you put Hunting Shadows, and then you play Gambi so you can steal it away. The thing is, if you're playing Protection, there's already a card that does that. You can just play Silk. So, like, what you're doing makes sense, but that is funny. Like, if you can have a Web Warrior, you can play Silk, and you can just eat the hammer. All right, Power Stone. We're not playing on campaign mode, so there's a bunch of things we don't have to do, which is good, because campaign mode is just like, besides the upgrade cards, it's straight harder. Wow, does he attack for 5 on turn 1? Wow, that's scary. Just kidding. So scary. I think we start with this. So, set health to 10. Villain name Ronan, the Accuser, stage 2. So it's been a while since we played Ronan, so we're hoping for the best here. Interception imminent. So contents: Ronan the Accuser 2 and 3 on expert. Ronan Power Stone ship command. Oh, we need to get ship command. My favorite. 1 second. Ship Command's one of my favorite encounter sets of all time. Man, Ship Command's fun. So Power Stone ship commands. So we shuffle in 6 ships. Kree Militants, which already is in here. They're really big. They don't hit hard though. So ideally you can just bracers them away. We're going to have to Sweet Christmas every once in a while because they have like 6 or 7 health. They're pretty big. There's a bunch of boost cards that give overkill and piercing. Luckily, we don't care about those. So that's really great for us. So big encounter set. Put the Kree command ship environment into play and the Milano into play. Attach the universal weapon to Ronan. Attach the Power Stone to... Oh, we have the Power Stone. Ah, nice. We won't keep that for very long. In campaign, you do a whole bunch of extra bad stuff. But otherwise, we're just going to start with this. Has only 7, which is not huge. Starts with 2 and gets 2 a turn, but we can always exhaust the Milano to thwart 3 off of this, beating Confuse, which is pretty good. This is Ronan the Accuser. 18 health, not too big. Toughness, when revealed. Search and counter deck for Cut the Power and reveal it. So it's here. Cut the Power just says 3-threat crisis, so no reason to pull it up. It just has a crisis. Notably, crisis stops us from removing threat. Crisis says, when at least one crisis I can play, threat cannot be removed by player cards. Milano is a player card, so... Oh no, it's not. I think we actually can do this. Because the text is on Interception Imminent, which is not a player card. Yeah, so I think we beat Crisis. Because we exhaust the Milano, but the text is on an encounter card, so that should be fine. Search the encounter deck for Cut the Power. Done it. When Ronan Accuser activates against you, give him an additional boost card if you control the Power Stone. Notably, the Power Stone has some nuanced text. It says, after a hero or villain deals 3 or more damage to attached character with a single attack, attach Power Stone to the attacking hero or villain. Deals is unfortunately different than take. If we had said take with toughnesses, we'd keep it forever. Unfortunately, it says deals, so we're going to lose the Power Stone. You can mitigate the damage by defending or using your bracers. We probably won't. Crisis says you cannot remove threat. It says it cannot be removed by player cards. It doesn't say you can't remove, right? I think this is a rules accurate. I'm hoping my overlay is rules accurate. I know I spent some time on it, but I'm pretty sure we can remove it. Okay, there's one change I think we want to make, which is I think we need to play another mitigated threat because turning that off as soon as possible is like pretty hype. So we're going to cut a card. Well, I think we're just going to cut the symbiote suit and just play 2 copies of mitigated threat, which is maybe a bit silly. Maybe we should just play the symbiote suit because it's fun. And if this doesn't work, then we'll make some changes to the deck and take out some of the strange cards. But we'll grab another mitigated. Which is somewhere. He's not panicking. I don't know if you saw earlier on the table, Nanako the cat knocked Jessica Jones off her pile onto the camera slightly. She was playing a bit. Oh, they added words. Yeah, that's from the 1.8. I don't know if it's added or not. Okay, this is our deck. This is their deck. It is currently like 28 degrees in here, so it's a bit warm. So let's see if we can defeat Ronan before he cooks us. Hey, love. Nice. Actually, could you tilt it a bit? It's hitting the cards a bit too much. Thank you. Thanks, love. Okay. My partner just helped. The door was like mostly closed, and I have a fan blowing the air conditioned room in here, and she just made it a lot better. She's the best. So my partner, she comes from a Greek family, so I just want to let everyone know when Elektra comes out, I am allowed to do a heavy Greek accent, and it won't be offensive. I have permission. I'll ask her whole family. They'll sign off for it. She just heard that. She's not super happy. Yeah, so Elektra, the hero's coming out. Elektra Nachos, obviously mega Greek character. So can I do like a heavy Greek accent the whole time? She says she dares me, so that's allowed. Now time to check out a Chill Sunday challenge. Logs in, spits a coffee. Hey Greg, how's it going? I want to let you know, we played against Juggernaut and we took literally 0 damage. We're good against heavy hitters. Now, I don't know how good Ronan's going to go. Obviously, Ronan is a lot, but I think if Luke Cage, like Luke Cage seems to be well represented or well set up to deal with it. So no stress. You're right. Nice. Oh, about the crisis thing? Sick. That's good. Good to hear. Yeah, I think we can do it because it's not one of our cards. I guess the last card we didn't show is the Milano. The Milano is just amazing. A bunch of the encounter cards will say exhaust the Milano or do X. Mind you, there's already 1 on the table or 2 on the table. Otherwise, it's just a wild resource generator, which it's nice to start with that. We start with like 7 hand size, if you say. Kree Command Ship is an important one that we want to turn off as soon as possible. Sorry, not the Kree Commando ship. The Kree Command Ship gives us a hazard, and it says while a treachery card is revealed from the counter deck, you can spend a resource and exhaust the Milano, which is basically spending 2 resources to cancel the one revealed. Now, spending 2 resources to cancel an encounter card is like usually reasonable. That's not a bad trade. But ideally, we just spend 1 resource by covering this with our mitigated threat. Does anybody know what the art is on mitigated threat? Like, what is the suit that it's wearing? And I'm assuming this is Luke Cage, right? But like the framing also shows something strange. Is this some sort of like confinement suit? Is this Luke or is this like a villain? I have no idea what this is. I'm assuming this is not Luke getting bloodied because that doesn't make sense for a protection card. I don't think this is Luke because he has way more hair. Who is this? All right, let's go. Mulligan, we're off. We again grab the Burstein, which is a bit easier to play. Ronan the Accuser has the Universal Weapon, which I guess we haven't shown all these cards on the table. It's a pretty busy table. So the Universal Weapon gives him +1/+1. He has Stalwart. As a hero action, we can take 2 damage, which unfortunately we cannot pay that cost if we have a toughness. We are in a lot of cases unable to remove the helmet. The hammer, because very importantly, you cannot take damage if you have a toughness because the toughness says don't take damage. And because it's part of the cost, you can't pay the cost. So we cannot do this cost to shuffle the weapon away unless we have no toughnesses on us. Really awkward. There's a lot of cards that say take damage to remove this attachment. We just can't do it, which hurts. Oh, it's Diamondback. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm being arrested. So it is a restriction device, or does Diamondback just wear that? Yeah, because you see the coat too. Cool. Nice. That makes sense. I don't know anything about Diamondback. Besides, I think that's the name of a snake, but I might be wrong. Excuse me. We're off. I don't know why I shuffled my deck again. We'll draw some cards. That's amazing. We put 2 in the deck, so we feel pretty silly, but maybe this is the second one. So we're definitely going to keep this to turn off Kree Command Ship on turn 1. So we have 2 good things against Ronan. This is the second good thing against Ronan. Med Team, we don't keep that on turn 1. We need to do something a bit better. Metal Bracers, I don't know if he has Retaliate, but Metal Bracers is actually kind of important because there's a bunch of minions that just attack for 1 or 2 consistently, and this will just like deal with them. So I actually think we'll keep Metal Bracers. We don't have that ambitious of a setup on turn 1. We just want to find our Burstein, and that's probably it. Nicholas Fury, I'll put him in the maybe camp. He's like a bit worse in this deck because we don't mind blocking, but if we block with Nick to preserve a toughness, it's not bad. For Nick to be keepable, we're definitely going to want more extra resources because we have to play the Milano and Nick, which is a lot of our hand, and then we still want to play these 2 cards, but Milano helps, but we're definitely going to need to draw one of our 4 doubles. Harlem's Hero, on turn 1, it's not incredible. We do need to clear cut the power on turn 1, which we have 3 thwarts, so we're going to deal with that. Harlem's Hero is a maybe. It's good with Nick because we ready a bunch of stuff, but the problem is like playing Nick is already kind of expensive. And we have a Stand With Me, which is also a bit expensive, and we don't really need this. So I honestly think we could hedge Mulligan Nick, like keep him as a hedge. If we draw a couple doubles, we'll be lucky, but there's a chance we'll just use Nick to play cards. So we're going to draw some cards. Sweet Christmas. This is a bummer. We want to draw this later because there are big minions. Bogwell's Gym, not particularly compelling, but we haven't seen a taunt yet. That's a taunt. So awkward thing here. So we're going to just go use our alter ego. to search for the bursting process. But the awkward thing here is if we want to play taunt, we have to play bursting first, and then the order of things gets a bit clumsy. But like, it's wild to say we want to taunt, let Ronan attack us on turn 1, but we want to let Ronan attack us on turn 1 if we draw 3 cards. So let's see what we do here. We have to thwart this first, because if we lose the Power Stone, we can't thwart cut the power. So if we just straight taunt, we're going to be in a bad spot. My guess is we do not end up playing Nick on this hand. Or if we do, we have to draw into a bunch of doubles. Okay, so things that we're going to do. We want to play Bursting first. Bursting with the U. This always gets attached to the Kree command chip. So as long as we just spend 1 resource a turn, we can not draw an encounter card. And spending 1 resource for an encounter card is stellar. So that's a start. We need to play Bursting when we're in Alter Ego. So I'm assuming we play 2 for this. Then we could just like play Taunt. And then we could play Bracers. Sorry, Fogwells and Bracers. Honestly, Fogwells is not amazing. It's probably a bit better with like leadership or allies that have toughness. We only have 1 defender that comes in with a toughness, but this is only really good if we're actually exhausting to do things during the villain phase and getting attacked again, which is not super common because we generally don't exhaust to defend. For multiplayer, this is a lot better because now I can defend 2 people without exhausting. That's really, really quite good. Now, the Milano can spend 1 resource to thwart 2, which is already pretty good, or can spend 1 resource to spend another card. So maybe, I don't know how many cards to say Ronan attacks again. I know there's like the you stand accused, which means there are a couple multi-attacks, and we only have 10 health here. But if we play Taunt, we'll draw 3 cards. This is one of the awkward things where like I can't hold on to Nick Fury because we need Nick Fury. Like we need to play the Bursting first, and we obviously have to play that. So I think we do Bursting, flip up, get Taunt, draw 3 cards. Hopefully the 3 cards are playable. It could brick. Honestly, it could brick. And it'd be nice to have the Fogwells gem left over. We could play the Metal Bracers first to take off the toughness, but honestly, damage maxing is not our priority against Ronan. I think we just want to survive. So we'll spend 2 for the process. We'll throw that card on the floor. Let me just get it. Careful, don't wheel the chair back on the card. It's a sweet Christmas, so we'll use Bursting right now for 2 toughness. The fan is going to maybe blow these away. Again, the Power Stone says not deal, says take, so toughnesses has no... Sorry, it doesn't say take, it says deal, so the toughnesses don't matter. We will flip up, and we'll thwart for 3 off of this before we potentially lose our Power Stone, which is nearly guaranteed. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and just play Taunt. We could use the Milano to like keep Fogwell's gem. If it was a better card, we'd maybe consider it, but we'll just play Taunt here. So the villain attacks you. So we're basically trading a Taunt, a toughness and 1 damage for 3 cards. Probably worth on the setup turn. Probably worth on the setup turn. So Ronan's going to attack us. Attacks us for 4 in a card. 5/6, no master plan. We just lose a toughness, which because of our hero text does 1 damage, and then Taunt draws 3 cards. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not good. That's not a good hand. Luckily we can play this hand, but it's like ugly that we drew the double with nothing because we actually have a lot of 4-cost cards. So we'll do Cruising for Ready for a Fight. That's nice to have that as a nice little protection policy. So I actually want to say Ready for Action is a card that I would consider playing in this Luke Cage deck. It's not a card you often play, but it does do the thing that you want the deck to do, at least the precon. So Ready for a Fight's in play, which says if we don't want Ronan to scheme and Ronan schemes for 3 in a card, we can stop that. Then we'll spend the physical to play this, or I guess it doesn't matter, and we'll play Metal Bracer. So this means we'll take the toughness off and get Retaliate 1. Oh, we lose the thing as well. So we lost the Power Stone. We have Retaliate, and the Metal Bracers can mitigate damage. And then we'll just exhaust the Milano to deal with the Intercept Imminent, which will remove up to 3 threat. We're done. Draw 5. Do you lose Power Stone? You bet. I did a bit slow, but we do lose the Power Stone because we were dealt 6 damage. Toughen up. Okay. Toughen up. Ugh. Jessica is here. She can help with the side schemes. There's a bunch of them. Hellcat is cheap. We only have 1 more Harlems in the deck and a med team, so not a great hand. This hand probably just spends 1 resource and plays Jessica and passes because we have to pay for mitigated threat every turn. This puts on 2 threat. We get attacked. This might be a turn where the taunt was wrong because if Ronan attacks us again, we have an issue. Because Ronan's attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, sorry, 5 in a card. 6, 7. We take the toughness. He loses his toughness to retaliate. We take 1 damage, 1 encounter card, because this is blank. Notably, we blank Kree command ship, so we can also just blank this card if we want to, which is kind of cool. So I just want to show you the Kree command ship says, when a treachery card is revealed, we can exhaust a mana and spend a resource. So if we ever want to cancel a treachery, we can cancel its when revealed, not its surge or other text or insight, but it's when revealed. So we need to keep that in mind because we blanked this, but it only blanks the icons. It doesn't blank the text on the card. So single-minded fury, there's a bunch of these in the deck. It says Ronan Accuser attacks the player who controls the Power Stone. If no attack was made, this card gains Surge. I mean, that's fine with me. We would cancel the Surge if we wanted to. Pre-physiology, I think this gets us tough, right? Surge, when revealed, give Ronan Accuser tough status. If he already has a tough status, take a damage. That's a bad text eventually. You can still cancel the card even though you stop the hazard. Yes, exactly. Doesn't Surge count as a when revealed under new rules? It counts as it fires like a when revealed, but if I'm not mistaken, it's not a when revealed text. I think all they did is they changed Surge to have timing as if it was when revealed, but it's not technically when revealed text. Because this cancels its when revealed effects, so they'd have to say when revealed and has the effect. So I'm like 80% sure that they've changed Surge, not to make it when revealed, but it fires with when revealed. I mean, we should just look that up. Browser. Command tab. Oops. Surge is alphabetical. Yeah, I don't think it interacts with it, but they did just normalize when Surge would fire. But I don't think it's added to the when revealed text box, which is what this cancels. You think you remember designer answering the question? Do you know what they said? So Surge. When an encounter card with this keyword, so the Surge keyword is equivalent to the following when revealed deal yourself. So it's not the following, but it's equivalent. So in terms of the timing, it should work like that, but I don't think we can cancel it because it's not technically when revealed, but it's equivalent to when revealed is my read from that. I think. It's not the when revealed text. It just fires as if it was. What did we just draw? Kree physiology. So what did that do? I think it surges. So give Ronan tough status. We have a lieutenant. Okay. So this is what I mean. Luckily, we have our first metal bracer. This thing has guard and stalwart, which sucks, and 7 health. So it's not really a problem that adds to the table. Pretty sure folks emailed effigy and the response was favorable, so it gets canceled. It does get canceled. Oh shit. Okay, maybe we should have canceled it then. That's surprising. I would love a receipt on that. Not that I don't believe you, but it'd be nice to learn why that is. Huh. Okay. Neat. So mitigated threat fires. So we could have canceled a lot of cards there. So we have to give out a card, so we'll throw out a toughen. Okay, so we're allowed to jump down, which is nice. When we jump down, we get 2 toughnesses, which is incredibly important, and we'll draw 6 hand size. This lieutenant will just bash into us and slowly die to retaliate. This hand is not particularly anything. We have an extra resource on the Milano, though, so we could do like Jessica Hellcat. Hellcat could thwart for 2. Jessica could chill. We also could do toughen up, but if we want to recover, I mean, I think tough maxing is actually right. That toughen up probably is worth the recover. Like, it's super weird how that is, but if we recover, we basically trade this for 2 health and a toughness, which in this matchup is pretty good. If that's the case, we can do a bit of everything. So we'll play Hellcat for 0. I have not played Hellcat for actual price yet, which it'd be weird to do that. I'm not going to put dice on her because she leaves, and I think she'll just attack for 2. We'll use the Milano to remove threat, and then we'll spend 2 on our first copy of Toughen Up. So when we recover, as long as we're at full health, or printed health, more accurately, we can recover. We will jump down. We will recover for 4, so we recover for 2. First, of course, we have to do the bursting process, which now gives us 3 toughness. Thing is, we have to jump up right now, so we can't use the bursting again, because Ronan does thwart like a truck. But we get 3 toughnesses, and that's it. We'll draw 6. She's discarded. So we use our whole hand, which is good. We have She-Hulk, more toughnesses. Dauntless, which is more retaliate if we're at full health, which we usually are not. That's kind of the issue with Dauntless, is like you'll never be at full health. But as long as you play like Symbiote Suit or... Yeah, okay. If we draw our recovery card, we're going to make it Endurance. Because Endurance is just much better. Because it works way better with Luke Cage's text. If we're on Dauntless. The only other way to give us extra health is playing, unfortunately, the Symbiote Suit, which is out of our deck. Second mitigated threat. So we'll probably discard that. Our Man, really good. Resource a turn. Energy, we have a She-Hulk for the double. And we have another ready for a fight, which is definitely worth playing. Yo, Herman, I'm doing well. How you doing? Luke Cage is pretty bulletproof, it turns out. Goes to 2. So Ronan here would scheme for 1, 2, 3, 4 on a card, very likely to pop, so we can't. So we're going to jump up with Ready for a Fight. Again, Ready for a Fight would have triggered Hanger Bay here, so currently Toughen Up is less good than a Hanger Bay. We probably wouldn't have recovered, though, so we would have done something else. So Hanger Bays look like it's winning this one. Okay, so Ronan's instead attacking us for 3, 4, 5 in a card. 6, Toughen, trades for Toughen, and we take 1 damage from our hero text. Now the Kree Lieutenant will attack us, and then we're going to reduce the damage to protect our toughnesses, and it takes Retaliate 1. So that's good. 1 encounter card. Special delivery. So we can cancel this if we want to. It says, you may exhaust the Milano if you do not, the villain attacks you with +1 attack. I think exhausting Milano is basically spending 1 resource for a toughness and 1 health, so we will do it. And then we have to play for mitigated threat, which will clear the mitigated threat. So far, so good. Okay, so it's us. This is the last Ready for a Fight in the deck cycle. I do think there's a reason to consider playing 3, because we have to jump down every once in a while to get more toughnesses, because Ronan hits really hard. If we have no toughnesses, we will die pretty quickly. So that's really good, because it's hard to play bursting. So Power Man's our only physical, though, which is not great. So if we play Power Man for 1, our hand is like kind of bad. It's actually really bad, this hand. Maybe we don't throw a mitigated threat, we keep a physical. Yeah, I think we keep the physical. Taskmaster Heart? Sorry, Sipping. I don't know if you're watching live. He seems tough. Still going through Scarlet Witch Red Skull campaign video, new season of Taskmaster soon. Oh, for that reason. When's the new season of Taskmaster starting? How many people in chat are watching Taskmaster? Because if you're not, you really should. It's kind of incredible. Can you not keep the other fist? Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, there you go. It's on the Marvel Champions LCG Discord channel and detailed rules. Villain Theory asked about it, and they said it could be canceled by cards like Spider Sense. Okay. I don't know what Spider Sense is. Is that the text on someone? That's really good to know. That's sick. Surge is shorthand. Oh, so Surge is basically add that text to the when revealed box. I'm into that. Okay, so we do this. This is our hand. That sucks. We could just play Power Man and then hold energy for next turn. Our deck still has a bunch of expensive cards. Prof, not the Quinn Carrier. Sweet Christmas, Stand With Me, Hulk, Gumby. That would have been a weird draw. So I think we probably just keep the double. Only the British Taskmaster. The British Taskmaster, I would say, is by far the best Taskmaster. New Zealand and Australia, I've watched. Certain seasons are actually pretty good. The thing is, they're different. It's really hard to compete with Greg Davies specifically. I don't think I've seen another Taskmaster I like as much as Greg. But like the Alex Horn equivalents, some of them do it. Like some of them are actually like quite good. Not as Alex Horn good, but like, yeah. They have some big comedians from the UK on this year. Don't they always? Enhanced Spider Sense. Excuse me. I have to search by direct name, so this sort of thing happens. When a treachery card is revealed from the counter deck, cancels when revealed. So this does cancel Surge now. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Taskmaster New Zealand, I've liked a fair bit. I think New Zealand comedy is also great. If you're not watching Guy Montgomery Spelling Bee, it's also pretty special. All right, so we'll play Power Man with She-Hulk. So we have Power Man. So after we lose a toughness, draw a card. We'll spend a physical to play Ready for Fight. Notably, we can jump down and get our bursting this turn, but ideally we're bursting only when we're on no, you know, right? Also recovering would be good. Here we can either attack for 2 or thwart for 2. I'm way more scared of a thwart because we draw an advance, we're in a bad spot, and we'll hold the energy and we'll pass. Good turns. Really good turns. Big comedians, but other people might have heard of them. Okay. Forgot Venom has the definitely meant to enhance Spider Sense. Yeah, I forget a lot of Spider-Man's cards by name. Okay, there's Hulk, which big damage, good damage. Gombi might be a bit better. There's a lot of big boosts. Notably, again, we can't get rid of the hammer, so we can't squirrel it away. Taunt is super playable because we might just taunt, draw 4 cards, jump down to Alter Ego, and then bursting. We have a genius, so like super cheap Hulk. Taunt probably gets played off the Milano, but we have to discard a card to mitigate a threat. So honestly, we might get rid of Hulk. Gumby is just a bit more flexible because having thwart on deck is good. This gets 2. The villain activates for 4 and a card. Good luck, buddy. 5. We lose a toughness. Ronan takes retaliate 1. We draw a card. Oh, that helps. We draw a card and we take a damage. We draw Sweet Christmas. Not going to be very playable, so we'll probably discard that. The Kree Lieutenant also attacks us. We'll lower the damage. Takes retaliate 1. 1 encounter card. We can cancel this one if we want to. Our Siphon says. When revealed, choose to either exhaust the Milano, Pretty cheap. Spend 2 energy resources, discard randomly from the first player's hand, which is us. I think we'll just exhaust the Milano. It's just a wild resource. And then we have to play mitigated threat, so we'll throw this out. Last One Laughing is worth a watch, basically Taskmaster reunions. I've watched most of the first season, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know where to watch it easily on in America or Canada, more accurately. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the parts of man, I don't want to spoil who won, but the person who won is like one of my, I think just one of the funniest people. Oh my God, are they funny? Okay, so this is probably a taunt jump down angle. So I think we're going to get rid of Hulk and just play taunt. We've already fired Power Man, so this just draws 3 cards, retaliate 1. Drawing 3 cards, is actually that good for this hand? It kind of is, because this hand doesn't do much. And then we can Bursting jump down, and then we're basically getting our 2 ready for fights back for the deck out. Shame that Taskmaster New Zealand and Gaimon Spelling Bee are pretty difficult to access in the UK. Oh, I don't know about the UK, but Taskmaster New Zealand's on YouTube. Guy Montgomery is on YouTube, but in bits. You have to find it pirated. The same way that you watch like Only Connect. But I'm pretty sure Taskmaster New Zealand seasons are straight up on the Taskmaster channel now. They have been for a while. I don't know if the UK YouTube is different. Yeah, I think we just do the taunt because we're going to jump down anyways. So it's a shame that we don't have, like, the doubles are really good into Hulk. But I think having the thwart is really important because we have thwart issues. And Gambit is really good because there's a lot of big boosts. None of them are available here. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. So we'll play taunt. So Ronan attacks us for 3, 4, 5. Again, not taking a lot of damage. We lose the toughness. We take a damage. Ronan takes a damage. We draw 3 cards. 1, Knuckle Sandwich. 2, Downtime. We're going to play this as an Endurance and Stand With Me. So let me just do that swap because I don't think we should be playing this card. Endurance seems a lot better. So let me just do the quick swap. Because our recovery is good. We just want our health to be above our health. Our starting health. Can't wait to roll in an Elektra player with target acquired. Just like cancel the boost. Yeah, I mean, yeah, cancel the boost ability. You can do it. Okay, so this is in our hand instead, we'll say. Okay, so hand is good. The problem is like playing Stand With Me is not terrible because we know on a tough max. The issue is that when we play it and then we jump down, it cancels the extra tough we got from bursting. So it's unfortunately not worth playing. So I think we'll start by doing 1, 2, 3 off of Gombi, and then we'll use Gombi to look at the top 3. I need to make a confession. I was talking to a friend who's Francophone about how the French would say Gombi, and his response is definitely not that. The way that you would say Gombi in Quebecois is Gambit. You would actually do the bit. You wouldn't say Gambit, you say Gambit, which sounds awful because I think bit just means penis. So don't want to say that. Not going to say that. So we're going to continue to say Gombi, which is like not exactly correct, but good enough for me. So we got to look at the top 3. We can't rearrange. We have a star boost, a 1 boost, and a 2 boost. Not good. Star boost says attach the power stone to Ronan, so that's fine. This says we get attacked, which is acceptable. Also, if we stay down, we know exactly what Ronan's thwarts for. But unfortunately, with the Kree Lieutenant, we're going to crack no matter what. So we're going to grab Rogue Vessel. Rogue Vessel is annoying because it is a card that we cannot deal with because it is a... Oh, it's really nice, actually. We put Gambit with his love, Rogue Vessel. That's really good. We should be rewarded for that. We can play the team up now. We have Gambit and Rogue Vessel. All right, so he has 2 thwart to attack. I find that endlessly funny. So we'll put the name on the top so you can see Gambits together with Rogue. All right, so he can thwart for 2 off of Interception Imminent, which we will. We can't really do anything smart with Knuckle Sandwich, so I think we're just gonna play Endurance and once again hold the energy for another turn. Doesn't feel great. We'll play Endurance to get +3 health. Not a good translation. Game in Scottish is mouth. Gom is mouth. That's fine. Okay, so we can recover. When we recover, we get an extra toughness. We honestly are tough maxing, so that's kind of cool. So we can get in 3 toughness, which is kind of what we want in this matchup. Yeah, fine. We'll jump down. We'll recover for 4, which puts us at exactly full health. And then toughen up, we'll fire. But of course, before we do this, we'll use the bursting process, which says if you have no toughness. So we end up with 3 toughnesses. 1, 2, 3. Our board state is not exactly building incredibly strong, but we're like definitely staying afloat with a very hard villain, and we'll pass. So 1 plus 5 more. 2, Harlem's Hero, nice. 3, Prof X, he is stalwart, so maybe we'll confuse a minion. This is also stalwart. Build support with Professor X is great, so we can get a Quinn carrier. Spending a resource every turn with mitigated threat is good, but notably mitigated threat doesn't say spend a resource, it actually says discard a card, which means you can't cheat it with resource generators. I like that. Power in All of Us for Prof, really great. And the Quinn carrier, which we'll discard for this, so it's a very, very good hand. And we're going to draw one more. I'm going to change Beauty and the Thief so it's Gambit dancing with a massive spaceship. At the point, if you don't want to pronounce Gambi or Marie Lambeau, I won't know who you're talking about. That's the point. I mean, Marie Lambeau is not inaccurate. That one's actually legit. All right, so we're going to get attacked or thwarted on. So we're going to get attacked. We're ready for a fight, so we'll hop up. Currently, this has been equivalent to Hangar Bay, as much as it'll only be on one counter. We won't defend. Ronan's attacking for 5 in a card. We know that it's going to be attach the Power Stone to Ronan. We don't take damage. Well, actually, we take a damage. The villain takes 1, down to 15, and we'll draw a card from Powerman. We draw Bruisin' for Bruisin'. On Kree Lieutenant's not awful, but we don't need to do it. The Kree Lieutenant's attacking. We will Metal Bracers it. It takes Retaliate 1. We take no damage. 1 encounter card. We know it's You Stand Accused, which we have all the information of what we want to do here. We can spend 2 resources to cancel this, and then we have to spend a resource off a mitigated threat, or we can just get attacked. On this turn, we don't really need a lot of toughnesses, so I think You Stand Accused is totally fine. We're going to deck out this turn, which means we want to keep the toughnesses for the next turn cycle, but we have a Harlem's Hero, which is just good enough with 2 toughnesses. So Ronan's attacking us at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fanaticism is a really scary encounter card. Glad to not have that. We take 1 damage, lose a toughness. Ronan takes Retaliate 1. I mean, Ronan, if we had Retaliate 2, would be dying. He is staying alive. Mitigated threat. I think we'll just throw out Quinn Carrier, and this is going to be a good turn. As much as Professor X, we can ready Gambit with Professor X. I mean, I think getting Gambit knocked out sooner than later is actually okay. I think getting him knocked out is fine because we're going to deck out. So I think actually juicing Gambit is good. And then Prof X missed the deck cycle, which is kind of ideal. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 for the Professor. Order Lull. We'll use Gambit first to thwart 2. And when Prof X enters play, we'll ready an X-Men, so we'll ready Gambit. So Gumby is ready, Prof X is in play. We can't stun Kree Lieutenant. We can't stun Ronan. They're both stalwart. We'll use Milano to play the build support. And then we'll just thwart the build support with Prof, so we can go search our deck and discard pile for the Quinn Carrier, which is now in play, which is now a resource. Did we spend a resource to deal with mitigated threat? I don't think we did. I think we forgot to, so I'll just spend the energy. Whatever. But yeah, we forgot to spend for that. So build support is out. We get a Quinn Carrier. This generates a wild, which having 2 resource generators on our first deck cycle is ideal. Professor X can also block Ronan this turn. Hopefully not to get overkill. At least if it's overkill, it hits the toughness. We will then, I mean, I guess we can knock out the Kree Lieutenant. It has guard, so we have to. We'll attack 2 into the Kree Lieutenant. We will attack with Gumby. So the villain will take 2. Our Harlem's Hero is losing a bit of value because there's nothing to thwart. So we did this bad, actually. We should use Gambit to attack that guy. Gambit will be on 1 health. We'll attack Ronan. Then we'll play Harlem's... Yeah, because we're going to ready Professor X and it's useless. There might have been a better way to do it. Whatever. We'll just sit as it lies. So we'll just recover 2 off the villain. I think we might have missed some damage here. Because we're going to play Harlem's Hero, which readies 2 characters. So there could have been an order where we use Prof X to thwart. And then we could have done attack, attack, attack. I might have messed that up. I'm not going to fix it because I don't know how to roll it back. So we'll give ourselves a toughness and ready, and then we'll attack for 2 more into the villain. And then Professor X will just hang out. You spent the Quinn? I spent the Quinn on Harlem's Heroes. On Harlem's Hero. I spent the energy on mitigated threat. I spent a resource for sure. I just don't know if I can fix the ordering. But Ron's on 10 health. I'm feeling good about this. Prof X misses the deck cycle. I don't think I goofed that. If anything, I did a worse line, not a cheat line. Last Metal Bracers and Taunt is fantastic because we have another toughness. Ideally here we draw into our ready for fights, which probably should be a 3 of in this matchup. Oh, I spent the Quinn Carry. You're right. I threw at the Quinn. Yeah, you're right. I spent the Quinn Carry for the mitigated threat. Okay. So we'd had 1 more resource here. I'm not going to hold the energy for a 3rd turn because, oh my God, that's silly. Truly Harlem's Hero, pushing an old man in a wheelchair in front of an alien with a giant warhammer. I mean, I wouldn't focus on Professor X's disability. I would focus on the fact that he's an incredibly powerful a mega level mutant. Okay? I feel like defining him by his wheelchair is maybe not a good way of talking about him. So I'm a hero. Yeah, I would have an energy spear in my hand, but I'm not spending 3 turns holding the energy. Like at some point we're going to cut our losses, especially here because we're trying our best to draw into ready for a fight. So we're not going to keep doing it. I don't think we had a better line there. The better line was something to do where we attack twice with Professor X because we with Gambit because we wasted an activation of Prof. I haven't watched Logan in a bit, sipping. My partner hasn't seen it. We should watch it at some point. Sweet Christmas. Med team? Not great. Hulk. Okay. The energy would have been okay in this hand. We're going to draw one more. And actually with Taunt, we're going to draw a bunch more. Whether we can jump down or not is a bit sketchy. So we might not Taunt, depending on what we draw. 2. Ronan. We'll put Professor X in the way. Oh, this helps. So 3, 4, 5 could have overkill. 6. Additional boost card on You Stand Accused. 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 has piercing. Luckily, we don't care about piercing, let alone Professor X doesn't care, but that's great. So we do keep our power man. So we won't draw now, but we can draw 4 off of the taunt. 2 encounter cards might be a bit sketchy. First, exhaustion. We don't care about being ready, so this is acceptable. Cannonade. We can't cancel this one. So this comes in with 4 threat, which is just annoying enough. We actually don't care about Amplify that much. Shout out to Elektra. So we can let this ride. We have to get rid of a card for mitigated threat. I'm assuming we're not going to play Sweet Christmas for 3 resources. 5 hand size feels bad, man. Where's our symbiote suit? I mean, Unbreakable, man. Multiple. Tough. 70-year-old geriatric. Okay, so I think we play the taunt here. The issue is if we don't draw into a ready for a fight or more toughnesses, we're actually in a sketchy thing. Oh, Surge. You're right. That has Surge on it. Yeah, there's one more encounter card. So hold on, we won't discard this yet. Yeah, Surge on exhaustion. So maybe canceling the exhaustion was right. Probably not. Blindside. Okay, so exhaust the Milano, right? Blindside says either exhaust the Milano, spend 2 resources, stun the first player. Okay, so spending the Milano only matters if it matters. This hand's a bit expensive. We definitely want to play these 2, which draws cards, and we have 2 resource generators, so it shouldn't be that bad. Obviously we don't spend 2 physicals, either the Milano or this, but the Milano could thwart, so the Milano's a bit better. I think getting stunned is not that bad. We don't really have an attack event we want to play for a while, so I think we just stun ourselves. We can waste an activation. Seems fine. And then we'll throw out Sweet Christmas. Thanks, chat. Want to make sure I get all the encounter cards. I see how you are. Team Ronan. Okay. Playing Hulk might be fine. But I think we'd have to play Hulk after. Our deck has every single double in it, especially that energy. And I think holding Hulk holds a physical as much as we have the Quinn Carrier. There's a world in which we draw nothing, so we play the med team. So I think we'll actually use the Quinn Carrier to play Taunt. Because we have a physical unless we need it. Maybe actually pitching the med team is better. But we'll do this. So Taunt says, Ronan attacks us. 3, 4, 5. No boost. We lose a toughness and take 1 damage. The villain takes 1 damage. We lose a toughness, so we draw 3 cards with Taunt and 1 card with Powerman. So we draw 1, maybe 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're talking. Haven't found a ready for a fight yet. Should be a 3 up in this list. Nick Fury is pretty good because we don't have overkill. Harlem's Heroes is better with Nick. I think we don't need to play Gombi. So I think we're gonna get rid of Hulk, which we haven't played yet today. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. I can't play the last Taunt because we only have 1 toughness, and I think just having more toughness is better than drawing a +1 card. So we'll spend 4 here. Keep the Milano in case we need to deal with the Cannonade. For Nicholas, and Nick is really good with Harlem's Hero because we get the value from him twice. So Nick will draw 3. 1. Fogwells. 2. Genius. 3. Ooh, Hellcat's also really good with Harlem's Heroes. Problems we drew a double with nothing for it. So I'm assuming we just do Hellcat for free. Man, Hellcat is so cool. She's like such a good card for as like bad as she looks on read. So we'll play Hellcat. And I think we'll just play our Metal Bracers and then Fogwells. I won't hold on to the double again because that hasn't felt good. So we'll play Harlem's, we'll play Metal Bracers, and then we'll just thwart 3 off of that. Okay, so we'll use Nicholas to thwart for 2. We'll use Hellcat to attack for 2. We can leave this on for 1 turn, I think. Yeah, it's probably fine. Then we'll do Genius for Harlem's hero. So we ready ourselves, we give ourselves a toughness. Oh, we don't have to ready ourselves. We give ourselves a toughness, we can ready 2 characters. Readying these are a bit better. I guess it doesn't matter ultimately, but we'll ready these 2. Technically, readying Nick Fury is worse because we have overkill. He will soak a bit more damage, but with toughnesses, it doesn't really matter. Hellcat will thwart for, I mean, yeah, let's just clear this so we don't get caught in a bad Milano situation. So she'll thwart for 2, and then we'll exhaust the Milano to clear it. And then Nick will attack for 2 to the villain. And then we'll just play a second metal bracer. So we have retaliate 2. And now we can deal with all the other 2 attack minions. Which I'm not sure if any has quick strike, but card's good. As much as he was horrifically wasted in the role, I must say Lee Pace makes me team Ronan. Sorry, Andre. It's okay, I get it. Cool guy has a hammer, we'll pass. Really good turn. Such a good turn, actually. And we're still afloat on the toughness. And we just basically want to jump down once we find a ready for a fight. Last mitigate threat. Ready for fight. Perfect combo. Let alone we have Quinn Carrier. Sweet Christmas probably won't work. Knuckle Sandwich probably just gets rid of our stun. And we have a Harlem's hero, which is great. I'm glad they added the line from hand to Hellcat. Harder to do recursion shenanigans. Speaking of, she's gone. Yeah, from your hand. I mean, imagine from the discard pile. Ooh, free value every turn. 2 threat. Ronan's attacking. 3, 4, 5. Now, if we do block with Nick Fury, we might not get Power Man, but ultimately, I don't care. I think just preserving toughness is better. This hand is playable. We have 2 resource generators. So we'll just block with Nicholas. So 3, 4, 5. Could have overkill. 6, 7. Second fanaticism. Nick is knocked. 1 encounter card, which we could cancel. Okay, so we actually do cancel this. Because canceling this cancels 2 encounter cards. Because now the Surge and when revealed are the same thing. So all we can do is create command ship, which it's good to be able to use as text. So we have to exhaust the Milano and spend 1 resource. So we cancel this. Very cool. Now we're going to do a really like elite strat here. We're not going to play for mitigated threat. We're just going to let it go. So the elite strat. First action, we're going to play another mitigated threat there. It's cheaper, trust me. And then I think we're just going to play ready for a fight. Harlem's hero. I mean, I think that's it. So we'll thwart for 2. That's a more reasonable loss con. We'll spend the physical for a ready for a fight. We'll spend the Quinn Carrier for Harlem's hero, just to go up on toughnesses. So we'll ready nobody. We're the mayor of the city. There's no one here. And we'll just swing to get rid of the stun. Look, I don't want to jinx it. We know this is a good matchup, but like, this is a good matchup. Like, we've knocked health down to Ronan. We didn't get retaliate 2 there because we didn't defend, but like, things are good. Frantically taking notes on a mitigate threat strat. If you play 3 mitigated threat, you never have to pay for mitigated threat. It's so good. Just play 3. Then they're free. Med team hasn't been great today. Stand with me. I mean, if we get a side scheme, stand with me. Okay. Cruising. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll get a minion. We have only seen, I think, 2 so far. And then Dauntless, which is a reason why we want to get our health up. But as soon as we take an attack, Dauntless won't fire anymore. We're also at 3 toughness, so we're not going to be jumping down for a bit to fire either of these. 2 threat. Villain's attacking us for 5, 6. Additional boost card. 7, 8. Not getting an eternal injury feels good. We lose the toughness. We draw a card. We take a damage. We draw 1. Not good. The villain takes 2 off a retaliate. 1 encounter card. When you can cancel Shadow of the Past for 2 resources, you do, right? I think you do. We don't have to, but I think we do. So we'll spend 1 and Milano. Mitigated threat asks a card from us. We'll spend 1. Okay. Very cool. You can use the Quinn Carrier for mitigated threat or the Milano, etc. if needed. No, you can't. It doesn't say spend a resource. It says discard a card. Oh my god, it does. No, you're right. It does. I read this wrong. I read the bottom that says discard this card. No, you're right. You may spend a resource of any type. That is technically better than spending a card because cards are more interesting. Yeah, okay. I totally messed that up. Good catch. Okay, so this hand, we can play 2 cards. The med team isn't terrible because med team means Dauntless actually has text. The problem is we can't play both of them. So I'm assuming we just do stand by me, throw 2 damage, and Ronan will knock himself out. I'm not sure if knocking Ronan out during the villain phase is bad because I don't remember what Ronan 3 says. But again, Ronan has not been able to do a single ounce of damage to us. So I think we're just going to do the stand with me line to get more toughnesses. So we'll do 2. Stand with me. We're going to play this. It's not going to do anything, but it gets us out of the deck cycle, which is fine. Give Luke Cage a tough status. We remove 3 threat. And then we'll just use Quinn Carrier to play Dauntless, which says we have a conditional extra third retaliate. I'm going to put it on the table, but it's not real. Whoa, I don't think I've realized. I got two different printings. My retaliates are different. You see that? They're different colors. It's subtle, but this one's darker than this one. Interesting. And then we'll just swing for 2. So Ronan will get knocked out. We'll pass. We don't have Dauntless because we're not at full health. Again, we can recover because we have 13. We could jump down and recover and jump up. I actually think that might be right. No, it's not right. But we have another ready for a fight coming up. And ideally, we get it on the table and fire it. If we jump down, we can recover. We do 2 fewer damage. We get 1 more toughness. And we get 1 more retaliate. I don't think it's worth it. Strength. Toughen up. Nice. Energy. Give me something expensive. Jessica's expensive. Ready for a fight. Yeah, so this was maybe the turn to fire the ready for a fight because you can't stack them. They're limited 1 per player. All right, this goes to 2. Ronan's attacking us. I guess we'll draw 1 more card. Attacking for 3, 4, 5, and will defeat himself. No boost. We take 1. We take 1. We draw a card. Retaliate technically happens first. The villain takes 2, and we defeat and advance Ronan. Retaliate 1. He now has Retaliate 1. So the bracers are really good. I'm just going to move one of these over. We'll remember because I only have so many of those, I think. Toughness. When revealed, search and counterdeck and discard pile for the superior tactics side scheme and reveal it. I think this one's bad. I hope it doesn't have hazard. At least we have Jesse for this. So it wasn't here. Otherwise, when Ronan the Accuser activates against you, give him an additional boost card. If you control the Power Stone, that text hasn't been relevant. We've done damage without ever doing 3 damage. So you stand accused. What is it? Not you stand accused. Excuse me. It's superior tactics. So this one says, I think you can't remove threat if you don't have the Power Stone. It's an interesting text. I don't know why I'm shuffling this card. So superior tactics. The Power Stone cannot be unattached from Ronan. Fine. When revealed, attach the Power Stone to Ronan. If it's already attached, place an additional threat here. So just 3 threat. Don't care about this text. Doesn't actually matter. Good. 1 encounter card. Free Physiology. So this one we can cancel if we want to. It says give Ronan the Accuser a tough stats card. If he already has a tough stats card, take a toughness. So, oh, he already has a tough stats. So we have to take a damage. Unfortunately, it says take, not deal. So we would lose a toughness. So I think we actually do end up canceling this because I want to cancel this. Because taking a damage, it loses a toughness, and that's pretty bad for us. So we're going to cancel this, which now cancels Surge. 1.8 is sick. So it says spend 1 resource and exhaust the Milano. So we spend 2 resources. We'll do 1. And then we can't play ready for a fight, so we'll throw it out too. Okay. Mitigated threat causes us to spend a resource. Doesn't matter what we do. We'll spend the Quinn Carrier, I guess. And that's our turn. Okay. Well, now it's our turn. So we're going to deck out. The bottom of our deck is Taunt and She-Hulk. I think it's the second main scheme that cares about Ronan having the Power Stone to remove threat. Yes, it's the second main scheme. You're right. And when you're on the second main scheme and then you flip, then you have a bad spot where like you can't take the Power Stone, but you can't remove threat if he has the Power Stone. So staying on side 1 is really good. And we've seen, I think, maybe 2 advances so far, but that's also a really good reason to have ready for a fight. We're now also at the point that med team is good because we heal, we get the 3rd retaliate, and the 3rd retaliate will defeat Ronan in like 5 turns. Okay, so we'll just do 1, 2, 3 for Jesse. So she comes in play. She thwarts for 3, which is perfect. We'll just thwart right now. I mean, I guess we'll do this. We don't really need to. Master Plan was our first encounter card, so it actually is better that Jessica thwarts this. Like, this text is not real. We don't actually have to take the Power Stone off, so I don't think we're going to deal with it. Because all it says is the Power Stone cannot be removed. Fine. And then we'll play our second Toughen Up, which means now when we jump down and recover, we should get 2 toughnesses. So every cycle down should give us 4 toughnesses, which feels really good, as much as this card yet hasn't been better than Hangar Bay. In fact, it's been worse. We'll just attack for 2 into the toughness. We take Retaliate, but we'll cancel it. We'll pass. Hey, Creed, ayo. Would you say it's worth it to get into Champions at this point in time? Yes. I found a shop that sells a copy of the core set, but it feels like I've missed too much of content already. So it depends on who you are. I think this game is fantastic. And I got into this game late. Admittedly, not late enough that there wasn't anything I couldn't find with a bit of effort, but late that it was like things were out already, right? And I played 100 games with just the core set. So yes, you can just play the core set. Now, if you want to get involved and like watch a stream and then see a bunch of legacy cards, yeah, that might feel a bit bad that a lot of content isn't for you. But that being said, now going forward from whatever the next box is more forward, I think there's going to be more people who will be a bit more serious about the new format, whatever they call it. I think they call it format or the system. They use a word. But the new boxes after Fear No Evil will be designed around you only having access to the last like 3 waves, which is the stuff that's probably still in print. So I'd say yes. Also, if you ask me, should I pick up any FFG core set, even if the game has been out of print for 12 years? My answer is almost always yes, on the basis that I love exploring old games that are out of print, just because it's cool to see what you can learn in terms of game design. So I would say definitely yes. If you can't pick up everything, don't worry about it. We're at a point where like people can't pick up some of their favorite heroes like Captain America and Hulk, but they promise they will reprint them in the future. So in fact, a bunch of the Captain America and Hulk stuff will be played less than they have been classically. So I would say yes. I think just the core set is a really good product. If you want to buy some heroes you like, do some heroes you like, and then just do some deck building. Game's great. Environment. The word is environment. Thank you, Melon. When sold to mitigate threat being huge in this matchup? Are you sold now? Because it is. We spend a card a turn to cancel an extra encounter card. That's nonsense. Like spend a resource to defeat a 6 health minion to stop getting attacked again. It's so good. I don't know if you're saying you weren't sold or you are not sold. I'd be surprised if you're not sold. 1-2, get an encounter card. I got into the game in December when tons of stuff was already out of print. Still tons of fun in my most played game. The only real downside is hard to use Marvel CDB. I don't know if Marvel CDB has the feature that they do on NetRunnerDB where you can search for what packs you own. On NetRunnerDB, you can do that to be like, only show me decks that use the packs from like core set in this wave. And admittedly, that's going to like, heavily cut down the cards you can see or the decks that'll be available to you. But it's like totally great. And I do think in the future, there'll be more people who care about the current environment, which will help you in the future. I'll give it a go. Thank you. Recently got Ashes, but the solo contest seems way more engaging with champions. I would agree with that. I think this game has so much to offer and so much modularity compared to Ashes. Not that Ashes isn't sick, and I enjoy Ashes, but like I play this game 15-1 compared to Ashes. Admittedly, the channel is a big part of that. You can filter a pack, but unfortunately no one really builds. Okay, yeah. So you can do it. It doesn't matter functionally. Oh, I'm sold now. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. And I mean, like spending a resource to cancel, like most encounter cards add 3 threat or a minion or give attacked. And all of those problems usually cost more than the worst card in your hand, right? Like the worst card in your hand is usually a bad card anyways. And most encounter cards do cost out of you like 2 to 4 resources to solve them. If you want to be as abstract as that, it's really good. Like not being able to take damage is huge, but also not canceling. Anybody can play this. Like you can play a non-Luke Cage and just play mitigated threat and be in a good spot. Nicholas, let's see if we get some doubles. Professor X, the whole gang is here. Taunt. Okay, so the taunt is going to make this deck affordable. Still main scheme 1. You know it. You know it. 2 threat. Ronan's attacking. Classic guy. Hammer comes in for 6 now. 7-8 with piercing. Oh, you have piercing, buddy. You thought you were going to win the game. He tries so hard. We'll take 1 damage. We'll draw a card. A double? We drew every ally. Ronan takes retaliate 2. We do not have Dauntless. 2 encounter cards. We can always cancel 1 treachery. Kree Private. Okay, this one has quick strike, which is perfect. Oh, they only attack for 1. So Kree Private attacks us. Will not take the damage. It'll take retaliate 2. This deck probably can play Change of Fortune. There's just not enough minions in the scenarios we're playing for it to be good, but Change of Fortune is like just free value because we can just leave the Kree Private around. This has, I think, like 6 minions. That's probably not enough. Oh, never mind. Kree Private. That's really funny. So second Bracer takes 2 damage. We take nothing. So like we don't have to deal with minions. We don't have to deal with Ronan. It is kind of incredible. With the resources scaling in multiplayer, does the card only seem worth it for amplifies, if even? Yes. This card has bad scaling for the higher the player count because hazards don't scale to player count, but the cost of this scales to player count. So it's uniquely the best at solo play. At 2 plays, I think spending 2 resources to cancel a counter card is still legit, as much as that'll cause some table tension. But spending 3 resources to cancel a counter card, I would not do that. I would not do that. Crisis also like doesn't show up enough to matter. In multiplayer, Crisis is a bit more of an issue because the side scheme shows up with Crisis 7, and that's like hard to deal with. But in solo, Crisis usually doesn't cost you the game. There's some scenarios it does, but not often. The most important cards to cancel are Hazard, then Crisis, then Amplify, and what's it called? The other one, Acceleration, are the least important. Okay, so we have one more tough here. So this might be the angle to jump down to fire, get our 4. If we go down to 6 health, we can still recover 4, and we can get up to our beautiful 4 toughness. So this is the angle that we will play taunt. Mitigated threat will throw out a taunt. So Professor X is not super useful here. Nick Fury is probably the best. So I'm going to pitch... I mean, we still have the Milano and the Quinn Carrier, huh? So I'm just going to do the Quinn Carrier to keep our options open into taunt. Could maybe use it in a multiplayer for 1 cancel and it doesn't feel too bad. Yeah, spending 2 resources to cancel 1 card is fine. So Ronan's attacking for 6. We'll play taunt. 7-8. We take 1 internal damage. Ronan takes 2 damage and we draw 3 cards. Like, it's so good. Knuckle Sandwich. Ready for fight. Harlem's Hero. It's a bummer to draw this early, because the second version in our deck cycle is so valuable, because now we can't jump down for a while. Okay, I think we have an angle here where we do Nick Fury Harlem's and we can still block with Nick, which is good. So we'll do Nick. I don't think we're gonna be playing that many cards, so we'll do 1, 2. I don't think we have a Knuckle Sandwich line. We'll do 1, 2. We don't need a special resource 3. Well, this could be used on that, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nicholas. If we draw doubles, we'll play Gumby. Oh, we have no toughness, so Harlem's is not that good. Oh, Harlem's is actually actively bad because we want to use our bursting. So I think we'll throw the Harlem's. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick. Yeah, getting a toughness just to jump down is not a good idea. Draw 3. Same with She-Hulk for what it's worth. Sweet Christmas, Fogwell's, Energy. So I think we just play Gumby and Fogwell's. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 for Gumby. We'll look at the top 3 of the deck. Gumby has not hit a 3 today. Would Colossus have lasted this long? Yes. Well, with this, yeah. Colossus is... like, the difference between 2 toughnesses and Colossus can jump down a bit better, and like infinite toughnesses on solo play is not that big of a difference. You do have to be a bit more careful, though. The thing is, like, Colossus has better player cards. Like, I guess he can't stun Ronan, and that's a really good part of his kit. 2 boost, 0 boost, 3 boost. So that means we'll just draw an advance as an encounter card. Oh, that sucks. So I think we have to take the 2 boost, so advance is the boost card, and then Pincer Maneuver is just the encounter card. Because I don't think we want Ronan to scheme, because Ronan schemes for 5. So I think we're going to do the suboptimal 2 boost. And so this is on the top, and we're not going to deck out. Because we can't rearrange these, but this being on the top is good, because we don't want to draw as an encounter card. So that's actually a really good gambit. We're running out of red dice. So 2. We have the Milano. We can use it. We'll just use She-Hulk to play Fogwell's, which it's a lot better multiplayer. Unless you really build into it, because it fires off of taunt, but that's the only way we can really make it fire in a way that matters. Unless I guess we get exhaustion and then we draw into an attack. No, that doesn't. Yeah, that works, I guess. We'll use Milano to thwart 2, so we do something with it. And then we'll just do things. These don't have guards, so I think we're just going to go face. He has Retaliate, which Nick doesn't care about. So we'll attack with Nick into Ronan for Retaliate. 1. Ronan takes 2. I mean, I don't think we use our allies. I think we don't use our allies. We'll jump down. We'll use the bursting process off the top. He's remembering the order. He exhausts us to get 2 toughness. And then Luke Cage will recover for 4, which now puts him at enough health that both toughen ups can fire. So the first toughen up now was equivalent, if not slightly worse, than the Hanger Bay or whatever it's called, because we've now got 3 toughnesses off it. The other one has fired once. And so we get 2 more toughnesses. That should take us to the end of the game, and I think we have 1 more Sweet Christmas. We'll pass. We could thwart this, but I just don't care. It's also really nice that you can jump down and then get the toughnesses and then use Jessica Jones. So we could clear this, but ultimately I don't think this card matters. We'll pass. Nick is exhausted. That's good. We did build out our board state really good. 6 cards, strength. Cruisin', which we could use if we draw Sweet Christmas. Harlem's. We have 2 allies. That should be good. Med team. Healing us or even healing Jessica is fine. Cruisin'. No damage with Cruisin's. Feels bad. I'm looking for Cable Mitigate Threat running the pool side scheme. Yeah, that is a combo that I think is going to be way less interesting than playing Symbiote Suit, because you just play the 2 cards and then you just sit there. I mean, it's cool if you think it's cool, but I like combos that have more interaction than that. I mean, Symbiote Suit's not that much more than that. All right, so Ronan's going to scheme, but we're going to fire ready for a fight. This is our last one in this deck cycle, so we have to be a bit careful of our toughnesses. So we'll pop up. We will, however, still block with Nick Fury. because we can. So Nick will block. That means we don't have a taunt, so maybe Power Man won't fire this turn. We'll see how it goes. If we really need an extra card, we could draw with no, we'll be fine. So we're getting attacked for 4, 5, 6. We know it's 6. Nick is knocked. We could let one creep private go through and trade a toughness for one encounter card. I don't think it's worth it. We'll just get attacked. Both of them do retaliate too, which is why we don't care about these. One encounter card, we know it's this. We can't cancel it. It's a pincer maneuver. I didn't read the text on it. I'm assuming it's just Jessica Jones' problem now. So 5 threat with hinder. First player action, remove 3 threat, 2 accelerations is pretty cool. Hanger Bay max 1. It's not only max 1, it's unique. So yes, functionally max 1. Oh, not Hanger Bay, sorry. I forget what the name of the card is. I've been saying it wrong. It's not Hanger Bay, but that card is Mission. What's the name of the card? Somebody in chat knows. Hidden Base. Hidden Base is unique, so it is max 1 per table, let alone per deck. Why not have Nick block minions? Retaliate 2 against Ronan might be nice. I think keeping the toughness is worth something because we have a Sweet Christmas in the Bomber deck. But yeah, Retaliate 2 is not bad. And also like the metal bracers are good because then we don't have to lose the Retaliate attacking Ronan. So yeah, you might have a point there. That we could block one creep private with Nick. We could take a toughness to draw a card. And then we can attack Ronan once with metal bracers. We have to get rid of a card here. Second med team. Okay, so Jessica. She will do her max thwart of 5. Pretty goofy. These will die. The good thing is that, no, actually with the Retaliate, we want to attack because it readies us and it draws a card. So this is actually kind of fine. I think this might be optimal. We could use Gombi to thwart 2 here. I mean, we have the Milano for that. I think we should see what card we draw first. So we're going to attack into Ronan for 2. Ronan takes 2. These don't have guard. We'll choose to take the Retaliate, which we can't stop. So we lose the toughness, which draws a card. And then this is one of the use cases for Fogwell's Gym, because Fogwell's Gym triggers, which readies us. Did you Retaliate 3 against the minions? Shit on me. No, I didn't. Good catch. Yeah, it's been a while since we had Retaliate 3, but we have Retaliate 3 because we're at full health. Nice. I found a third Retaliate so I can remember. Thank you. This one is next attack. We won't have Retaliate 3. We can fix that with Med Team. Hidden Base might be good, but Toughen Up is a bit more consistent unless you're fetching Hidden Base as your free support upgrade. I think Hidden Base is much more consistent because it doesn't require you to do anything. Like for Toughen Up to fire, we have to plan our turn to be at the exact right health and we have to recover. So it costs us 2 attack or 2 thwart a turn. That is really expensive. Also, the issue with Toughen Up is like it's only better the more you play, but playing 3 of these in your solo deck feels like such a brick because it doesn't actually do anything. So it's like, it's weird. Like the only upside of Toughen Up is you can get 3 threat per jump down or 3 toughness, excuse me, per tough down. But also playing 3 Toughen Up doesn't even matter sometimes. Yeah, Change of Fortune I think would be sick. And I just don't think there's enough minions in the encounters we played, but like it's nearly free. And we would have drawn 2 more cards. Now the Crucians are useless. So actually, let me discard this because we might actually play 2 med teams. I know we drew a card, but there is no chance for playing this if there's no minions. Okay, so do we have 17 damage? I don't feel like I want to attack again. I think we might just med team and like use Gambit to attack for 2. We can use Hellcat, no problem, to push some damage. So Hellcat will attack for 2. She takes 1 retaliate. It doesn't really matter. Villain takes 2. We haven't done 3 damage for the Power Stone yet, but we can't actually take the Power Stone. We wouldn't mind taking the Power Stone because we can just trade it. 2 boost cards don't matter. So I think we'll do 1, 2, 3 for a med team. So now we can keep our friends alive, including us. If we heal ourselves, we force a third retaliate, which is worth something. But we could also just attack with Gambit a bit more. I think next turn now attacking into the retaliate is so easy with metal bracers. Either we choose to draw a card, which we have already drawn a card. We can choose to get it ready, or we can just prevent it. With this hand, we can either play another med team, or we can get another toughness. I think I'm just gonna play another med team. So we'll do Milano 1, 2 for a second med team. So now we're super healthy. Nice to get these out of the deck too. Isn't Hidden Base also awkward because you have to use it before bursting? No, Hidden Base is perfect because it's used when you leave Alter Ego, so it never competes with bursting. Right? Because Hidden Base says Alter Ego after you change form exhaust Hidden Base, so it triggers when you go from Alter Ego to hero mode, so it never has an issue with bursting. If it triggered when you entered Alter Ego, yeah, that's weird. But it works the other way. Probable. Thanks for dropping by. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, huh? I don't know if I've said hi, Chris. Okay, that's that. I think we'll just use Gambit to thwart for 2 because we've used the Milano. I don't think we'll attack Ronan here. I think we have a Sweet Christmas on the bottom of our deck. Yeah, we have one Sweet Christmas. We have a Hulk now. But like we're kind of just in holding pattern. As long as we keep our health up, Ronan takes 3 every turn. It triggers from hero to alter ego. Wait, really? After you change form, exhaust hidden base, and remove a stronghold counter. You get tough when you return to base? I thought you get tough when you left base. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about this. I haven't played it in a moment. After you change form, exhaust hidden base. Obviously, when you change form, you're in hero mode, so maybe the text doesn't work. So yeah, maybe this is just bad in Luke Cage. That being said, I wouldn't say bad. I've been only using the bursting when I'm at 0 toughness, but you don't have to play like that. Yeah, I guess so. You can't respond. Okay, so I have it backwards. So it is, yeah, it might be a bit awkward. So maybe we're doing okay. Good catch. We'll use a med team on ourselves for recover 2. So now we're at retaliate enough. We can use another med team here to heal Jessica. I think we might as well. Because you can only use them once per round. And then I don't think we'll do anything. So then we probably won't use Gambit. We'll just thwart 2 ourselves. I think keeping our toughness is good enough. We're maybe 1 good turn from closing the game out. With Harlem's Hero, we can push a lot of damage. This actually might have been a good Harlem's Hero turn. Because we had Hellcat and Jessica, and we have 2 med teams. And now basically every Harlem's Hero adds a ton of damage to our turn. You can only use it if you change from hero to alter ego. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because it's not an interrupt, it's a response, and in the response you are in alter ego. So yeah, it's a bit worse, a lot worse actually. Okay, resources. Stand with me. Probably won't matter, but it's at least a toughness, I guess. That's not a good hand. 2 threat. Ronan accuses us for 6 damage. We'll take it. Oh, Hellcat's gone. 7, 8, 9. Huge. We'll take a toughness in 1. Notably, you take the damage before the retaliate, so if it knocks us below Dauntless, he doesn't trigger. The villain takes 3 retaliate damage. Power Man draws a card. Hulk. Okay, now our resources matter. 1 encounter card. It's Kree Private that has quick strike. Quick strike. I mean, it attacks us here for 1. We'll use 1 metal bracers. We'll keep the other one for Ronan, and then it takes retaliate 3, so it's on 2 health. We're about to deck out. There's only 2 cards on the bottom, so this will be a last round. Mitigated threat. We'll just toss a mitigated threat without thinking. I mean, ready to Hulk smash the ending? Do we have a taunt on the bottom? We do, so Hulk is a bit better. Sweet Christmas at the bottom sucks because we can't jump down super easily. So we'll do 1, 2 for Hulk. I'm going to do something with Hulk. I'm not going to actually count his counters because they don't actually matter. Instead, I'm going to count Hulk's attack. So his attack will just go up when his attack goes up, but I'm not going to count the counters. I'll just say he has 2, and then when he's at 3, he has 1 counter, but it's functionally the same. Then we can do Quinn Carrier, Stand With Me with Stand With Me to clear 2 threat, get a 3rd toughness. That's it. I do like how Hellcat pieces out before you can chump block with her. She knows what a player base is like. It's sick. It's like, it's cool to have allies that are above Ray, but they don't want you to chump block with them. Because the way I play, especially the way Luke Cage plays, like you don't chump block with them. I mean, that's perfect. We'll attack for 2. In theory, we could attack for 2 and then attack for 2 because we could fire Fog as well as Jim off of this. But I think we're just like in such a comfortable cruise control that we don't need to do that. So we'll attack for 2 into Ronan. Ronan will take 2. We would take Retaliate 1, but we'll Metal Bracer it. I think none of our allies will do anything here. 2, 4, 6. We're close to lethal. We're 2 damage short of lethal this turn. We'll have lethal next turn, so there's nothing we really have to do. We could use med team on ourselves. I mean, we might as well. We'll med team on ourselves to heal 2. That means we get attacked twice. We'll fire retaliate 6 instead of retaliate 5, and we'll pass. So this should be a 2 encounter cards though. Sweet Christmas is good. We'll pay for it, whatever it costs. And then we have to draw 3 cards. 3.5 hours later, I finally see Hulk at the table. Scott, I know it's been hard. Our deck has maybe 2 expensive allies. Like we have Hulk and we have She-Hulk, and it makes the curve of the deck a bit expensive, especially because we have a lot of cheap setup cards. He's really good because you're a taunt deck. Like you get attacked a lot, but I think it's probably still worth it in a taunt deck. She's seen how people treat Professor X and Nick Fury. She isn't letting shove out of the way. I mean, that's good. That's smart. Probably clever. Our deck is actually really small because look at our board state. So our deck is really consistent at giving us sweet Christmases and ready for fights and all the stuff we crave. All right, 1, 2, 3, Professor, 4, Mitigated, 5, Nicholas Fury. Weird hand. This goes to 2. Ronan is going to attack us for 4, 5, 6. Hulk gets angry. It's after. I'll just do it now so I don't forget. We'll just take it. Boost. If there's an attack, it gets +3. So attack for 9. Ooh, we deck out. This misses the shuffle, but this doesn't. In theory, we could know what this is, but I'm not going to check. Still have a couple triggers. So we take 9. Just kidding. We take 1. So we take 1. We lose a toughness. Power Man should have been ready. We draw a card. Ronan takes retaliate 3. Down to 7. The Kree Private attacks us. For 1, we'll Metal Bracers it. It's defeated to retaliate 3. 2 encounter cards. We can cancel 1 of them. First card is Hull Breach. This doesn't matter. So Hull Breach says, deal 3 damage to the first player. You could actually reduce that with Metal Bracers, but it's still going to do enough damage. Either spend 2 mentals or exhaust the Milano. We'll just exhaust the Milano. Under fire, perfect card to cancel. Oh no, we exhausted the Milano! All right, they got us there. So with the Kree command chip, you have to exhaust the Milano. This is the worst card that you'd want to cancel, so it's going to fire. So we're drawing 2 more encounter cards. Don't spend for mitigate this round. No, we don't need to if we have lethal in our hand, but that sucked. Probably could have just taken some damage. Kree combat armor. Ooh, that might actually hurt us. So it says, attach to the enemy with the highest attack. It's running. Reduce the amount of damage attack character takes from 1. Hero action, spend 3 resources of the same type. Discard this. That's a good turn to get the armor running. Well done. Kree Physiology has Surge. We can't cancel it because we exhausted the Milano. So give Ronan a tough status card. Surge. What did we do? We exhausted the Milano and it cost us so much. Cannonade is fine. Okay. So it comes in with 4 threat, has an amplify. Who cares? Okay. So we made one big mistake there. One tactical mistake. We have to decide on mitigated threat. I think there's a chance that we don't win this turn. So Kree combat armor just says reduce damage by 1, not 2-1. Takes from each attack by 1. So we definitely have 7 damage. So I think we can just let this go. Okay. We don't have any cheap readies here. We could play Taunt because it just does enough damage to Ronan. Ideally, we ping off the toughness with a little guy. Doesn't Hulk only get rage counters from the villain? Yes. And the villain attacked us, right? It doesn't get it from minions, but the villain attacked, so it goes to... These, remind you, are not rage counters. This is his attack. So he's just at 3 attack, 1 rage counter. It's easier to track like that. I don't want to put 2 different numbers you have to add together for no reason. Okay. So we will attack Ronan. I think this is a Fogwell's Gym angle. Yeah, this is a Fogwell's Gym angle, so we don't want to use Metal Bracers. We want to ready ourselves. So we'll attack for 2 into Ronan. We take out the toughness. He only takes 1 damage. We do take his retaliate. We're going to choose not to cancel it, because then we can fire Fogwell's Gym. It costs us a resource, but it gives us 2 damage. Cool. All right, that's that. I mean, we'll attack with Gambit for 2. Gambit does, sorry, not 2, does 1. I don't think it's worth spending 3 resources to clear this thing. I mean, we could. Yeah, I think we clear this. So we're going to spend 3 to clear this first, which says spend 3 resources of the same type. And that means he does do an extra damage. So he's down on 5. Okay, we will now pitch Professor X for taunt. So the villain's going to attack us. We could have used Fogwells on this, though. Yeah, we could have used Fogwells on this. So actually, we will use the Metal Bracer to prevent the 1 damage. That's fine. So we'll Fogwells to ready ourselves here. So we'll play Taunt. Ronan's attacking us for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we take 1, lose the toughness, ready ourselves. The villain takes 3 from Retaliate, down to 2. We draw 3 cards. 1, Hulk goes to 4, 2, 3. We have so much absurd damage. Underflow feels like it's official counter card of the crash space for as often as it just showed up at the wrong time. I mean, you say 1 encounter card and it does get you. All right, so we don't have to be thinking about that. Obviously, we attack with Hulk, we attack with Luke Cage, we win. But I think we can do better than that. So we're going to try and do better than that. Sweet Christmas is not playable. We'll play Taunt again. Again, every Taunt gives us +1 card on this board state and does 3 damage. So Ronan attacks us for 4, 5, 6, 7. No boost. We take 1. Ronan takes 3. We defeat Ronan. We took no damage from Ronan. Literally no damage from Ronan. 1, 2, 3. Hulk gets bigger. Harlem's Hero with Hulk is really good. That being said, we lost all our toughness, but don't worry about that. There might have been an angle where we meant to play Harlem's Hero first. I don't know. Gambit should be on less health, but regardless, we'll replace him. We'll spend 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick. Nick will draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. She-Hulk is probably not it. An extra toughness does go pretty far. We'll attack for Nick for 2 into the villain. We'll attack for Jessica for 2 into the villain. Everybody's taking retaliate. We will attack for 2 into the villain. We can metal bracers that if we want to. So the villain's down to 7. We'll metal bracers that. And then we'll do Quinn Carrier for Harlem's Hero, which gives us a toughness. Mind you, first we'll attack with Hulk, who takes a lot, actually. Goes down to 2. But Hulk will attack first, and then we'll play Harlem's Hero. So then we can ready a character. So we'll ready Hulk. Yeah. Yeah. Then we'll do another Harlem's Hero. So Harlem's Hero now gives us a second toughness, which can ready 2 characters. So we ready these 2. We can't play Knuckle Sandwich more than once. We'll use the med team to heal Hulk a bit. So he's on 4 health. Hulk will attack for 5, taking 3 consequential. Villain takes 5. Nick Fury will attack for 2. Jessica will attack for 2. We could heal one of these, but it doesn't really matter. And then, unfortunately, we're only short on a Knuckle Sandwich. We can play 1 Knuckle Sandwich. So we'll play Knuckle Sandwich, deal 3 damage to an enemy. We'll do 3. You may discard a tough status to return this to the hand. It doesn't matter. We take retaliate. Negative 24. Taunt helps Hulk? Yes. The reason why Hulk is in this deck is half because it's a taunt deck. Unless you're playing solo, like Hulk doesn't scale that fast, but if you're playing taunt, you scale really, really fast. Luke bullying Ronan. Again, this is the thing with Luke, and I think this is like my sentence that I've come to after 1 week of playing, or like 3 days of playing Luke. He's really strong. If you're playing against a villain that the villain's thing is hitting you very hard, Luke is absurd. We played against 2 of the big villains that their thing is hitting you, and like they did 0 damage to us. Funny enough, against Juggernaut, you can just hang out an alter ego and it doesn't matter. And in fact, your text is off. But like, we did not get hurt. He's attacking for 9. We don't care. Overkill, piercing, we do not care. And then everything that it does pushes us forward, and we have retaliate 3. With protection, it's a bit awkward because, again, if you're playing solo, you have no good reason to defend. So you can't play half of the cards that seem like auto includes. Like, sure, you're not playing damage, but you're also not defending. So you don't want to play defense events. You don't want to play unflappable. If you want to play some of the cheap defense events so you can fire unflappable, you're playing like Defiance, and the text doesn't matter because you're immune to a lot of things. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Could have ready Hulk 1 more time after healing. Oh, yeah, you're right. We could have healed Hulk 1 more time and then attacked with Hulk instead of attacking with Jesse. So that's an extra 3 damage. Yeah, that's a better line. We attack with Hulk, heal, attack with Hulk. It's his first time on the table. He needs to smash. Yeah. Hulk, we could have used, we could have done 15 damage with Hulk that turn. Yeah, there was a slightly better line for sure. Sometimes you get some weird ordering with Harlem's Heroes when you want to play it. I think it's a really cool card. The only thing I want to say about Luke Cage is I don't think there's a single Luke Cage card that is that splashy. Like Sweet Christmas is obviously the one, but all his cards are kind of a bit boring. And the reason why they're a bit boring is because his text is so good. So like, that's the one thing that's getting me. Like there's a lot of hero cards where you drop the card on the table and you're like, whoa, the game plan is really different. And like the closest you have is Power Man, which is like draw a card a turn. Arguably Fogwell's Gym is also there, but matters more for multiplayer. But I think that's my consensus so far is like, I don't know if Luke Cage is like that exciting to play, but he's very good in certain scenarios. And this is definitely like one of the best scenarios he can be in. Web Warrior Fanatic fought Venom Goblin, was attacked 4 times first round. I mean, that's what you want to do. Like you do want to get attacked a fair bit, whether you're playing taunt or not. I'm assuming you're playing taunt at that point. I don't know what you do against a lot of threat. Like that can be an issue. I'm assuming you solve that with allies, but like if you're playing protection, I don't know how you keep up with Venom Goblin if you're playing full protection. Because like you don't want to defend, so hard to ignore doesn't make sense. There's just not a lot of threat options in protection. But I guess like maybe just play aggression and rush down Venom Goblin. Because like you have the defense. You don't have to play protection. You might actually be in a better spot playing aggression. I think Harlem's Hero is so cool. Harlem's is such a cool card. And I've said this before. Weirdly enough, there's not a lot of hero kits that have a card that care about playing minions outside of like Storm. It's like a very rare thing to have a card that says play minions. Usually they don't do that. Or sorry, allies. Play allies. That happens a lot around here. Anywho, deck list will be included in the description if you want to play it. This version was slightly different. We took out the symbiote suit. We honestly could have played the symbiote suit. It would have been maybe fine. paying the cost for 2 mitigated threats is reasonable and it is worth it. And having extra stats, admittedly, the Power Stone really cares about being attacked for 3, so the stat jump from 2 to 3 is really important. Oh, actually, Hulk was meant to take the Power Stone. We were meant to have more damage this turn. It says after hero or villain. Oh, hero or villain. Never mind. We can't give Hulk the Power Stone. It was all encounter cards. Oh, like the turn 1 because you start with like Venom encounter cards. Yeah, that is rough. That is rough. Venom is like kind of like Green Goblin. Venom Goblin's, excuse me, like Green Goblin, where you do start with a bunch of encounter cards. That does feel bad. Anywho, you can find the link in the description. Hopefully you're enjoying. I think there's going to be a lot of different Luke Cage builds. I think a multiplayer, he probably is even a bit more interesting because having one person at the table that's bulletproof helps everyone. The same way that like playing with Shadowcat at the table helps everyone. And I think Luke Cage is way more straightforward than Shadowcat, but kind of similar. As much as I think Shadowcat has a bit more flashy cards that feel a bit better. I think that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out. It was a pretty good stream here. We streamed for 4 hours. We only played through 2 things and talked about Elektra. Mind you, timestamps will be in the description. If you appreciate content like this, if you want to take a second to leave a like on the video. I know I've mentioned this on Friday, but as of like next week, YouTube is changing the way that it counts YouTube views, which I've no doubt is going to kind of goof up YouTube for everyone and for like whatever monetization we get from ads. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, all that sort of engagement will definitely help in what's seeming to be a bit of a tumultuous time next week. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. I promise you we'll be playing some sort of Jessica Jones thing. Not sure what exactly, but I want to have the time to dive into her because her deck building looks really weird and she's very interesting. Luke Cage seemed like an easier thing to put something on the table. So we tested this yesterday. So it's going to be good fun. I am expecting a new article. We might see something about Danny Boy next week when it comes to, I think that's the name of Iron Fist, but I'm assuming we'll see an article, which if that's the case, we'll talk about it probably on Friday. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you have a good week. We'll be back next Friday and wishing you all the best. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for Kura for hanging out. Thanks, Scott. Have a great week. You too. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.